Hello, everybody, and welcome into TD Ameritrade Park in Omaha, Nebraska for WCBN sports coverage of Michigan baseball at the College World Series here in 2019. Today, we've got the very first game of this College World Series on tap for you. It'll be the visiting Michigan Wolverines taking on the home team today, the Texas Tech Red Raiders. I am Austin Falco. Alongside me is Andy Laidlaw. Later on, you'll hear Daniel Thompson on the broadcast, and Jimmy Parks is standing by as our quality control engineer for the ball game today. And boy, is it nice to be here in Omaha. I think something that really nobody expected, even coming in this NCAA tournament, to see the Wolverines playing here at TD Ameritrade Park once again.
Yeah, Falco, you hit it right on the head there. 35 years ago, a man by the name of Barry Larkin, a legend, a Hall of Famer here from the University of Michigan, led this program to the College World Series. And since then, this Michigan Wolverine baseball program has battled through horrible weather, through the snow, through cold, through blood, through sweat, through tears. And now Eric Bakich has brought this program back to the promised land. We're back here in Omaha. We're here in the College World Series, and Michigan baseball is ready. And I promise you that Eric Bakich is going to have this team ready to go, and you're going to see the best Michigan baseball team you possibly can see. I am so excited for this program. I'm so excited for every Michigan fan out there, every parent, any person who's been involved in this program. This is truly a special year. In Michigan, they're not done yet.
Certainly not. Michigan coming in hot, having won the Corvallis Regional, and then the UCLA, the Los Angeles Super Regional against the number one team in the country, the UCLA Bruins. That was a little three-game set. But Michigan's now back to a traditional double elimination format. On the Michigan side of the bracket, it's Michigan and Texas Tech. On the other side, or rather on the other side of their side of the bracket, the other game that we'll see later on today, we have a matchup between the Arkansas Razorbacks and the Florida State Seminoles. Other side of the bracket is Vanderbilt. The Commodores take on the Louisville Cardinals tomorrow in the 1 p.m. game. Mississippi State and Auburn will play in the later game for tomorrow. But that is the 8 teams that are left here in this NCAA baseball tournament. From 64, we have whittled it down to just these 8 teams, and their logos all over the ballpark here at TD Ameritrade Park. Whether it's behind home plate, the listing of the teams, off in the left field bullpen, that's Texas Tech bullpen today. You have the teams in alphabetical order across to the diamond formation, similar to what we saw in the Big Ten tournament. But the stakes are a little bit higher now.
You're talking about TD Ameritrade, and I just have to tip my cap to what a beautiful stadium and what a beautiful set that Omaha, Nebraska has set up for this tremendous event here in the College World Series. And we came here yesterday for the opening ceremonies, and man, was this city alive. Were people showing out from Florida. Florida fans were showing out. LSU fans were showing out. Texas A&M fans were showing out. There were teams who aren't even in the World Series that came here to be at the College World Series, to be here in Omaha. We were walking through the Fan Fest, man. They had pitching machines, and they had home run derbies for kids. They had a Buffalo Wild Wings stand for people to have wing eating contests. This place is alive, and it's got to be such a dream come true for every player on all 8 of these teams to come and play in such a tremendous event. And it's an honor being here, and I can't imagine being a coach or a player in this event. This is a beautiful, beautiful place and perfect day to watch baseball.
And to set the stage a little more for you here at TD Ameritrade Park, capacity is 24,500. This will be the biggest stage that most of these guys compete on in their college careers and their baseball careers in general. I'd say right about now, that 24,500, I'd say we got a solid probably 20,000 in the ballpark right now. The general admission, first come, first serve seats out in the outfield, packed almost 100% full. The rest of the grandstands around, I'd say a solid at least 60, 75% full as well. And dimensions of the ballpark, it is a bigger ballpark here at TD Ameritrade. Down both of the lines, it's 335 feet. Both of the power alleys are 375. And in straightaway center field is 408 feet. The fence all the way around is 8 feet. There are a couple wells in right and left field in which the fence kind of dips back a little bit. We saw Jesse Franklin actually got robbed here in the Big Ten tournament, hitting it just to the right of that well in right field. Something to look out for there. Big scoreboard in right field. The cloud cover is coming over right about now as the teams are getting ready pregame. Michigan, of course, with their signature handshakes outside the dugout. They got a lot of press nationally.
See, everybody's been talking about Michigan's attitude coming in both the regional, the super regional, now the College World Series. This is a team that's loose. They like to have fun. No matter what's going on, these kids like to play baseball. That's what it boils down to. These kids love to play baseball. Doesn't matter what stage it is. These guys are glad to play the game. And here in Omaha in the College World Series, they're happy to be here, and it's going to be great.
It should be fantastic, and let's get right underway with the starting lineups here as the teams are just about ready to start taking the field. Michigan is the away team. They will bat first. The lineup they will send to the plate is as follows. Leading off is the leadoff hitter Jordan Wogu. He's the DH. Center fielder Jesse Franklin bats second. Batting third, playing right field, Jordan Brewer, Big Ten Player of the Year. Jimmy Kerr plays first base and bats in the cleanup spot. Batting fifth, the third baseman Blake Nelson. Batting sixth, left fielder Christian Bullock. Jack Blomgren is the shortstop today. He bats seventh. Joe Donovan bats eighth, and he is behind the plate. Akeo Thomas rounds out the lineup. He bats ninth and plays second base. They will face the right-handed throwing freshman for the Texas Tech Red Raiders, Micah Dallas. Dallas on the season 7-0. He started 11 games, appeared in 17. He's got a 3.38 ERA. In the 72 innings that he's thrown thus far, he has struck out 82 batters, walked just 26 on the season, and batters hit 238 against the right-hander.
Yeah, Micah Dallas is a guy who has a lot of stuff. He's a guy who is pretty balanced in both his off-speed and his fastball. His fastball tops out about 93. Sometimes he can reach 94, but he likes to stay around the 91, 92 zone. It bottomed out in the game against Oklahoma State in their super regional. The first game, he bottomed out 89. His velocity dropped a little bit. He only threw 5 innings in that game, gave up 2 earned runs. His velocity started to drop around 60, 70 pitches coming in that 4th inning. But I got to say, man, Micah Dallas, a freshman, has a fantastic changeup, and he's going to deliver that changeup a lot. Get players off balance, get them chasing the ball out of their comfort zone, and he's got a breaking ball that he loves to use. He's willing to throw it down 2-0 in the count, down 3-1 in the count. He's very unpredictable, and Micah Dallas is a guy. He's undefeated on the season, can do a lot for this Texas Tech ball club. So Michigan, knowing Texas Tech's fantastic bullpen, really has to get out to a hot start against Micah and get him off the mound. He's only the max inning amount he's gone in the game this year is 7 innings, so he's not typically a guy that's going to go long in the game, but he trusts that his bullpen's going to get the job done, and once they get to that Texas Tech bullpen, it's going to be hard to get runs. So Wolverines, they're going to jump on Dallas early.
A lot of Texas Tech Red Raiders fans cheering here as their team takes the field. The Michigan fans, a little bit of a roar as well when they announced the Michigan Wolverines. Carl Kaufman, the starter for Michigan, working his way back towards the dugout with pitching coach Chris Fetter right now. Joe Donovan jogging ahead of him. The Michigan Wolverines are getting ready to get things started here in Omaha. Umpires for the ball game today. Behind the plate is Perry Costello. Over at first base is Billy Hayes. Scott Klein mans the second base bag, and Greg Charles is over there at third. And as I said, the very first game of the 2019 College World Series.
Yeah, this is the best scenario for the Wolverines in Game 1. Their entire pitching staff is healthy. They can rely on the man who's been carrying this ball club throughout the postseason. Carl Kaufman had that fantastic outing in Game 1 against UCLA. Went all the way into the 9th inning. The guy is fantastic, still sitting at a 2.59 ERA. Fantastic, absolute great season. And this is the perfect scenario for the Wolverines to take the first game of the College World Series, as hopefully Carl Kaufman can win this battle against Micah Dallas and lead the Wolverines to 1-0 here in Omaha.
And the Wolverines definitely want to make it a game of the starters. The Texas Tech bullpen, absolutely filthy. Several draft picks out there, several high-quality pitchers, a lot of high-quality stuff. You want to try to get to Micah Dallas early if you can, if you're the Wolverines, where Texas Tech starts digging into that bullpen. The wind blowing straight out right now. The wind has picked up. We're expecting some rain showers potentially at some point today. We're crossing our fingers here, knocking on wood. Hopefully we don't get too much of that. Maybe it's a little sprinkle, but
we're getting a couple drops here, but
keep the lightning away at least.
Yeah,
hopefully.
Exactly. We can play in a little bit of rain. It seems like the weather's holding up. It's definitely windy, as you said, but no, that's good for the guy coming with the plate right now, Jordan Wogu. He loves when that wind blows away, and hopefully he can put one on the screw here.
And Michigan played here a few weeks ago in the Big Ten tournament. They know how different this ballpark is when the wind's blowing out versus when it's blowing in. In a couple of games in those Big Ten tournament, it was gusting in from right field, and Michigan had so many balls just knocked down out there. The park played very, very large during those ball games. But when the wind's blowing out, the ball can fly into now those packed grandstands in the outfield. As Jordan Wogu steps to the plate, Micah Dallas ready's on the mound, and we're ready for the first pitch of the College World Series on the way. Called strike one on the outside corner.
Yep, typical depth here for Texas Tech. Center fielder Noisy is playing a little bit in than I thought he would, especially a guy like Wogu's got a lot of power and the wind blowing out. Thought Noisy would be a couple steps back, but first at bat, we'll see.
Second pitch is swung on and missed. Ball low and away in the dirt. Looked like that good breaking ball out of there from Micah Dallas.
Like I said, yeah, Micah Dallas loves to throw his off speed. Most pitchers like to throw 65-70% fastball to curveball ratio. But Micah Dallas sat mostly in this game against Texas Tech, the game against Oklahoma State. He threw like 60-40 off speed. So Micah Dallas definitely has the capability to change speeds up.
0-2 pitch to Wogu. Tries that breaking ball again, but Wogu lays off a ball in the dirt, and now it is 1-2. The Wolverine leadoff hitter Wogu on the season, .372 batting average, .442 on base percentage. He does have plenty of power, 12 home runs, and the speed as well. He's stolen 16 bags once he gets on base. The windup here from Dallas, the 1-2 pitch on the way, bounces in the dirt again, and now it is 2-2 on Wogu, laying off a couple tough pitches there.
Yeah, Micah Dallas, in his first start against Oklahoma State, he had some control issues in the first couple innings. He wasn't really snapping his breaking balls down, had a bad tendency of leaving him hanging. Here his breaking balls kind of snapping a little too much. He's overthrown them, a couple on the dirt here to Jordan Wogu.
2-2 pitch, tries a fastball this time, but that misses low and away, and it's full.
Yep, great plate awareness here by Jordan Wogu. Took the first 2 strikes, next 3 strikes, next 3 pitches, taking them all low, working the count back full, and now it's a fair ball game here for Wogu against Micah Dallas.
Dallas winds, the payoff pitch. This one is grounded into left field for a base hit. Jordan Wogu leads things off, and the Michigan crowd comes to a roar here in Omaha. Leadoff runner on, nobody out in the first inning for Jesse Franklin.
There's a reason they call him the scariest leadoff hitter in all of baseball. Jordan Wogu with a fantastic at-bat down 0-2 on the count, works the count full and delivers a strike in between the shortstop and the third baseman to lead off the Wolverines here in the College World Series. That's a guy you don't want on base to start the ball game. Jordan Wogu can really make you hurt. And not the first at-bat Micah Dallas wanted, especially starting off 0-2 in the at-bat for Wogu to come back and get on base.
Jesse Franklin checks his sign down at his belt. We'll see if Michigan tries to get aggressive here against Micah Dallas. Wogu short lead over there at first base right now before Dallas comes set. Works from the first base side of the rubber, does the right-hander. First pitch to left-hander hitting Jesse Franklin. Bluffing is Wogu, but the ball gets passed on a pitch that misses inside, and Wogu's going to take second on what should be a passed ball on the catcher back there. That's Braxton Fulford.
Yeah, inside pitch is definitely one of the toughest pitches for a catcher to work with. A left-handed batter throwing away from his glove, almost hit Franklin. Just went right off of Fulford's glove, and Jordan Wogu gets on second base for the leadoff hitter for the Wolverines. Like we were talking about earlier, if Michigan wants to do well, they got to jump on Franklin or jump on Dallas early, and they got an opportunity here with the runner scoring position.
Dallas looks in for a sign here. That pitch didn't miss by much, but just unable to frame it there was Fulford. As Dallas comes set, Wogu's taking a decent lead at second. He's going to step off and make sure he retreats a little bit.
Yeah, with a left-handed batter, you should not see Jordan Wogu coming to third here. It's definitely an easy throw for a catcher to throw at third base and with the batter in the left-hander's batter's box.
Big off throw to second. Not in time there. Quick tag by Josh Young over there at second base. He thought he might have had him. But second base umpire out there, Scott Klein, making the first real call of the day on the base paths. Said Wogu dove back in safely. Yeah,
that's one mistake you cannot make for Jordan Wogu. You have no outs, runner on second base. You're the leadoff hitter. You cannot get picked off, so he's got to be careful. He's not going to steal third base here, so you don't have to get a huge lead, and there's no outs, so you don't necessarily have to score automatically from a hit in the outfield. So be conservative there with the leadoff.
Franklin now fouls back to the screen here on 1-0 and evens the count up at 1 ball and 1 strike apiece in the second at-bat of the ball game.
Yeah, Jesse Franklin, a guy who's has been struggling a little bit here in the postseason. He had that game against Creighton in the finals of the regional where he went absolute off. I think he went 5 for 6 on that day. But he's definitely a guy who's been proven for the Wolverines all year that can make a lot happen. He's only batting .254 right now, but Jesse Franklin's totally a capable guy who can knock this run in for the Wolverines.
Dallas comes set, checks Wogu, 1-1 pitch. This one's down the ground towards the right side. Making the play over there is Klein. He throws to first in time, but Wogu moves up to third on what is often called a projective out for Jesse Franklin.
Absolutely. That's going to go down in the books as a quality at-bat. Runner on second, no outs. He moves the runner over to third base and gets the Big Ten Player of the Year, Jordan Brewer, an opportunity to knock a run home here for the Michigan Wolverines as Wogu's now on third base. That's all you ask for out of your second hitter. Just don't strike out, put the ball in play, knock your guy over, and now Wolverines got a great chance to score a run here early on.
You mentioned Big Ten Player of the Year, Jordan Brewer stepping to the plate with his .338 average on the season. Takes the first pitch breaking ball down and away. It's 1-0 on him. Brewer, the junior college transfer, Came in here, made his mark in the Big Ten. 12 home runs, 55 RBIs on the year. 12 home runs tied for the team lead with all 4 of the top 4 hitters in the Michigan lineup. And he's second in RBIs by just 1 to the guy on deck, Jimmy Kerr. A swing and a miss there. It looked like a good changeup from Dallas, and the count is 1-1.
Yeah, one positive you can look at in the Super Regional for the Wolverines. They came out and beat the number 1 team in the country, UCLA, beat them 2 out of 3 games. And their top 4 hitters really struggled all the way throughout that Super Regional. The bottom half of the lineup ultimately carried them. So if the bottom half can keep their pace and the top can really bump up, Wolverines got a good chance.
This one's hit high in the air towards right field. Getting under it is Otremba. He makes the play. Wogu's tagging. The throw home is not in time as Wogu slides headfirst across the plate, and Michigan takes an early lead here in Game 1. It's 1-0 over the Red Raiders.
That is beautiful quality baseball by both Jesse Franklin and Jordan Brewer. Jesse Franklin, his at-bat, knocked the runner over to third base, and then Jordan Brewer hits a beautiful sac fly to right field. That is high-quality baseball. That's the baseball that's gotten the Michigan Wolverines here to Omaha in the College World Series. Fantastic at-bats with both Jesse Franklin and Jordan Brewer, as the Wolverines did exactly what we were asking for. They got out to Dallas early, and the Wolverines got a 1-0 lead.
Michigan seems to play better as the away team. They like to put a run on the board first with that strong top of the lineup. And with 2 outs, nobody on, Jimmy Kerr fouls one over near the Michigan dugout on the ground, and the count is 0-1 on the big first baseman for Michigan.
Yeah, as an away team, getting that run in the first inning is such a sigh of relief for the pitcher. Kaufman's going to go working in his first pitch with a 1-0 lead. You can sort of sit back and relax a little bit. It doesn't have to be too much under pressure. Beautiful job for the Wolverines to get this run.
Kerr fouls one off over the screen, slightly over to the left side, making a play on a ricochet as a fan over there. The count's 2-0 now on Jimmy Kerr. The third straight generational Kerr to play in the College World Series for the Michigan Wolverines.
What a story. That Kerr family is definitely going to go down as one of the best baseball families in Michigan baseball program history.
Chuck swinging there, and a ball in the dirt is Kerr, but did not go around, says Greg Charles over at third base. The count is now 1-2 on Jimmy Kerr. Kerr, a part-time player, if not a bench player, in his first few seasons in Ann Arbor, pressed into a starting role at first base and absolutely excelled, including a Corvallis Regional Most Valuable Player a couple rounds ago. He grounds one towards second base, making the play without a problem is Klein. He throws to first accurately and in time to retire Kerr for the third out of the inning. But Michigan strikes first here in the top of the first. Game 1 of the College World Series. Michigan will head to the bottom of the first inning with a 1-0 lead over the Texas Tech Red Raiders. You are listening to the official student radio broadcast for Michigan baseball. You're listening to WCBN Sports.
Yeah, this is exactly the matchup I was looking for. When I came into this game, you were seeing a Michigan Wolverines staff who's probably got the best pitching staff coming into this College World Series. All 3 of their starters sitting around 3 ERA, sub 3 ERA. Very, very good pitching staff against a very, very good hitting lineup for the Texas Tech Red Raiders. This team has all of their hitters but 3 batting over 300 in their starting lineup, including the number 8 overall pick. And this Texas Tech lineup can do a lot for you. And this the young third hitter playing at shortstop today. And like I said, number 8 to the Texas Rangers. That guy is fantastic and can do a lot to Carl Kaufman, the guy who's been very dominant all season. This is something I've been looking forward to seeing, and we're going to see if Kaufman can deliver against this great lineup.
And the lineup Texas Tech sends out today is as follows. Leading off and playing center field is Dylan Noisy. Brian Klein, the second baseman, bats second. Josh Young, as you mentioned, the number 8 overall pick, bats in the 3-hole. Big first baseman Cameron Warren bats cleanup. Cody Masters is the DH for Texas Tech today. He bats 5th. Batting 6th is the third baseman Drew Baker. Kurt Wilson playing left field and batting 7th. Batting 8th is the right fielder Tanner Otremba. And behind the plate is Braxton Fulford, the catcher. He bats in the 9-hole. They'll face, as we were talking about, Carl Kaufman, the right-handed junior for the Wolverines. Also a draft pick, second round to the Colorado Rockies, so number 77 overall. He comes in making his 18th start of the year, 19th appearance overall. He is 10-6 with a 2.59 ERA. He's pitched now in 114 and 2/3 innings on the year. Struck out 101 batters, walked just 30. Batters hit a measly 213 against the right-hander from Portage, Michigan.
Yeah, this is a Texas Tech lineup that's really playing their best baseball coming into this College World Series. They have 3 hitters hitting over 400, Josh Young, Braxton Fulford, and Dylan Noisy, guys who've done a lot of damage here for the Texas Tech Red Raiders coming into this tournament. So Carl Kaufman's got got some work to do. He's got this game cut out for him, and he's got an opportunity to prove himself. He was a second-round pick drafted to the Arizona Diamondbacks, and he got a great opportunity here in this College World Series here in Omaha.
You had it right the first time.
Was it Rocky?
Colorado Rockies.
Tommy Henry's
was the
Diamondbacks.
I also made a mistake there. I said Portage, Michigan. The other two Michigan starters are from Portage. Bloomfield Hills is where Kyle Kaufman resides, and the first pitch is fouled up and out of play to the right side off the bat of Dylan Noisy. We're underway here in the bottom of the first with an 0-1 count. Texas Tech's lineup, as you mentioned, full of 300 hitter, starting right at the top with Noisy. He bats 307, does the sophomore. Gets on base at a 418 clip, but also has plenty of power as well. 26 extra base hits on the year, including 8 home runs, and driven in 51 out of the leadoff spot. Righty winding up his Kaufman, and this one is ground ball over to the third base side. Blake Nelson makes the play, throws to first in time for out number 1.
Yep, Carl Kaufman doing Carl Kaufman things. He's a guy who likes to get ahead of the count early on in the at-bat, something you always ask for out of your starting pitcher. Does exactly that, delivers 2 sharp fastballs right in the low inside corner, great pitches, and gets a critical first out for a guy in Josh Noisy who can take the bag whenever he wants to, has 16 stolen bases on the year.
That'll bring up Brian Klein, the second baseman for the Red Raiders, the first lefty in the lineup. One of just 2 guys we'll see hitting from the left side. Cody Masters, the DH, is a switch hitter. Righty-lefty here, first pitch fastball, misses low and away. It's 1-0. That was actually a slider there. Kaufman tried to start off speed there, collecting at 89 miles an hour according to the speedometer here.
Yeah, something Carl Kaufman always loves to do. He likes to switch up his pitches, especially his first pitch. He can go breaking ball or fastball.
Just a ground ball through the right side past the diving Akeo Thomas into right field for a 1-out base hit here for Texas Tech in the bottom of the first inning. Brian Klein gets them in the hit column and puts a little bit of pressure on Carl Kaufman right before hitting probably the most dangerous part of this Texas Tech lineup, this 3-4 combo, and Josh Young and Cameron Warren. Starting off with Young stepping up to the plate right now.
Yeah, Josh Young, a guy who, like we talked about earlier, a lot of damage here in the postseason. Batting .435 and hitting a great 3 home runs with 3 RBIs, 20 total bases. This Josh Young guy is a reason he was selected 8th overall by the Texas Rangers, and there's a reason he has got this Michigan Wolverines team worried.
It's a ground ball off to the left side. That'll be foul, though, and the count is 0-1 on Young. Young, as you mentioned, incredible hitter. 342 average, gets on base at a 476 clip, and he's been just as hot here in this NCAA tournament, getting on base at a 518 clip. Looking to start a little rally here in the bottom of the first for Texas Tech as Kaufman checks the runner over there, Klein. Klein does not have a stolen base in the air. This one's hit high in the air towards the left field, ranging over a little bit towards the line is Christian Bullock. He'll put it away for the second out here in the inning.
Yep, that's a big out for Carl Kaufman. It's obviously a guy you have to worry about whenever he comes up to the plate, and he delivered a couple great pitches, hit inside, outside through great pitches, and got Young out. That's a huge out for the Wolverines. That ball looked like it had some pop right off the bat, but we're right into Christian Bullock's glove for a big out for the Wolverines.
That'll bring up the big first baseman, Cameron Warren, now the senior. Leads Texas Tech in several offensive categories, including average with a .354 batting average, 17 home runs, 76 RBIs. So after you get past Young, you get no break in the lineup at all. First pitch, breaking ball, catches the knees on the outside corner, and it's 0-1. Kaufman does use 4 pitches. Fastball, changeup, slider, curve. He'll mix them in. As you mentioned, trying to mix up the first pitch of that bat there. Looked like with the curveball to start this one, maybe a changeup. Couldn't quite tell from our vantage point up here. Clocked in at 81 miles an hour. He'll come set in the second pitch. The at-bat's a fastball, and that one misses high and away.
Yep, the Wolverines' defensive positioning's definitely playing for that pole shift. You got Akeo Thomas playing on the left side of second base, while Blami's playing in that shortstop third base hole, and Blake Nelson's playing right on that third base line here. You can tell that Cameron Warren is for sure a pole hitter, definitely playing in the pole shift, while the outfield is playing in typical depth.
Michigan does like to shift a lot. They've really gone all in on the analytics, have the Wolverines. As this one is hit high in the air, back behind the plate. Joe Donovan looks like he has a beat on it, but he's being called off by Blake Nelson, who almost gets hit by the mask that Joe Donovan threw off. Could have been scary there, but Nelson's going to put it away in foul territory to finish the bottom of the first inning here. We will head to the second here at TD Ameritrade Park. Michigan leads Texas Tech by a score of 1-0. You are listening to the official student radio broadcast for Michigan baseball here on WCBN Sports. Andy Laidlaw alongside myself, Austin Falco. As mentioned, Daniel Thompson will be popping in later on for the starting off in the 4th inning of this one.
Yeah, fantastic job there by Blake Nelson as a third baseman, coming in on that pop fly behind Joe Donovan. It's one of the toughest plays in all of baseball for the catcher to get out of his stance and catch that ball on a fly ball behind home plate. That ball's always spinning towards home plate, so it's a very tough thing to do for a catcher to get up out of your stance and catch that ball. And it's a lot easier for third baseman Blake Nelson to come in, call him off, and secure the big out for the Wolverines as Carl Kaufman looked his typical form and got out of that first inning with no damage done. The Wolverines, like you said, going in this top of second with a 1-0 lead.
A lot of quick at-bats there for Carl Kaufman. Also, you're looking just 9 pitches overall, 7 strikes on that inning for Carl Kaufman. This Texas Tech team likes to swing the bat. They certainly showed it there in the bottom of the first. Meanwhile, Michigan had Dallas throwing 15 pitches back in the top of the first. Not by any means a lot, but it is more than just the 9 that Carl Kaufman threw. And if we're looking at the starter matchup as one of the keys to the game, that's something you like to see is work some at bats. So as you mentioned, you want to try to get some runs off of Micah Dallas before that Texas Tech bullpen comes in.
Yeah, and it's not that Dallas had a bad innings pitch last inning. He was unfortunate to have a pass ball get by Milford behind the plate, and then had 2 fantastic at-bats by Franklin knocking the runner over, and then Jordan Brewer knocking in a big run on that sac fly. So Micah Dallas has had pretty good control early on against early against Oklahoma State. He, like we were talking about earlier, didn't have much control in his breaking balls. His fastball location wasn't fantastic, but here it's been pretty exceptional. He hit the zone. He had his fastballs on the corners. But the Wolverines did a lot with the good pitch they gave him, and got a run on the board.
Blake Nelson's going to lead things off here in the 2nd inning for Michigan. He'll be followed by Christian Bullock and Jack Blomgren at the very least, unless Michigan can string something together. First pitch is grounded to the left side, foul just past the third base bag, and the count is 0-1 on the third baseman for Michigan, Blake Nelson.
Yeah, Michigan understands that Texas Tech has a fantastic bullpen, so they're coming out ready for every at-bat. They're coming out swinging. First pitcher, Blake Nelson, gives a fastball pretty much right down center, and he tries to hit it, fouls it off on third base. But I like the Wolverines' philosophy coming here and trying to get early pitches.
Winding up 0-1. Breaking ball misses low and away. It's now 1-1. The defensive alignment for Texas Tech today, we didn't give you it back in the first inning. We'll cover it right now. Kurt Wilson's out in left field. Dylan Noisy in center. Tanner Otremba in right. Across the infield. Over on the left side is Drew Baker and Josh Young at third and short. And the pitch misses just low here again. It brings the count to 2-1 on Nelson. Meanwhile, on the right side of the infield, second baseman Brian Klein, first baseman Cameron Warren, and behind the plate is Braxton Fulford, the catcher for the Red Raiders. 2-1 pitch on the way from Micah Dallas. It is foul tipped off of the glove of Fulford behind the plate. The count is 2-2.
Up here, 2-2 count. He's been delivering pitches pretty much all around the zone. Here for Blake Nelson, shorten up and put it in play. When you get 2 strikes, he's got to hit. Don't strike out, make contact, put it in play, and hopefully Texas Tech can give you something.
2-2. Breaking ball misses low and away, ball 3. Michigan's done a really good job laying off that breaking ball so far in this ballgame.
Yeah, it's a breaking ball from Dallas that's very sharp. It's got a lot of movement on it. It's not exactly a slider, but it's not exactly a curveball either. It's almost like it kind of almost looks like a slurve coming out of the pitcher's hand, but yeah, it's got
Nelson
a lot of
hits one high and deep towards left field on a line, going back near the track and making the grab. Backpedaling on the track is the left fielder Wilson for the first out of the inning.
Yeah, great contact there by Blake Nelson. Very good at bat, like you said, talking about taking that 2-2 curveball low in the dirt. A great take, and he takes that fastball right on the plate and gives it a shot out to the left field at the warning track. Just a couple more feet, just like we were talking about that Joe Donovan almost walk-off home run in game 2. Almost like that, and went to the warning track and almost got out of here.
Christian Bullock's going to step up now, righty against lefty here. First pitch, square line to bunt now, and bunting through it is Bullock, or rather getting a piece of it, foul tipping it. And the count's going to be 0-1 on the speedy left fielder for Michigan. Yeah,
it's hard not talking about Christian Bullock and really his journey throughout the Super Regional at UCLA. In Game 2, he had that tough play in left field that he dropped. But in Game 3, he came back in the perfect fashion that he could. Had that triple and the double and helped Wolverines get that W.
It's the ground ball chopper to first base, running over and just getting there in time was the first baseman Warren to beat Bullock to the bag. We've seen Bullock already have an infield hit to first base. Back in the Super Regional goes against UCLA. Certainly tried to show off the speed there, but couldn't quite do it. So it'll be 3 unassisted on the putout, and there's 2 outs in the second.
Yeah, if that play doesn't show you how fast Christian Bullock is, I don't know what play will. That was pretty much a routine ground ball hit to the first base, and Bullock was beaten by half a step. That dude's got wheels. If he gets on base, he's very dangerous for the Wolverines.
You have to charge the ball if you're playing against
absolutely.
Christian Bullock at all times, even over there at first base. That's first pitch to Jack Blomgren. Misses inside with a fastball. Not quite as much I think Jack Blomgren wants everybody to believe, putting his hands up and trying to get out of the way, but it did miss inside, says Perry Costello behind the plate, and it's 1-0.
Man, we were talking about earlier, isn't Jack Blomgren just everything you want out of a shortstop? Just a gritty individual, a great hitter, a great fielder. I mean, this guy is like everything you want if you're a Wolverines, if you're Eric Bakich, and he's done exactly that throughout this entire tournament. Has been fantastic.
Second pitch, the at-bat caught the outside corner. It's 1-1 now on the shortstop. Righty, 1-1 pitch on the way now. This one's lined towards left field, and that's going to get down over the head of the shortstop Young for a base hit. Blomgren takes a big turnaround first base, but no real threat to go to second. He does have a 2-out single here in the top of the second inning, though, and brings up Joe Donovan, the catcher from Michigan.
Yeah, Joe Donovan, a guy who was on fire. Just seemed like he was hitting the bat on the ball clean the entire Super Regional against UCLA. Like I said, he had that bomb in Game 2. He almost had that walk-off again at the end of Game 2. And in Game 3, he had a couple absolute base hits, just knocks. This guy has been on fire. He's been hitting the ball well. Hopefully he can continue to keep it up here in Omaha.
Righty now, first pitch. Fastball, it looked like, caught the outside corner. Framing it was Fulford, and the count is 0-1.
Yeah, here, if you're the Wolverines here, I definitely don't want to send Blomgren. You don't want Joe Donovan coming up to lead off the next inning. You got to let this guy swing. He's a guy who can hit the gaps very efficiently and a guy who can hit the ball in the park. So he's got to run around base, keep Blommy at first, and let this guy just do something, make something happen.
Taking his time now is Dallas, and a off-speed pitch is swung on a miss. Blomgren's going on the play. The throw down to second, not in time. Stolen base there for Jack Blomgren. Slides in head first. Is that what you're kind of?
Well, there's a reason Eric Bakich is in the dugout and I'm up here. That was a good call. Jack Blomgren stole second base, and now almost even better. You know, Donovan can here get a base knock it in Blomgren. But yeah, still when you come down to, I disagree with that call because I mean, if he gets out, you have Donovan leading off next inning, and you have 8 or 9 coming up. But you know it works out, and that's kind of philosophy that Bakich takes. He likes to take risks. It's what got Michigan. It's what's gotten Michigan here. And the risk pays off here for the Wolverines.
Big lead over there at second by Jack Blomgren. Stepping off is Micah Dallas, almost to remind Josh Young to, hey, keep an eye on him over there. Neither Young nor Klein, the middle infielders, were really covering the bag, and Blomgren was just starting to walk off farther and farther. And now Young plays behind Blomgren, making at least the threat of a pickoff move here on the 0-2 to who Joe Donovan swung on and missed at a ball in the dirt. Stopped there by Fulford and fielded cleanly, so he'll throw down to first to get Donovan 2-3 on the put out there after the strikeout. And Michigan goes down 1 hit, but they strand the runner at second base. So nothing going overall here in the second for Michigan. We'll head to the bottom of the second inning. 1-0 is the score. Wolverines over Red Raiders. You're listening to WCBN Sports coverage of Michigan baseball, the official student radio coverage for Michigan baseball.
Yeah, Micah Dallas threw 2 innings, sitting at 29 total pitches. So I mean that's everything you've been asked for out of a starting pitcher. He gave up that run, but really it wasn't on him. Like I said, he got that base hit, the pass ball, 2 great at bats. So far here through 29 pitches, look pretty fantastic. And that's one thing about Micah Dallas. He doesn't tend to struggle more as he gets going. It's just his velocity drops quite significantly as he gets to the 60-70 pitch mark. And that's why I think Texas Tech is definitely more willing to go to that bullpen early, because they have such a great, fantastic bullpen, and Dallas loses velocity on that fastball. If he can get Texas Tech through 5-6 innings, you only give them maybe 1, maybe 2 runs, you know, Texas Tech will be in good shape.
Yeah, very high-powered offense. We said not necessarily a ton of power in the lineup overall. Those 2-3 hitters, Young and Warren, bring a lot of pop. As does leadoff hitter Dylan Noisy with 8 home runs of his own. But outside of that, the Texas Tech philosophy is going to be to swing early, get on base, put pressure on the pitchers, and just keep racking up base hits after base hits after base hits. And that's how they grind teams down.
And you look at their Super Regional against Oklahoma State, they put up at least 6 runs every single game. All 3 of those games were high-scoring baseball games. So this team has all the capability in the world to put up runs on that scoreboard. It's just the fact that their pitching is to be better than what it was against Oklahoma State. And so far here, you know, Michael Dallas has looked pretty darn good.
Yeah, against a good Michigan lineup also. A couple good lineups in this game. Very well-rounded lineups is what it comes down to. Obviously, you have your stars on each team. Young and Warren for Texas Tech. On Michigan, you'd say probably Jordan Brewer, Jordan Wogu have come out big. Jimmy Kerr's had good series. But the strength of these lineups is the ability to go 1 through 9 and always have a threat of at least getting on base with a base hit or driving runs in.
Yeah, and you hit it right in the head right there. What makes lineups great is that they're 1 through 9. All guys can get on base efficiently. If you can get guys on base, especially get leading up to your 1-hitter, your 9-hitter, your 8-hitter, your 2-hitter, to get on base for your big-time 3, 4, 5 hitters, you're going to be a great baseball team and a great lineup. And both Michigan and Texas Tech are very good at that.
Kyle Kaufman is ready to start things here, and he fires a first pitch ball to the left-handed hitting Cody Master, rather the switch hitter batting from the left side. He's the DH for Texas Tech today. As Kaufman working from the first base side of the upper, fires a 1-0 pitch, breaking ball down and in, and now it's 2-0.
There's a little bit of a shift here for Cody Masters, a left-handed hitter. Blomgrom's about 2 or 3 steps from left of the second base, and you're seeing Akeo Thomas definitely a little bit of a pull shift there at second base, but besides that, not too crazy of a shift.
2-0 pitch, swing and a miss. That looked like a good slider from Kyle Kaufman there. Checked in at 89, and swinging right through it was Masters. The count is now 2-1.
Yeah, Kyle Kaufman, a guy who is really mixing his pitches very well. He threw a couple of fastballs low and away and delivers a higher low and in slide piece that got Masters swinging. It's a guy who can do a lot with his pitches.
2-1 pitch bounces and misses low, and now it is 3-1 on Masters. Kaufman showing his first real sign of a little bit of loss of control here to the leadoff batter in the second.
Yeah, one thing you can't do if you're a starting pitcher, really any pitcher in general, you can't afford to walk the leadoff hitter. Michigan's had that problems in the bullpen, or in this entire tournament, and Kaufman hoping to step out of that trend.
Fires a 3-1, looking at another slider there, clocking in 87 and caught the outside part of the plate, and now it's 3-2.
Yeah, a couple breaking balls, and the last couple of pitches, I expect Kaufman here to try to deliver high in the fastball, get an inside fastball to get Masters swinging.
3-2 pitch. This one is chopped over towards first base. Jimmy Kerr is going to make the grab on the fair side of the first base line and take it to the bag himself for the first out here in the second.
Yeah, that's one thing Kaufman is fantastic at. All of his pitches lead to another step. All of his pitches are some sort of a system to get the batter off his balance. You know, if he throws in a couple low and in sliders that end up with balls, there are setup pitches set up with that fastball inside or high and in fastball and low and away fastball. It's something that always works out. So he's a guy who's always got the capability of getting himself out of a 3-1 hole, a 2-0 hole, and getting a big out as he just did right there.
He was in both of them right there. Did start off the at-bat 2-0 and then got down 3-1. Yeah. And as you mentioned, worked back into it, got an easy ground ball. First pitch here of this at-bat is a fastball to Drew Baker. The count is 0-1. The Michigan defensive lineup today, in left field is Christian Bullock, then Jesse Franklin and Jordan Brewer in center and right. Left side of the infield is Blake Nelson at third, Jack Blomgren at short. Right side is Akeo Thomas at second base, Jimmy Kerr at first, and Joe Donovan behind the plate for the right-hander. 0-1 pitch, fastball, just catches the knees. Clocking in 91. I think that's the fastest fastball we've seen today from Kyle Kaufman. Starting to dial it up a little bit, and so too.
Yeah, 2 fantastic pitches. Do a fastball, low and in, fastball, low and away. 2 pitches right on the corner. 2 great pitches. Here, I like to deliver another fastball. You've doubled up, might as well triple up, keep him out of balance, but throw it away. Don't give him a good pitch to hit.
This time he tries to go what looks like a slider, and just tipping it off the end of the bat there was Baker. He fouls it behind home plate, and the count will remain 0-2.
Yeah, it's critical here for Kaufman. You're up 0-2 in the count. You can afford to deliver a couple pitches that don't have to be great pitches. Give him a fastball away, something that's tempting but not exactly a great pitch to hit. Kaufman's a guy who's really never had that problem of losing control of his fastball, and really has a great ability of snapping down his breaking balls, so he can deliver a pitch here that's good.
This one is lined straight up the middle on 0-2 into center field for a one-out base hit for Drew Baker. Maybe the hardest hit ball we've seen today, besides maybe the Blake Nelson fly out to left field. And Texas Tech has a runner on with 1 out here in the second inning, just as they did in the first.
Yeah, something you didn't want there. I was talking about 0-2 count. He threw a fastball that was in the inner third, but definitely was in the strike zone. And Texas Tech and Baker get a huge hit out of that runner on first base with 1 out. If you're Kaufman, you got that 0-2 count. You got to deliver pitches that aren't exactly hittable but are somewhat tempting. And he puts one in the zone, and Baker gets a big hit.
That brings up Kurt Wilson, the left fielder for Texas Tech today. Righty-righty matchup here. Kaufman's first pitch catches the inside part of the plate, and it's 0-1.
Yeah, one thing we're seeing out of both these pitchers, in Dallas and in Kaufman, 2 guys who like to switch up the looks on their first pitch, throwing breaking ball or fastball or breaking ball. It's been fantastic for both these guys. Kaufman delivered a changeup that looked like maybe a slider on that first pitch, and it was a fantastic pitch low in the corner. So he's got that breaking ball in his arsenal already. Deliver a couple fastballs, see what happens.
Comes set, checks the runner at first base, does Kaufman, and now fires the 0-1 pitch fastball high, and now it's 1-1.
Yep, I like what Joe Donovan or whoever's calling pitches in the dugout did exactly that right there. They were breaking ball low and in, and Kaufman comes up with a fastball high and in, changing eye levels, changing speeds. That's exactly what you want to do if you're a starting pitcher. You want to be unpredictable, and Kaufman simply just missed that pitch, but it was the right idea.
Stretching out his lead over a bit at first base is Baker, and Kaufman stands on the mound until Wilson calls time at the plate before the 1-1 pitch.
Yeah, one thing you got to see out of the Wolverines, more so in their bullpen, less their starting pitching, but you got to see out of their pitching in general. Against UCLA, they didn't switch up their looks a lot to first base, and UCLA a couple times took advantage of that and got free bases. Wolverines got to switch up most of their looks to keep these runners guessing.
1-1 pitch missed just outside. Trying to frame it with Joe Donovan, but didn't quite get the call, and now it's 2-1 on Wilson. Wilson's got some power in that bat. Does have 4 home runs, including one in the Super Regionals against Oklahoma State. Overall in the year, just 74 at-bats for the sophomore. Tall right-hander waits for a 2-1 pitch. It's hit in the air towards the right center field gap. Ranging Jordan Brewer. He makes the catch, backpedaling near the track in right center for the second out of the inning. Possibility for some damage there, but put away by the speedy Brewer, and now there's 2 outs.
Yeah, another big thing to watch for out of this Wolverines ball club, can they shore up their fundamental defense? Their fundamental defense against UCLA was not fantastic in both Game 2 and Game 3. We saw a couple errors in the infield. We saw a couple times where infielders weren't charging the ball and they got free bases out of it. We saw a couple mishaps in both left field, right field, and center field. And if Michigan wants to be competitive here in the College World Series, make more history happen, they got to shore up their defense. And so far, they've been quite fantastic.
I'll bring up Tanner Otruba, the right fielder, with 2 outs and a runner on first. First pitch to him is just off the outside corner. It is now 1-0 on Otruba. Otruba, the freshman out of Parker, Colorado. Stands in there 6'2", 215 in that right-handed batter's box. Had just 90 at-bats on the year, but started all 3 games against Michigan for Texas Tech back in the series they played in Lubbock earlier this year. Second pitch to the at-bat is a breaking ball that bounces in the dirt, gets through the legs of Joe Donovan, and skips away just a little bit. And so moving up to the second base bag is Baker on what'll be a wild pitch with 2 gone.
Yeah, one thing Donovan hasn't really gotten great at throughout the season, one thing he's been struggling at throughout the tournament, is getting over blocking those balls. A couple times you saw in both the regional and the super regionals, they seem to get crossed up, so I don't know if the communication system is sort of flawed or they're making mistakes, but there's been a lot of pass balls throughout this tournament that Michigan's really got to shore up. It's part of that fundamental defense I was talking about they need to improve.
Texas Tech has the tying run in scoring position and 2-0 count here on Otremba. As Kaufman fires and a foul straight back to the screen there on a fastball. Otremba was right on that one. That'll go to 2-1.
Yeah, great pitch. Kaufman threw a couple breaking balls, low and away, and he delivers a high and in fastball. Otremba goes chasing and simply cannot catch up to it and is under it. That's great pitch calling and great execution there by Kyle Kaufman.
Kaufman taking his time now with that runner on second base, Baker. Obviously, Michigan's got to disguise the signs a little bit more with that runner out there, prevent him from stealing them. Signaling into Otremba on what pitch he's going to see, and part of what makes Kyle Kaufman good is the unpredictability. And so the next pitch of the at-bat on 2-1 misses low and just a bit away, perhaps. Joe Donovan liked the pitch.
Yeah.
And now the count goes 3-1.
That's definitely one thing this Wolverines team has made an effort to do. They are very secret in their signs and how they deliver their signs. I mean, the outfielders have that note card that they always pull out and look at. And at bats, they got that number card system on their belts and those waistbands. And it's definitely, it might lead to some of the miscommunication we see between the pitcher and catcher, but they're definitely thorough in their how they deliver their signs.
3-1 pitch swung on and missed on a good fastball. And the count is full, 3-2. Runner will not be on the move here, presumably Baker, unless Texas Tech wants to get really creative.
Yeah.
Which probably isn't the right move.
not to do with 2 outs here and runner on second base. They want to make that third out at third base. But if you are Texas Tech and you are Baker at second base, I try as much as I can to take a couple more steps, because if you want a base hit, you got to give yourself more opportunity to get home on a base knock. But especially Kaufman in full counts, not really going to be looking at the runner too much. So at Baker, you can maybe try to afford, maybe try to push it and get that extra step.
Otremba almost sits down in that right-handed batter's box with his batting stance. Wide stance over in the right-handed box and kind of crouches down, holds that bat out in front of him while he waits for Kaufman to come set.
Yeah, Otremba, a guy who's been fantastic this year with runners in scoring position, hit .385. So this is a guy who can do damage in clutch situations.
3-2 pitch fouled off himself. I think might have gotten a piece of Donovan as well, did Otremba, and the count's going to remain 3-2.
Yeah, Kaufman's delivered 2 straight fantastic fastballs. One was high and in, the last one was low and in. So if you're Kaufman, you're delivering the inside part of the plate fastballs. I like to try to break off a changeup low. You know, you have open base behind, behind Baker there at second. You can afford to walk this guy. You can get an out, and a great strikeout pitch is that changeup that Kaufman has. If I'm calling pitches down there in the Wolverines dugout, I try to get a low and changeup.
So your Chris Fetters decides to go with here on 3-2 again, and swing and miss at a ball low in the dirt. Fielding is Donovan. He'll throw it on to first in time. I think that was exactly what you called for. Either the changeup or the slider there, but he got him swinging for Kaufman's first strikeout of the day to end the inning here in the second. We'll head to the third inning of action. First game of the College World Series. Michigan leads Texas Tech by a score of 1-0. You're listening to the official student radio broadcast of Michigan baseball here on WCBN Sports. I am Austin Falco. Andy Laidlaw is beside me. Starting in the fourth inning, you'll hear Daniel Thompson as well. And a shout out to Jeremy Parks, our, we'll say, chauffeur / quality control coach over there.
He's the one guy here in WCBN that's making sure everything's running smoothly. He's doing a great job doing that. And going back to that last at-bat, that's just grade A, great pitch calling there by the Wolverines. As I talked about, you had a 3-1 count. Kaufman delivered a fastball to make it full count. Delivered another fastball to try to put him away. Had a great foul off, and they delivered a changeup, an off-speed pitch that gets the batter off balance and gets a huge strikeout out of it. That's just something you always look for if you're a pitch caller, a catcher, or a pitcher. You got to change up inside, outside, change up high, low, change speeds. If you can do that efficiently, you're going to be a great pitcher, and we've been seeing that all year out of the Michigan starting pitching, and that's why the staff has been so fantastic, because the pitch calling has been great, and the execution of those pitches that are being called has been fantastic. And that was a great example of it right there.
Both pitchers have stranded at least one runner, or at least had one runner reach in every inning. No 1-2-3 innings thus far. Each pitcher's faced 4 hitters in each of their frames, and that means Akeo Thomas going to lead things off for the Wolverines in the 9-hole, and then they'll cycle back up to the top with Jordan Wogu and Jesse Franklin here in the third.
Yeah, 30 pitches out of Kaufman it's not concerning, but it's definitely on the higher side a little bit. But
for Kaufman,
it is. For Kaufman, it definitely is. And for the bullpen that hasn't really been in its greatest form. They were a lot better in the Super Regional rather than the Corvallis Regional. The bullpen has stepped up a little bit, but for Kaufman, it's a guy who typically likes to work late in the game. You saw he went in the 9th inning against UCLA. He can't throw 105, 110 pitches, but he's a guy that you want to go as deep as possible.
Also threw 120 back in Corvallis against the Creighton in their first game there, so he's capable of going deep, and Eric Backett certainly trusts him to go deep in the ball game as the first pitch to Akeo Thomas misses in.
110 pitches by game 4, he'll be ready.
Exactly. Second pitch of the at-bat misses a bit low, maybe inside again to Thomas, and now it's 2-0 on the diminutive second baseman for Michigan. Stansider's 5'7", but certainly capable of being a catalyst as he was several years in Ann Arbor. Takes a pitch on the outside corner at the knees. Doesn't seem to agree with it, does Thomas, but it goes down as strike one, and it's 2-1.
Yeah, that's one thing Micah Dallas, like I talked about against Oklahoma State, he struggled throwing first pitch strikes, and he has here so far against Akeo.
This pitch is fouled off to the left side on the ground, and the count moves to 2-2 on Akeo Thomas.
And as I was talking about Kaufman, Dallas did the same thing. He's worked back behind the count, got even, and has put himself in great position to knock out here Thomas.
Thomas on the air, 262 batting average, down from his first few years in Ann Arbor, but certainly come on as of late. 2-2 pitch is hit high and foul over near us, but it's going to get down in front of us on the right side. And the count is 2-2. Someone dropped the ball, that's all I know.
Well, I really thought Falco was going to dive over the ledge here to get that ball. You know, a good thing we're not the shortstop and second baseman for the Wolverines because we weren't feeling that ball coming.
2-2 pitch. This one is lined up the middle for a base hit to start things here in the third. Second time in 3 innings that Michigan's had the leadoff runner on with a single, and we'll cycle around to the guy that started things off in the ball game with a leadoff single, Jordan Wogu.
Yeah, Akeo Thomas is one of those guys you love to have up the plate, you know, and start off the innings. A great leadoff hitter. If he gets on base, he's a guy who's got a lot of speed there on first base. Fantastic at-bat by both Dallas and Thomas there, doing everything they can, but Thomas ultimately just won that battle, and the Wolverines put themselves in great position to run around.
Yeah, Thomas, not quite the same speed he had a couple years ago. He has been injured a fair amount in his time in Ann Arbor, and it's kind of sapped him of a lot of his spectacular ability. Still very, very good in the field. There's still a very, very smart base runner. Knows how to use the speed he has on the bases. Only 2 stolen bases in the year for him, but I would not be surprised to see him potentially try to gauge up Dallas here as pick off their chases and back diving.
Yeah, Thomas is definitely a willing runner, and like you said, he's got great awareness on the base path, and that's one of the great things of being a base runner. And it's not just speed; it's how smart and how intelligent you are on the base path. And Thomas definitely has that intelligence and that IQ.
Dallas comes set, checks the runner over at first, faking going was Thomas, and a swing and a miss at a breaking ball from Wogu makes the count 0-1.
That's one thing I noticed out of pretty much everybody in that Michigan lineup when they're on first base and love to deliver that fake steal, that kind of fake steal look. And a lot of catchers like to snap back and do that. We saw UCLA do it one time, but this Michigan baseball team is very good at doing it and coming back to the base quickly.
Yeah, Michigan has that play sheet, and some of those plays on there are designed fakes, just as you said, faking going towards second. Not faking going towards second. Here's Thomas. He has to dive back on a pickoff throw.
And that's one of the systems that Bakich has put in place that's fantastic. He's put himself in a position to have a great base running team, and it always has the pitcher feeling. It always has the pitcher's attention. We saw Dallas already make 2 pickoff moves to Thomas there at first base, and they always got the pitcher a little bit off the rhythm with having to focus on the base runner.
Another pickoff throw by Dallas after a long pause, trying to see if Thomas was going to break it all towards second base. And yeah, as you mentioned, this Wolverine lineup just always has the pitcher on edge. You said K.O. Thomas, only 2 steals in the season. The only guy with less in the lineup is Joe Donovan, who doesn't have one this year.
Yeah, and like I said, that's always in Bakich's mind. I want to throw off the pitcher. I want to make the pitcher think, and he does it very well with all 9 base runners for the Wolverines.
0-1 pitch now, not faking was Thomas. This was hit on the ground, routine double play ball, go to second for 1, over to first in time, 4-6-3 on the double play. Exactly what the doctor ordered for Texas Tech right there.
Yep. And that's one thing that Jordan Wogu has been really struggling with all year. And if it's one thing he can correct, he can turn himself into a serious MLB prospect. He has a bad habit of having that almost Derek Jeter-like inside-outside swing. And he gets a fastball low and in, and he pokes it out to the second baseman. He should be able to pull that ball. A guy with that power, if he can be able to pull the ball, man, he can way jump up his power numbers. But he just has that bad tendency of having that inside-outside swing.
That'll be Jesse Franklin coming to the plate with 2 outs and nobody on now. Takes the pitch low, and it's 1-0. Now, you mentioned Wogu has that swing where his hips flare open, but he does still have that inside-outside look and hits the ball with authority to the other field. As the 1-0 pitch is swung on and missed, breaking ball in the dirt. Franklin comes up empty, and now it's 1-1.
Yeah, but that's such a weird thing to see out of a guy who has great power like Wogu. Great power hitters usually love to pull the ball, and if they can pull the ball, they can hit a ton of bombs. They can hit a lot of home runs. And if Wogu could kind of figure out that inside swing, he'd be great.
Third pitch, the at-bat misses just low, maybe a bit inside as well. Close pitch, but it's 2-1 now on Franklin. And talking about Jesse Franklin, great plate discipline. Led the Big Ten in walks this year. He's got 47 walks on the season now coming into this one. 47 strikeouts as well, so a very good ratio if you're talking about that. As the 2-1 pitch bounces in the dirt, and now it's 3-1.
Yeah, great at-bat here by Franklin. And it's something that Micah Dallas, I talked about a lot against his performance against Oklahoma State in Game 1 of their Super Regional. He really lost control of his breaking balls. He hung them or he overthrew them, and he's kind of sort of starting to do that now in this game. Luckily, he got that ground ball, that double play there out of Jordan Wogu. But in that first at-bat against Thomas, he threw a couple breaking balls that he lost control out of, and he's doing it here to Franklin.
Winding up is Dallas, 3-1 pitch to Franklin. Swing and a miss there. Look at a real good changeup. Had way out in front there, to pound one off his face on the video board in right field. And counts full. And
that was the pitch I saw when I watched him against Oklahoma State. He delivered flawlessly, was that changeup. It's one thing they're always talking about and always looking at, and that was a great changeup there by Dallas.
Maybe he go back to it here on 3-2. He winds up the payoff pitch in the dirt, ball 4. Look at, he tried to go with that changeup again, but just bounced it in the dirt, and Franklin will take the free bag here with 2 outs in the third.
As any great Division I, really any great pitcher will tell you, the one pitch that's hard to get it perfect, hard to get it as best you possibly can, is that changeup. That's the one pitch that most pitchers struggle to develop. And if you throw a great one the pitch before, it's very, very easy to lose control of the next pitch, and that's exactly what Dallas did there. And that's one of the pitches that each pitching coach really wants to develop to perfect. If one pitch you want to perfect is that changeup.
Pick off on a first base, not getting Jesse Franklin over there despite a very good pickoff move from Dallas and a good tag from Warren. I don't know, Franklin was leaning a bit there. Texas Tech looking in the dugout, not going to challenge that one.
I'm almost surprised to see that we're right here on that first base path. And, man, it looked like Franklin got tagged on the shoulder before that hand came in, but nope, Texas Tech is not going to review it, and Michigan may have got a break there.
Much shorter lead now for Franklin this time. He extends it a little bit here with the first pitch on the way to Jordan Brewer. Not before another pickoff throw. That one almost gets past the first baseman, Warren. As Franklin dove back in plenty of time this time.
Being exactly lined up with that first base, the second base path. I noticed something in Jesse Franklin's leadoff that's a little weird. His left foot is in front of his right foot. And usually when players are taught, they slide back with their right hand going to the opposite corner to protect their face. And it makes it a lot difficult. That's almost a tenth of a second that's going to take away from that slide.
First pitch, Jordan Brewer, line drive into left field for a base hit. Jordan Brewer's got his first hit of the College World Series as he's repping the Big Ten Player of the Year award honors. 2 runners on, 2 outs here in the third inning for Jimmy Kerr.
That's one thing, and the Wolverines are very excited to see Jordan Brewer, a guy who struggled a lot in the Super Regional, deliver a base knock there in a 2-out situation. If he can get rolling, Jordan Brewer, man, that's a lot we can see from that fantastic Big Ten Player of the Year hitter. And one thing we love to see out of the top of that lineup.
Couple runners on now. Jimmy Kerr trying to at least keep this third inning going for the Wolverines. He can find a hole here. Should be able to score Franklin. Plenty of speed. The Texas Tech outfield playing fairly deep against Jimmy Kerr. He's able to find the grass out there in the outfield. Should be another run and extending the Michigan lead. Be able to find a gap. Certainly the speed of Jordan Brewer. There's a potential for 2 runs on the board.
Yeah, they're not exactly in no doubles depth.
Take off throw to second base. No! Dropping the ball was the second baseman, Young. They were going to have Franklin, but the ball is laying on the ground right under Franklin's arm there for made the call out, and then as Franklin stood up, we saw the ball just...
Yep, tough call there by Scotty Klein, but that's the cardinal sin as an umpire. You never want to make a call that you're not exactly sure. That's why most umpires ask for the guy who's making the tag to show the ball there. He called him out automatically, and the ball turned out to be beneath Jesse Franklin. That's a tough situation. You call a guy out, he might just pop off that bag real quick, and the actual tag will be, applied. So it's a break there for the Wolverines. Shortstop did not have the ball, and Wolverines still got a chance of knocking a couple runs here.
Short lead for Jesse Franklin. Now going around there on the check swing on a breaking ball was Jimmy Kerr, and the count is 0-1 now. He's struggled a bit to see that breaking ball out of the hand of Dallas in his first couple looks at him today. Had a check swing earlier on, also swung and missed at a couple low ones.
Yeah, we're talking about that shortstop Texas Tech, the 8th overall pick in the MLB draft to the Texas Rangers, Josh Young. He's a guy who I don't expect to play a lot of shortstop in the majors and the minors. I think he's a guy who's more built for third base. He's a big, stocky guy. His range isn't typically fantastic there at shortstop, but he's a guy who's a great hitter and do a lot. And I think you're going to see him play a little more third base in that Texas Rangers farm system.
A 1 pitch, Jimmy Kerr swing and miss, another ball low and in, and now the count is 0-2. Kerr grounded out to second base back in the first inning to end the first inning. And he's found himself in a hole here, 0-2. His first trip to the College World Series, obviously here in the 5th year. Michigan's first trip in 35 seasons. The last time they had a Kerr on the roster was the last time they made it. They've got one here. And Jimmy's down 0-2 in the count to Dallas. The pitch, this one's fouled off to the left side. That'll get up and out of play. The count's going to remain 0-2.
Yep, great job here by Jimmy Kerr staying alive in this at-bat. Down 0-2 in the count, gets a fastball. High and away, probably a ball, but hey, that's what you got to do. You got to foul off pitches, stay alive. You never know what you can take, especially with college umpires who typically like to give not exactly an inch, a half an inch off the plate, both sides. Are more typical of calling that outside corner, and Jimmy Kerr fouls off and stays alive.
Jimmy Kerr also a 33rd round pick to the Detroit Tigers in this year's MLB draft. Probably wouldn't have gotten picked, I'd say, if he didn't have such a big Corvallis regional right before the draft. As this one bounces in the dirt here on 0-2. Nice stop by Fulford behind the plate to keep both runners at their respective bases. And the count moves to 1-2.
Heck, my Detroit Tigers could use his Corvallis regional performance right about right now. Jimmy Kerr is a guy who, he's got a lot of power in that swing. You can kind of tweak a few things, cut down his strikeout numbers. He could be a legitimate prospect. He really could help out a program. And it's a guy, like I said, huge home run numbers, great power.
Dallas checks the runner at second base at Jesse Franklin. And now a 1-2 pitch to Kerr. This one is hit into the right field line. Fair on the right field line. One run's going to score in Jesse Franklin. Jordan Brewer is coming around third as well. The throw is not going to be in time, and Kerr's on his way to third base. He's going to be in there with a slide. And a 2 RBI triple from Jimmy Kerr puts Michigan up 3-0 here in the third.
What a phenomenal at-bat there by Jimmy Kerr, down 0-2 in the count, fouls off a couple pitches, gets a low and inside pitch, flips his hips, turns his hands, delivers a shot down the right field line, knocks in 2 huge runs for the Wolverines. What an at-bat, what a clutch hit by Jimmy Kerr with 2 outs to get that 2 RBI double. Huge turn for the Wolverines, huge momentum swing, and Carl Kaufman can really focus on the mound now.
And what a shot in the arm here for this Wolverine crowd. You heard them roaring as those Wolverines circled the bases. And we're going to visit now to the mound by the Texas Tech coaching staff. I believe that is one of their assistants, J. Bob Thomas, I believe is the pitching coach for the Red Raiders.
Man, you can't blame Micah Dallas there on that at-bat. He did a great job getting ahead 0-2. He threw a fastball away that Kerr fouled off. He threw another pitch that Kerr took for a ball. And then he delivered a great off-speed, that slur we were kind of talking about, and Kerr drove it right down the right field line. It didn't look like it was even a strike, and Jimmy Kerr just poked it over the first baseman's head, knocked in 2 huge runs for the Wolverines, and Michigan is dancing right now.
And correction there, it's actually Matt Gardner serves as the pitching coach for the Red Raiders. He comes out to the mound, meets with the entire infield briefly. Most likely just trying to settle down the freshman Dallas here. Obviously the biggest stage that he's ever played on as a freshman here. Yeah. Now he is from Texas. They got some big stages down there in Texas.
Very, very true. And he's a guy who he got him pitched in the regional pitch in the super regionals, a very tough game against Oklahoma State. He went 5 innings. I watched his first 3 innings, was fantastic. He kind of started losing control in the 4th and 5th inning, gave him 2 runs, but it's a guy who's very good. You know, he struggles going late in the game, but he can give you great innings.
First pitch to Blake Nelson here is a strike at the knees, and it's 0-1 on the third baseman for Michigan. Dallas was actually homeschooled in high school, so didn't even really get to see the big high school stadiums necessarily, aside from playing in AAU ball or wherever else he played.
That's a big focus on high school baseball now, is that travel summer ball. That's where a lot of those showcase camps are, those showcase tournaments. That's definitely where Micah Dallas made his mark.
He fires a breaking ball low and away there. Nice job by Fulford to field that one before it skipped in the dirt. So a pass ball would certainly mean another run for the Wolverines, and a 4-0 lead with Jimmy Kerr over there on third. Kerr didn't have to slide for that triple, by the way. It did so anyway, as Nelson hits a line drive towards left field. That one's going to get in for a base hit. Jimmy Kerr scores. RBI single. Michigan's up 4-0 in the third.
Fantastic at-bats all day long here for the Wolverines. They're waiting for the pitch they like. They're fouling off the pitches they have to, and they have 4 huge runs based off 4 great at-bats here for the Wolverines. 3 great at-bats. Gosh, this Wolverines club came ready to play, and I told you Eric Backus would have this team ready, and boy, are they ready.
There is some stirring now in the Texas Tech bullpen. A couple arms getting up and stretching. No one throwing quite yet, but Texas Tech certainly knows they want to win this game and get into the winner's bracket here on what is considered the left side of the bracket traditionally when you're looking at it when they lay it out. As a pickoff throw to first base, chases Nelson back to the bag, sliding.
Yeah, and talk about the layout of this bracket. Both sides are pretty fair, I think. I think Arkansas is a team that can do a lot of damage. They're on Michigan's side of the bracket. Obviously, Vanderbilt, the highest seeded team in the bracket remaining, can do a lot of damage. But there's also a couple flyers on both sides. Mississippi State, I believe, is a huge flyer on the right side of the bracket. And the team playing right now, Michigan, is a huge flyer on the left side of the bracket.
Nelson gets back in standing with another pickoff throw there, and Micah Dallas is really paying a ton of attention to Wolverine runners there. And with good reason here for Blake Nelson, 15 for 15 on stolen bases this season for the Wolverines. I believe that's third on the team, his 15 stolen bases, after the 2 Jordans, Brewer and Wogu. First pitch to that back hitter, Christian Bullock, swinging and a miss there. And a good high fastball, and the count is 0-1.
And this is the type of situation where you do want to send that runner. Blake Nelson, 15 for 15, a great base runner, and you have a guy off to the plate right now, Christian Bullock, a guy who would like to be a leadoff hitter. Blake Nelson can take second base here, put Bullock maybe in a possibility to now come a run, and if he gets thrown out, guess what? Bullock's leading off the next inning. So I do expect Blake Nelson to be on the run here.
He is not going here on 0-1 as this one's fouled back to the screen by Bullock, and now the count is 0-2. I'd say a counterpoint to that is Bullock, the reason he hasn't been able to stay in the lineup the last couple of years, one, it's Jordan Brewer came in and just absolutely tore things up.
Yeah.
But even earlier on and throughout his career here in Ann Arbor, does have a little bit of a hole in his swing. A little bit of down and in breaking ball is very dangerous, so facing a right-hander with a good breaking ball, like Micah Dallas, a good changeup, could potentially lead to some swing and miss there. Don't necessarily want to leave Nelson out to dry at second, but he is a very good stolen base threat,
Yeah.
is Nelson. Either way here, it's a 2-0 pitch to Bullock. He fouls that one off the glove of Fulford behind the plate, and the count's going to remain 0-2.
Yeah, Bullock's one of those guys who gets on base, he can do a lot of damage for you. So if he leads off your next inning and gets on base, he has a tremendous ability of taking second base. So this is a guy in Bullock who, like you said, has been struggling. He was fantastic in Game 3 of the Super Regional against UCLA. So this is a Bullock, a guy who can do a lot of damage, and I would expect Blake Nelson here to be stealing. Especially here now, 0-2, he's seen a couple 0-2 pitches.
Bullock now waits an 0-2 and fouls it back to the screen again. He'll stay alive at 0-2. Nelson's still not going.
Up again, another great at-bat by the Wolverines. A couple times they've been stuck in the hole 0-2. Fouled off pitches, stayed alive in that bat. We saw Jimmy Kerr take advantage. Hopefully we can see Christian Bullock here now take advantage.
This next pitch will be pitch number 24 in the inning for Micah Dallas, his 53rd overall on the day. Nelson leads off first. Dallas is going to try to pick off throw over there, but not slapping the tag down was Warren. Might have had a shot if he goes for a quick tag, but just really hesitant.
Like I talked about in the pregame, when I saw Michael Dallas start to lose velocity on that fastball, it was around the 55, 60, 65 pitch mark. Like you said, sitting at 54 pitches right now, we're already seeing his fastball velocity starting to touch in the 89, 90 range. That's one thing that's not something you want to see if you're a Texas Tech starting coach or a Texas Tech pitching coach.
0-2 pitch. It's a pitch out over there, and they throw down to first base, and they got Blake Nelson. Nelson thinks he got in. He got in with his left hand. After diving back, normally diving back with the right hand to the back of the bag, he then pulled the right hand back and reached around to get to first base. The out call was made by Perry Costello. Michigan immediately going to the replay review. They're going to use a challenge here, which is new in the NCAA tournament this year and in the Big Ten tournament. And look at the replay, he is safe. Blake Nelson never got tagged. Wow.
That's sort of the Javi Baez, your Chicago Cub man.
Exactly.
That little move, he's swiping down that tag with the right hand. He flips it and gives it the left hand on the base, and he is most definitely safe. I think this one should be fairly quick. I don't really see any way he can call him out. That's a fantastic slide there by Blake Nelson, swooping around and getting that left hand in. Great job. But that's a little bit of a, I don't know, it's a questionable pitch out call. With a left-handed batter at home plate, you throw a pitch out to the left side. It's always tough for a catcher to go glove side, flip their body, throw the first. Very impressive there by Fulford to deliver a great pitch and a great strike down to first base. I can't believe they called that pitch out. It's very interesting to see.
It was very interesting to see. Would be a ball no matter what. Not that it could matter. Either third out of the inning, and Texas Tech's coming up in the bottom, or rather the top of the fourth, or bottom of the third, rather. Got that right the first time I was saying it. Or Blake Nelson still on first base, and it's a 1-2 count on Christian Bullock. Either way, we got a little bit of a pause here. There's a couple of the umpires. I believe that's the second base umpire, Scott Klein, and then Perry Costello over there. We're about ready to get the call here, and waiting for the signal. Perry Costello says, safe at first base. And you heard the roar from the Michigan fans when they showed that replay. They had those high-deck cameras here for this Big Ten tournament going all around for the College World Series. A little bit bigger than the Big Ten tournament is what I meant to say.
Well, you sort of bring up a good point there accidentally. This isn't the first time the Wolverines have played here at TD Ameritrade. They have 5 games, under the belt here at this fantastic ballpark in Omaha. So they sort of understand the scene around here in Omaha, and it's definitely paying dividends here so far in the first game of the College World Series.
Righty, lefty, now ready for a 1-2 pitch to Bullock. Setting up low is Fulford, and Bullock's going to foul one off back behind the plate. He stays alive again here. Another 2-out foul ball. That's the third time he's fouled one off with 2 strikes to stay alive.
And that's exactly what you look for here. You're down 0-2 in the count. You don't want to take any close pitches. Like I said, college umpires like to give that half-inch off both sides of the plate. You foul off pitches, wait for one you like, and absolutely deliver a rope on it. And Christian Bullock's doing a great job here and doing a great job of bumping up, Micah Dallas' pitch count.
Another pitch here at 1-2 misses high and away. It's 2-2 now. I'm really surprised they haven't gone with that breaking ball down and in on Christian Bullock. I said that's one spot in his swing that really has some holes at times. We've seen him do a good job in the UCLA series, specifically that third game. His first hit of the game, he grounded a double down the first base line. He did turn on one inside there, so there are signs of improvement, but certainly not a large enough sample size to warrant not even bother trying at least.
And especially because that's such a great pitch for Micah Dallas. That's his, his bread and butter. He loves to throw that breaking ball a lot. I believe his changeup is his best pitch, but that slurve/slider/curveball is a fantastic pitch as well, and that's the one he likes to deliver a lot.
2-2 pitch, misses high and away, gets back to the screen. That's going to be a wild pitch on Dallas, and Blake Nelson moves up to second base. So a runner in scoring position, and the count is full on Christian Bullock now.
Yeah, this is how you put yourself in great positions to have a great at-bat. You foul off pitches, you get the pitcher frustrated, and Micah Dallas on his last two pitches have not thrown great pitches. A fastball high and away that wasn't even close, and then a fastball high and away that was even more high and more away that led to a pass ball. Great job by Christian Bullock to stay alive in this at-bat, and it's already paying dividends.
Micah Dallas comes set, checks Nelson over at second base now, and the payoff pitch in this at-bat swung on and fouled off. Again, just barely getting a piece of it was Bullock, and he fouled it off the ground and then off the mask of Fulford. So another foul ball here for Christian Bullock. So far this at-bat has been 9 pitches long.
Yep, and that again was that fantastic changeup. He had Bullock on his front foot, leaning a lot, but Bullock just barely got a piece of it and is still alive in this at-bat.
Bullock steps out of the box, looks at that bat, takes a breath, and now steps back in, ready to do it again here on 3-2. And you might have Bullock in swing mode here if you're Micah Dallas. You can just get something close to the zone, I'd say.
Yep.
With all these foul balls, pitch number 10 of the at-bat coming up, Micah Dallas is going to step off and think it over a bit.
Yeah, and that's one of the frustrating things when you see guys foul off pitches, because you're always setting up that next pitch. They've had that set up, and they deliver the punchline, and it has not worked for Bullock, or has not worked against Bullock.
3-2 pitch, swung on and missed for strike 3. Bullock not happy with himself, but a 10-pitch at-bat is certainly, for a strikeout,
it's a quality
good at-bat.
Yeah, it's a quality at-bat. That's something you always look for. If you're not going to get a base knock, if you're not going to deliver a huge run, it stinks. It does stink, but you had a great at-bat, build up the pitch count, and Christian Bullock has a lot to be proud of, knocking off 5 foul balls with 2 strikes. Great at-bat, didn't end up putting a run on the scoreboard, but the Wolverines, they strike, and they strike hard with those 3 runs.
Yeah, back here in the top of the 3rd inning, Michigan scores 3 times thanks to a 2-run triple from Jimmy Kerr and an RBI single from Blake Nelson. All of those came with 2 outs, and we head to the bottom of the 3rd inning. Michigan leads Texas Tech by a score of 4-0 here in Game 1 of the 2019 College World Series. You're listening to WCBN Sports coverage of Michigan baseball here at the event. We are the official student radio broadcast for Michigan baseball here at the College World Series.
Again, this is one of those things. You got a 4-0 lead for Carl Kaufman. It's nice. You don't have a ton of pressure, but you still got to go out and do your job, throw strikes. Can't afford to walk guys. And if there's one person in the starting staff, really, honestly, if there's one person in this entire College World Series that I would trust to deliver strikes, it's Carl Kaufman. And he's done a great job so far, and I expect him to do a great job these next 6 innings.
He did have a long layoff there in the top of the 3rd inning, a very long top of the 3rd. And then he'll get the 9, 1, and 2 hitters for Texas Tech to start things here in the bottom of the 3rd.
Yep, Carl Kaufman, like we said, talking about, he's thrown 30 pitches through the first 2 innings. You know, it's something to work with. It's not too much. He's a guy who's already thrown 105, 110 pitches on multiple occasions. This is a guy who likes to work late in the game, and this is the guy that the Wolverines and Coach Eric Bakich can trust.
Looks like we're ready to start things here in the bottom of the 3rd inning. Making his way up to the plate is the 9-hitter Braxton Fulford, the catcher for Texas Tech. Fulford has had his name said a lot today, whether it's through pickoff throws, balls getting passed on wild pitches. Michigan's stolen on him as well. Gets a chance to maybe extract a little revenge here at the plate. Certainly capable of doing so. .292 batting average for the freshman catcher. Gets on base at a .389 clip. Has himself 13 extra base hits, including 4 home runs on the year, and takes a big swing, but fouls it over near the Texas Tech dugout on a chopper for the first strike of the at-bat.
Yep, another great job by Carl Kaufman getting ahead of the count, delivering a beautiful low and fastball right down the corner, and that's been Kaufman's bread and butter, and I expect him to continue to utilize that pitch throughout this game.
Righty here as Kaufman winds up the 0-1 pitch. This one's a fastball. It's fouled over near the dugout for Texas Tech as well. The count is 0-2.
Yep, again, through that low and fastball, low and away fastball, you definitely have the breaking ball set up. But here, 0-2, you have thrown 2 straight fastballs. The batter is sitting on a breaking ball. Deliver another fastball. Why not? Triple up yourself, throw a high and away fastball, and then you can work with a breaking ball. Come 1-2 count, 2-2 count.
0-2. This one is lined straight towards the shortstop, Jack Blomgren, who makes the play, spins around for a second, and records the first out in the bottom of the third.
He did exactly that. He delivered another fastball, but he put it in the zone. Exactly something you don't want to see have an 0-2 and an 0-2 count for your starting pitcher. You kind of want to snap a fastball or a breaking ball away in the zone. Kind of hung it a little bit, and it was a good strike. Unfortunately, it was right at Blomgren.
Yeah, it looked like on the replay maybe a little bit of a slider there, but It did not break much at all. As you said, hung it right down the middle of the plate, and not being able to take advantage there was Fulford as he lined it right at Jack Blomgren. And so that'll cycle back up to the top of the Texas Tech order for Dylan Noisy. Noisy takes the first pitch at the knees. Donovan brought it up a little bit, and it's strike one.
Unfortunately for the Wolverines, this is the guy you don't want to get on base here. Dylan Noisy, a guy who's got great wheels, 17 of 19 stolen bases attempts. So if you can get this guy out, that'd be huge here for the Wolverines and Kyle Kaufman.
Texas Tech has a couple really, really good base runners, as this one misses low and away for ball number one. A couple guys with huge steal numbers in Dylan Noisy, but also Gabe Holt, who is not playing today. Has started most of the Texas Tech games, but interestingly enough, every game that Michigan's played against Texas Tech, this will be game number 4 this year, has seen the right fielder Tanner Otremba
Holt
in the lineup instead, as one misses low and away for ball 2.
Yeah, Holt, a guy you were talking about, the second highest drafted Texas Tech Red Raider on this ball club, was picked in the 7th round by the Milwaukee Brewers. Oddly enough to see, he's not in the lineup, but I do expect him to reach and play on the game, or play in this game some way, somehow. Maybe it's an at-bat or a pinch runner.
2-1 pitch, check swing, and a good breaking ball low and away. He went around. Did Dylan Noisy. Didn't even have to appeal down, did Perry Costello. Noisy knew it as well. He just hung his head and turned around. It's 2-2 now. On the center fielder for Texas Tech. Kaufman gets his sign, winds up. He knows exactly what he's doing here on 2-2, and hits a line drive into right field. Does Noisy. Brewers going to make the play over there, ranging towards right center, and toss back in. Good piece of 2-strike hitting there from Dylan Noisy to put a runner on with 1 out. Third straight inning that Texas Tech has had the first guy make an out, and then the second guy single.
Yeah. And like I said, Noisy, a guy who has great ability to steal bases, 17 of 19. And unfortunately, the next batter up, Klein, is a lefty, so it makes it a little bit harder for Joe Donovan. They have to throw a pitch out. It's got to be, again, glove side, which is very hard for a catcher to make a throw on. This is a prime position here for Noisy to steal second base.
Kaufman's going to check Noisy over there. You said 17 stolen bases on the year, not going on the first pitch as it misses low for ball 1 to Brian Klein. Klein had a single back in the first inning on just the second pitch of the at-bat against Carl Kaufman.
Yeah, Klein, one of those 6 hitters in the Red Raiders lineup, hitting over 300, 320 on the season, 413 on base percentage. That's something you love to see out of your 2-hitter, and Klein can make a lot happen.
Waiting now is Kaufman, not going is Noisy, and it's fouled back to the screen by Klein at the plate. The count is 1 ball and 1 strike on the second baseman for Texas Tech.
Yeah, Klein, your typical second baseman, contact hitter, hit 320 with no home runs on the season. That's something you see a lot at all levels as a second baseman, the guy who gets on base efficiently, gets hits efficiently, but doesn't exactly have the greatest power. And that's something here that Kaufman's still got to be careful of. Although he doesn't have a home run, he still can show that power.
Noisy not going in. This one's hit high in the air down the left field line. That one's going to hook out of play after Bullock gave it some chase. And the count is 1-2.
Yep, Kaufman again throwing inside-outside through a look like it was a breaking ball low and away, kind of a backdoor slider. Again, if he can deliver this fastball high and in or fastball low and in, it'd be a great job going inside-outside and changing your speeds.
Kaufman's already on the mound, ready to get going, but Klein's taking his time getting back into the box. Maybe a little bit of gamesmanship there, just trying to throw Kyle Kaufman off his game. Kaufman's going to check the runner at first before he comes set. Now he does. And the 1-2. Breaking ball down and in. Not really a check swing, but Donovan wanted to appeal down anyway. It's going to be a 2-2 count on Klein. He did not go around. Didn't really come particularly close.
Yeah. Again, he threw another breaking ball. That one was low and in. I really want to see Kaufman deliver that 89, 90 mile per hour fastball high and in, and get Klein here off balance. One of the tough pitches in all of baseball to hit. If you can hit that high and inside corner fastball, especially to a lefty, it's very tough to hit.
Kaufman comes set. Bigger lead over there by Noisy at first base. He is not going as this one's hit high in the air towards deep right center field. Going back near the track is Jordan Brewer at the wall. That ball is gone. Two-run home run for Brian Klein puts Texas Tech on the board here as it sneaks its way into the first row of the bleachers in right center. They cut the Michigan lead in half here in the bottom of the third. It is now 4-2 Wolverines.
Well, that's exactly what I was talking about with Klein, a guy who doesn't have a home run all season. And he's still something you always have to focus on is Klein delivers another shot over the right field wall.
Yeah, Klein seeing Kaufman well, had a sharp single back in the first, and now his second home run of the season. Actually, did come in with one.
Okay. Yep.
Did come in with one, but still the point stands. Not much home run power. Just got a pitch to his liking there, and put a good swing on it. Went down, got it in the air on a line drive, pumping his fists. He walks around or jogs around that second base bag. As I said, 4-2 now the score, and this game got a little bit tighter. Michigan seemed to be in firm control. Texas Tech getting back into it. They'll bring up now the heart of their order, Josh Young, with one out and nobody on base.
Yep, and again, this is the guy that 8th overall pick for the Texas Rangers, 14 home runs on the season, 341 average. This is the guy who can do a lot of damage.
First pitch fastball just misses, I believe, a bit inside to Young. The count is 1-0 on him.
Yeah, that's also exactly what you want to do for Texas Tech. You have a 4-0 deficit in the third inning. You start chipping away, get a run back, get 2 runs back. They do get 2 runs back, and they're right back in this ballgame.
Kaufman winds up, but now a 1-0 pitch, breaking ball low and away. It's 2-0, and you can't afford to take here against Josh Young on 2-0.
Exactly. This is the guy you can't groove a fastball to, because if you do, he's going to make you pay. So if you're Kaufman here, you've got to work the corners. Maybe you're down 2-0, still deliver another curveball, another slider. Because, like you said, this is a guy, if you leave it on the plate, he's going to make you pay.
For Kyle Kaufman, his first home run surrendered all postseason, and he spikes one in the dirt on 2-0. It's 3-0 now. And do you think about maybe working around Josh Young on 3-0? But Cameron Warren's on deck also. It's a very dangerous situation. That's what this Texas Tech lineup does to you.
You can. It's 3-0. You have a 3-0 with no runners on. You can walk them, but it's very early for that. There's still a lot can happen in this baseball game. And like you said, Warren's on deck, a guy who's been able to make teams pay. So you can't afford to put base runners on.
They're going to attack Young here as he fouls one down the left field line on bouncer. Had it been fair, Blake Nelson would have been there. He's playing just about on that left field line.
It's sort of odd to see Blake Nelson playing that pull shift on the third base line, but also seeing Christian Bullock taking a couple steps hand side. So there's a big gap right over there, over Blomgren's head and Blake Nelson's head. If he can get down that third base line, that's a double.
3-1 pitch. This one's a ground ball towards shortstop. Jack Blomgren makes the play, throws over to first. Plenty of time and accurately for out number 2.
Yep, great job there by Kyle Kaufman. 3-0 in the count, deliver a couple great pitches, and get the Cole Big 12 Player of the Year. Big out.
Yeah, both teams having their respective conference Player of the Years, and they're 3-hole in the lineup.
Yep.
And in the 4-hole, Cameron Warren stepping up to the plate. You mentioned tons of power in this guy's bat. Along with those 17 home runs on the year, 16 doubles, 2 triples as well. And on top of it all, he walks more than he strikes out. So a good eye at the plate. Not going to get him to chase. You have to attack him to get him out. That first pitch fastball does just that. It's 0-1.
Yeah, again, for the second straight at bat, the Wolverines are playing that pull shift. You got, Cale Thomas playing a couple steps left of second base. And we were talking about it earlier, Warren, a 22nd round draft pick. For a guy who's been hitting as well as him, I'm surprised not to see him go higher.
0-1 pitch misses down and away, and now it is 2-0, or rather 1-1, sorry.
Yep. But yeah, Cameron Warren, a guy 354 on the season, 17 home runs, 76 RBIs. He's having a better year than the 8th overall pick, Josh Young. To see him go in the 22nd pick, there might be a concern in his deficiency in his defense, but this is definitely a guy who's been very efficient at the college level.
1-1 pitch missed low, and now it is 2-1 on Warren. As you mentioned, he doesn't seem to be the fleetest of foot over that first base. He doesn't necessarily have huge range and looks a little clunky playing first base. That might be the concern of just positional concerns as the 2-1 pitch misses low, and now it is 3-1 on Warren. But yeah, certainly a great eye. Walks more than he strikes out. Has tons of power in the bat. Hits for average as well. I mean, neither of us are professional scouts, but I feel like there might be something that people are missing there.
That's what I think. You might as well take a flyer on a guy who's hitting 354 with 76 RBIs. You could take him I take him in the 7th, 8th round because he's got potential with the bat.
He chops the 3-1 pitch over towards shortstop. Jack Blomgren makes the play on a couple of hops and throws to first for out number 3 here in the 3rd inning. So Texas Tech gets on the board with a big 2-run home run from Brian Klein to cut the Michigan lead in half. We'll head to the 4th inning. The score, Michigan 4, Texas Tech 2. You're listening to the official student radio broadcaster, Michigan Baseball, here on WCBN Sports, and I will be stepping away for a few innings here to bring in our own Daniel Thompson to join Andy Laidlaw in the middle of this ballgame.
Yeah, an absolute great job there by Carl Kaufman, getting the two best hitters on this Texas Tech Red Raider lineup, both Cameron Warren and Josh Young, out after that big 2-run home run. So Texas Tech does some damage, make this game a little more competitive, sitting at 4-2 now, but the Wolverines still got to put some runs on the board because this game is far from over.
Yep, hello everybody. Daniel Thompson here, subbing in for Austin Falco as he'll go join Jeremy Parks as our alumni members here on this CWS trip, representing the alumni of Michigan and WCBN. I mean, their careers aren't done quite yet.
Yeah. What a fantastic cap off for Austin Falco, a guy who has dedicated so much time to this Michigan baseball program. Has done a lot of work here for WCBN, and to end his tenure here at Michigan, gets to come to Omaha for the College World Series.
Yep, what a retirement party.
Yeah, seriously. You can't ask for anything better.
Yeah, JP has been really the softball guy for about the past 3 years, much like Falco has been the baseball guy. JP, unfortunately, the Michigan softball team ended in the Ann Arbor Regional. That season ended thanks to a phenomenal otherworldly performance from James Madison pitcher Megan Good, holding the Wolverines to 1 run across 3 games in that regional. I mean, what a performance. But the Michigan baseball team keeping Austin Falco's WCBN career alive. JP, he has to head back to Michigan at the beginning of this week, so he might be around for the losers bracket game should things not go well here for Michigan down the stretch. But Austin Falco, he should be around for as long as this team is in it, and they're off to a good start. As you kind of were mentioning right before I came in here, this is not going to be the Los Angeles Super Regional. This is going to be a lot more higher scoring. Texas Tech, a really, really solid offensive team. I mean, no one has the pitching UCLA does. So this is, 4-2 was the final of Michigan's Game 3 victory over UCLA to get to the College World Series. I would be stunned if that's the final score in this one. Absolutely. As Jack Blomgren comes up to bat, as Connor Queen gets him swinging for the first pitch while he's in this game. Connor Queen now coming in, the right-handed pitcher with a 1.2 ERA on the season. Definitely their top arm in the bullpen for these Red Raiders.
Yeah, Connor Queen, a guy making his second appearance here in the NCAA tournament. He's had 1 appearance, he's had 1 inning, and he gave up a run, staying at a 9 ERA right now. So coming here for second inning on the season, coming here in early relief here as Micah Dallas did not exactly have the performance he wanted.
Yep, as second pitch, Jack Blomgren gets a piece of that one, but sends it foul well into the maybe 10th row along the first base foul line. So 0-2 count here for Blomgren, getting behind in this one. We'll see what Queen has for him. And that one is just under the knees, and Blomgren wisely stares at that one for a 1-2 count. Blomgren getting on base in his first appearance through a walk.
Yeah, great job there by Connor Queen. He delivered two fantastic pitches to get to 0-2. Then he delivers a perfect fastball, low and away. Not exactly great pitch to hit, but something very tempting that Blomgren laid off.
And gets Blomgren swinging on that one. Blomgren was going for the fences here, unable to make contact, and Queen retires 1. Good start for Connor Queen, who I really don't think we're going to be seeing. That chance he's going to go the distance, I'd have to say.
Yeah, to round up Dallas's day, he goes 3 innings with 4 runs. 3 of those runs earned, 6 hits, 1 walk through 61 pitches. As the same way against Oklahoma State in his Super Regional, we saw his velocity drop once he got to the 55-50 pitch mark, and his day is now over. Fortunately for him, he only threw 60 pitches, so he could be available within the next couple of days here for the Red Raiders pitching staff.
Yep, and going into the bullpen this early is going to come back and hurt the Red Raiders at some point in this tournament.
Yep, and that's a great point, and it's definitely one of the strengths of the Red Raiders ball club here. They have one of the best bullpens in the country, if not the best bullpen in the country. Several guys drafted this year out of that bullpen, so it's something they can afford to happen.
And Queen, who is off to a great start, ends up beaming Joe Donovan, who struck out in his first appearance, and that will put 1 on. So Connor Queen looking pretty good to start then.
Just one of those pitches, threw a high-end fastball, slid away from a little bit. Donovan definitely leaned into it a little bit, and Joey Donovan gets on first base here with 1 out. And Akil Thomas, a guy who had that fantastic fantastic at-bat that ended up with a strikeout. He had a lot of foul balls that resulted in that strikeout. But definitely the Wolverines here got another opportunity to put another run on the board.
Yep, and Akeo Thomas, who walked to get on base and
Yep.
could have been part of that run party there in the third inning. And, oh, that one is low. And Donovan could have had a chance to go after that one. He's not a huge base stealer by any means, so maybe not expecting to go for that one. But he could have maybe gotten a head start there, as it's a 1-0 count for Akeo Thomas.
Yeah, correction. Thomas in the third inning did deliver that big RBI single that knocked in a huge run for the Wolverines. And again, Fulford there on that low pitch from Queen. Got a great block, scooped over there, kept the ball in front of him, keeping Donovan there at first base.
So Thomas now with the 1-0 lead in this count. And Queen's pitch is inside for a second ball, 2-0 count for Akeo Thomas. And you don't really want to see your reliever coming in the fourth inning and already kind of start to lose his
absolutely.
control this early.
He had that fantastic first at-bat there against Blommy, and then he hit Donovan, and he's already starting to lose his control here. That 2-0 count, a couple high-end fastballs he's let slip away from him a little bit. That one almost hit Thomas as well, putting runners on first and second. You don't want to have runners in scoring position against Jordan Wogu, guy on deck. So Queen's got to figure it out here.
And gets back to business there with a strike, a little bit inside, and gets Thomas looking. So Queen just kind of, finding his way back into this one. You mentioned it's a small sample size on the season. His ERA has already dipped to 1.17 with the 1 out recorded.
Yeah, Connor Queen has kind of got this little mini Noah Syndergaard look to him with that long blonde hair, the mini Thor with the high stirrups. I'm digging the look, and he's definitely pumping some heat there, sitting around 92, 93, 94.
And Texas Tech has been very eager to try to catch Michigan's base runners leading off. As an unsuccessful pitch out there for Joe Donovan. I mean, of course, it's one of Eric Bakic's hallmark strategies.
Absolutely.
To be very aggressive with the base running.
Yeah, as Falco and I were talking about, that's definitely Bakic's thing. He wants to get the pitchers off focus, have to focus on the runners, not necessarily on the batters, keeping them always worried, and that's been their thing, and it's worked so far well for them today.
And another low one there to Akeo Thomas, who now has a hitter's count 3-1. And Akeo Thomas definitely a guy who, if you're pitching low to him, you're going to be pitching low to just about anyone else.
Yeah, exactly. This is a guy who's still sitting at 266 on the season. But Akeo Thomas, a guy when Jordan Brewer was out during that regional, early on in that regional in the Big Ten tournament, Coach Bakich put Akeo Thomas in the 3 spot. So Bakich has a lot of trust in this guy. Thomas has delivered often.
And he is the author of that 2-run RBI that put Michigan into the College World Series as another one, another Connor Queen pitch. Akeo Thomas chooses not to swing. That's a strike looking for Akeo Thomas. 3-2 count now.
Yeah, an absolutely filthy breaking ball there from Connor Queen. Had Thomas kind of swinging away from it. It looked like a breaking ball was going right at Thomas's head and swung right down into the middle of that strike zone. Great pitcher by Connie Queen. Definitely had Thomas thinking.
So full count now for Thomas with the runner on first, 1 out. And he makes contact, driving that back to behind home plate. And the fans will run for that one. Couldn't quite catch who wound up with that ball, but Thomas fouling off a full count, that's now up to pitch number 12 for Connor Queen, and we really don't have a great sample size to know how long he's going to stay in this one.
Yeah, I mean, obviously they bring him in the 4th inning. I expect him that they're going to hopefully get 2 or 3 innings out of him.
Yep.
But on this situation, 32nd, 1 out. Eric Bakich loves to send his guys on a full count. We're at the runner on first base, so Donovan went last pitch. I expect him to go this pitch as well.
Yep, Donovan crawls 1 step closer towards second base right now. About a 5-foot lead, and he's going towards second. That's a low pitch, does not matter, as Akeo Thomas is walked, and Joe Donovan will not get a steal for this at bat, but he'll take it. 2 on, 1 out for the most dangerous leadoff hitter in the Big Ten. The scariest, by his own words, Jordan Wogu. We'll see. There's a lot of dangerous leadoff hitters here in Omaha, but Jordan Wogu, I think he can make his claim. He's as good as any of the leadoff batters here.
There's not many leadoff hitters at any level who can bat .329 but also deliver 12 home runs on a season, especially in college Division I baseball. Jordan Wogu, a guy who Falcon and I were talking about, has a little bit of an inside-outside swing. If he can fix that swing, if he can really develop that kind of hips through, hands through at the same time type of swing, this guy could be one of the best hitters in all of baseball and could turn himself into a legitimate draft prospect. He's got so much power, and there's still a lot of quirks in that swing. If he can fix it, I'm not saying he has a lot to fix. He is a great hitter, and he's been very, very productive for the Wolverines. But they could always fix something, and there's still more things to fix in Wogu. If you fix it, this guy could be one of the best hitters in college baseball next year.
Yep, and he is the dictionary definition of a Michigan man. Grew up in Ann Arbor.
Yep.
Both of his parents are doctors in the University of Michigan health system. Went to Pioneer High School, which shares a parking lot with the Big House. A school that Jim Harbaugh briefly attended as well, Pioneer High.
Yep.
Jordan Wogu is well on his way to becoming one of those Ann Arbor legends from Ann Arbor, as well as being a Michigan hero. And, of course, 3 weeks ago in Omaha, with runners on the corners, down 1 run and 2 outs in the bottom of the ninth against Illinois, Michigan would not be here today if he did not hit that 2-run double, kept Michigan alive, and earned another quality win against a tournament team in Illinois.
Absolutely. Like you said, without that big 2-out double, Wolverines probably don't even make the tournament.
Nope.
So Jordan Wogu is a guy who's been fantastic. He's a clutch hitter. He's got another opportunity to get another base hit clutch opportunity at first and second, 1 out.
Yep, without that walk-off double, that's 3 less wins on Michigan's resume and 2 less wins against tourney teams. Michigan being in the last 4 teams, and that certainly helped them get in. First pitch finally to Wogu is a strike.
Looked like maybe a little bit inside. I don't think Wogu liked that pitch, but Connor Queen, again, delivering the 92-mile-per-hour fastball. Had to have been on that low inside corner. So if Connor can continue to hit those, those inside-outside corners, he can be effective here. It's a good thing to see for Texas Tech after those 2 rough at-bats.
Yep, so far that's been his most impressive stuff, especially sliding in on those right-handed hitters. Been pretty difficult to hit and got a lot of guys looking when they thought they might have a ball coming up. 0-1 count for Jordan Wogu, who checks his swing. Ump checks with the third base ump, and they're going to keep that a ball. So 1-1 count for the scariest leadoff hitter in the Big Ten, but the only Big Ten team even playing right now. So is he the scariest in Omaha? We think there's a legitimate case.
I think he's the scariest in all of college baseball. Any team in the tournament or not in the tournament. Like I said, if you're batting 329 and hitting 12 home runs in Division I baseball with 13 doubles, this guy has a great case to be one of the best leadoff hitters in baseball.
Gets a piece of that one before sending it back to the backstop in the backfield. So 1-2 count now for Jordan Wogu, who is 1 for 2 on the day, single on his first at bat, and then got out, and then 4-6-3 double play. That was really put one more run on the. If he just gone down swinging or something, could have put one more run on the board for the Wolverines. But
that was the one Rick Falcon and I were talking about earlier. He got that low and inside pitch, and again he had that hit flying through, the hands coming through late, inside-outside swinging that got him into that double play. Typically, that's a pitch, and if you're a great pull hitter, you can put over that left field bleachers, and Wogu ended up doubling out.
And a double play very much in play right now as Wogu swings for that one, can't get a piece of it, and that's 2 out. So not a great start here for Michigan's leadoff hitter as Jesse Franklin comes up to the plate with 2 out, who's been in a bit of a slump lately as his batting average has fallen back down to earth to 253 recently, but one of the best eyes here in Omaha. He led the Big Ten in walks in the regular season. So and that's how he got on base and got his run earlier in this game.
Absolutely, and Jimmy Kerr is a guy who, for me, is not typically a number 2 hitter. His strikeout numbers are pretty high, but like you just said, he has a fantastic eye. He saw a lot of those pitches from Micah Dallas, that great breaking ball, that great changeup that started in the zone, ended out in the zone, and Franklin watched all of them, had great at-bats, and if he can do it again here and get bases loaded Jordan Brewer, that'd be huge for the Wolverines.
And maybe only a 253 hitter, but he has 12 home runs on the season. When he gets hits, he makes them count.
Yeah, absolutely. 13 doubles on the season, a great base stealer, 4 stolen bases on 5 attempts. So this guy is, he's got a lot for the Wolverines, and he had that one game at the end of the regional championship against Creighton where he went 5 for 6, and I believe he drove in 4 RBI. So this is a guy really any day can make someone pay.
Yep, and he dribbles that one along the first base line, and that is going to be an easy out there for Warren of the Texas Tech Red Raiders. So Connor Queen gets out of that jam. Didn't get himself into too much trouble, but had 2 nasty at-bats there where he put runners on. Didn't surrender a single hit, though, as Connor Queen should be back next inning. We'll see if he settles in. So it's going to be now Michigan back fielding in the bottom of the 4th. Up 4-2 right now. They did surrender that 2-run home run, but they've won or tied every inning so far, going up 1-0 through 1, scoreless for both teams in the second. And then they put up 3 to slightly outmatch Texas Tech's 2 in the 3rd inning. So far, so good. Michigan could be a bit more comfortable had they not surrendered that 2-run homer, but can't be mad at the third inning that they still came out on top of.
Absolutely, and Carl Kaufman did an absolute excellent job after he surrendered that 2-run home run to get out probably the 2 best hitters in all of the Big 12, and Young and Warren got out of those 2 hitters. Now he's got Masters leading off to start off the top of the bottom of the 4th, And Kaufman, besides that 2-run home run, has been dealing all day. He's been throwing great. He's had great command in his fastball. His breaking ball's been working well. He's sitting at 53 pitches now. But like I said earlier, this is a guy who's gone 110 pitches deep, 115 pitches deep. He can still go in the 7th and 8th inning knowing he's going to give up 90, 95 pitches.
And with the fearsome batting that Texas Tech has, I mean, Michigan's going to want to go as deep as they can
Absolutely.
with Carl Kaufman in this game and try to keep it as easy as possible for their closers. With 53 through 3, he's probably not going to have a complete game in him. Hasn't had a complete game in his career, actually. Was 1 out away from doing so in the first game of the Los Angeles Regional. But then Jeff Criswell took over. And given this, the format of the College World Series, I don't know if that's really in play to have Jeff Criswell come in and close this game.
It's actually fortunate on, I think, all starting pitching staff. There's a day off in between each game.
That's true.
So Michigan doesn't play until Monday. And we saw Michigan against UCLA in Game 1 put Criswell out of the pen to finish off that Game 1. And he came back and pitched the next day, that Saturday. So I would not doubt if you see Criswell come in, or maybe even Tommy Henry come in their 8th or 9th inning, because they got a day off in between, and Tommy Henry wouldn't pitch for another 3 or 4 days.
Kaufman's first pitch is right down the middle for a strike, as Cody Masters goes down looking on that one. So 0-1 count here for Kaufman, getting ahead in this one. That is, as we discussed, his 53rd pitch right there, I believe that was. Contact on this one from, although it's right to Blomgren, gets it to Kerr in time for the first out, and that'll help Kaufman stay in this game. A 2-pitch at-bat as he retires Cody Masters, a 303 hitter. Now the last above 300 hitter in this Texas Tech lineup, Drew Baker batting 326 on the year, and then you've got the only 3 guys in the lineup batting sub 300 to retire in a row. So
yeah, that was fortunately right into the Wolverines pole shift there. Jack Blomgren playing a couple steps to the right of second base, right to Blomgren, collected himself and got a big out there at first base. And again, Carl Kaufman, like you said, 2 pitches. That's a great start here in the bottom of the 4th.
Yep, as Drew Baker pops one up, and Jimmy Kerr has all day to collect that one, and that's a 1-pitch at bat.
Yeah.
We're looking at a very quick inning here for Carl Kaufman.
Yeah, 3 pitches through 2 hitters. Fantastic. He's got here coming up to the 8th hitter, 7th hitter, Wilson. Yeah, if you can go 1, 2, 3 here, start off the 5th inning with the 8-9 leadoff hitter, that's great position here for Carl Kaufman.
Yep, and he's got the 243 hitter, the weakest in this Texas Tech lineup, and no shame in being the weakest batter in this lineup. Christopher Wilson, the sophomore right-hander, here now for Carl Kaufman, only up to 56 pitches so far after the first 2 batters, and that one is right down the middle for another strike. He is only throwing strikes or balls that resulted in an out right now. No balls at all in this inning.
Incredible. Yeah, absolutely incredible. He's a guy who loves to get ahead of the count. Right there, delivers a fastball low and away, and now he's got himself in good position where he can deliver strikes.
And Jesse Franklin running for that one in the outfield, and he gets there. That's a 5-pitch inning for Carl Kaufman, and Jesse Franklin is the slowest man in that outfield, which is not much of an
Yeah, it is weird to see other center fielder to be the slowest guy, but like you said, that's not much of an insult, giving Jordan Brewer and Christian Bullock speed there on the corner outfielders. But man, how huge is that for Carl Kaufman, a guy who surrendered a lot of pitches last inning, to come out with a 5-pitch inning? Fantastic for the Wolverines. That's everything you can ask for if you're head coach Eric Bakich.
Yep, that's a really quick inning, and that's a great job there for the Wolverines to now have Jordan Brewer leading off in this one. But just going back to the outfield situation here, I mean, this is not a home run hitter's park because it's just so much deeper than almost any college baseball park. It goes to 408 feet at its deepest point, 335 in the corners. But and that makes fielding so much more important for the outfielders. They have a lot more ground to cover than usual. Michigan has 2 of the fastest left and right fielders. I don't know enough about all the teams here to say that with 100% confidence, but probably the fastest left and right fielders out of any. The center fielder usually one of your faster outfielders. Probably the fastest outfield here in Omaha.
And as you were talking about how deep this park is and how it really plays in the hands of the Wolverines very well, you know, you hear head coach Eric Bakich, and always talk about his own player, but this is a guy who's seen a lot of baseball talent. He's very confident to say that Jordan Brewer is the most athletic person he has ever played in this program. He's the most athletic baseball player he's ever seen. So this guy is fantastic, and he's huge there. Like you're talking about, 408 in deep center, 335 down the corners, but that 375 in both left center and right center is fairly deep. And Jordan Brewer's got that fantastic speed to make up any gap shot. And you really don't have to see Michigan play no doubles depth a lot. They seem to do it a lot, but they don't have to because, like you said, Christian Bullock, great speed in left field. Jesse Franklin, good speed in center. And Jordan Brewer with great speed in right field.
Yep, and that's something you might have heard ad nauseum in the regional and super regional broadcast on ESPN, that Jordan Brewer, such a phenomenal athlete, got a scholarship offer from Jim Harbaugh. Out of St. Joseph, Michigan. Could have been a great wide receiver, too, for the Wolverines. Maybe could have been a two-sport athlete, but had shoulder injuries that kept him out of football.
Yeah, and Jordan Brewer, guy, we're talking about his speed, 24 stolen bases on the season.
And the first pitch from Queen is low, so Brewer gets ahead in this one, 1-0. Brewer had the sac fly RBI to bring home Wogu to start the scoring in this one.
Yeah, and this is definitely a guy you don't want to put on to start off the inning. He can make it pay.
And the top of Brewer's bat just barely grazes that one, sending it way back toward the crowd for a 1-1 count following that Jordan Brewer foul ball.
Yep, Jordan Brewer, a guy who sort of struggled, he did struggle in the Super Regional in UCLA, a guy who has had that turf toe issue. He hasn't been able to be at full health. Boy, when he's at full health and he's hitting his best capability, this is a guy that can do a lot. So if he can continue to improve and get back to a traditional form, that's huge for the Michigan Wolverines lineup.
That one is inside, so Brewer now ahead 2-1 in this count. Seeing if he can get on base for the second time today. Had a single to be a part of that two-out rally back in the third inning. And Brewer gets a piece of that one. That one's going deep toward the warning track, but the Texas Tech right fielder, looks like Tanner Otremba, is able to get under that one at the warning track. That one is gone at the Fish back in Ann Arbor, but that's part of it playing here in Omaha, a much deeper ballpark. And you know that you can say that many times throughout this game, where a player might have been gone at their home park. That one, getting the right fielder Otremba to chase it to the warning track. However, that will go down as an out nonetheless. One down for Connor Queen, who has not surrendered a single hit so far.
Yeah, great job there by Tanner Otremba to track down that ball in the gap. If that lands behind Otremba, you very easily can see Jordan Brewer on third base in that last at-bat. So great job tracking that ball down, getting a huge leadoff out there for the Red Raiders.
First pitch is outside as the left-handed Jimmy Kerr is up 1-0 in this count, and Queen keeps on. His balls almost always break to the right there.
He's got that two-seam action that tails away from the left-handed hitter, so that's a huge dividends against his left-handed hitter. Like I said, against Jimmy Kerr, he can throw that fastball tail away and low and outside corner.
So, but 2-0 right now is it's two balls going to the outside for Jimmy Kerr.
Yeah, and this is one guy you do not want to fall behind. We were talking about Jimmy Kerr's power earlier. He was the Corvallis Regional Player of the Year, player of the tournament, had 12 home runs, had 5 home runs in that tournament. This is a guy you don't want to fall behind. If you do, Jimmy Kerr can make it pay.
And he's up 3-0 right now as that one is high. So Jimmy Kerr, the hero of the third inning, getting that triple, batting in 2 and then scoring himself moments later. Up 3-0. He poured out the dirt here when all 8 team captains come out and pour dirt from their home parks.
And we could talk about that in between innings.
And 4-0 as that one's up at eye level for Jimmy Kerr. Rough at bat right there for Connor Queen.
You know, we're going to talk about it now, Daniel, because this is something I'm very heated about. We're the Wolverines. We got a turf field in Ann Arbor. He brings out dirt. Where did that dirt come from? We got a turf field. See, I thought that he really should have brought artificial snow and really dug into this Michigan narrative that we deal with in North and just throw on that artificial snow. So
we the North.
Yeah, we the North. We got that snow. It doesn't matter. We're still here in Omaha. But you know what? That was a pretty cool opening ceremony. That whole thing, throwing the dirt out there behind home plate and seeing all those teams walk out. They had the big parade here outside of TD Ameritrade. Such an awesome scene here in Omaha. And, yeah, it's a pleasure for all these Michigan Wolverines players to be here.
Blake Nelson now, that one is just inside for a strike. As Connor Queen really, being a right-handed pitcher, seems to prefer these right-handed batters almost. More success against them, if anything. Still hasn't given up a hit, though, but keeps putting men on base.
Yeah, he still has that trouble. He's throwing a lot. That two-seam fastball seems to be breaking away just a little bit. He's losing control of it. But yeah, he hasn't surrendered any hard hit balls. You're not seeing the guys square. Jordan Brewer did square up one, but it led to an out. But he's done a great job coming out of the bullpen in a tough situation where he's got coming in long relief.
And that one is a little bit low. They're going to call that a ball, so 1-1 count here as Jimmy Kerr was almost ready to take off for second on this one.
And that's one of the things that Eric Bakich loves to call. You see that play sheet that they always turn on right on their waistband. It's got all the play scenarios they like to run, and you like to see that fake steal happen a lot. Jimmy Kerr has done it a lot. Blake Nelson did it about 4 times when Michael Dallas was pitching over. He did that fake steal attempt, and it's one of the things Wolverines love to do.
And that's a strike there for Blake Nelson. He tried to get a piece of that one. 1-2 count now. Blake Nelson has been kind of fearless, doesn't care about these deep outfields, as he's been really swinging for the fences every time he's up to bat, I believe. Has one single that drove in Jimmy Kerr for an RBI in the third inning.
And he had the absolute shot to the warning track in left field that was caught. And that's like you said, that's 2 at-bats where he's really put a lot of power behind that swing and has made great contact.
Down 1-2 in this one right now for Connor Queen with 1 out. Jimmy Kerr on first base. That one is low, and it will be a 2-2 count now for the Michigan senior third baseman.
Yep, if you hear Blake Nelson, you saw a fastball away, you saw a fastball in. Connor George has been delivering mostly fastballs, sitting around 92, 93. If I'm here, I'm sitting fastball. I'm continuing to sit fastball because they keep delivering it. If he gives you a fastball, sit fast, adjust curve, and try to knock it out of the park like he's been doing today.
And they attempt to pick off Jimmy Kerr right there, and Texas Tech has been very concerned about that Eric Bakich base running style.
And especially here with 1 out, and you got a great contact hitter in Blake Nelson, 300 on the season, has a 399 slugging percentage, 400 on base percentage. So this is a guy who can do a lot of damage. Jimmy Kerr, 5 stolen base on the season. If you can get him to second, great opportunity for the Wolverines to drive home another run.
Yep, with 1 out still in this 5th inning, and that one is solid contact for Blake Nelson. That should bring Kerr to second and Blake Nelson to first, as that one takes 1 hop toward the center fielder, Dylan Nursey. Quite a different, interesting last name right there. N-E-U-S-E.
Noisy. It sounds like noisy.
Noisy.
Dylan Noisy, a guy who had that big hit in the second inning, or his second at bat. 17 stolen bases on the season. This Texas Tech lineup we were talking about earlier. I mean, both of these teams have some fielding issues to improve on. Both teams committed a lot of errors in both of their super regionals. So far here, we haven't seen many mistakes. Both teams are playing fundamental defense. They're coming in on ground balls. They're keeping balls in the outfield in front of them. And another great example, they have a hard-hit line drive at Blake Nelson. Noisy making a play over there in center field.
So 2 on now with 1 out, and that's the first hit surrendered by Connor Queen, who's up to 31 pitches. He's catching up to Carl Kaufman.
Yeah, that's what happens when you walk hitters. You know, you throw 5 or 6 pitches in that bat that are either balls or getting fouled off, and you tend to rack up those pitching numbers. So, Connor George, guard for Michigan State. I don't think he's on the field right now. Connor Queen, already sitting at 30-plus pitches.
As the first pitch of the at-bat goes right down the middle, and Christian Bullock just stares at it, so he is down 0-1 in this one. 0 for 2 right now. One of only 3 right now Michigan batters not to get a hit so far. Blake Nelson leading the team with 2 hits so far in the day. He's 2 for 3. But Bullock 0 for 2, looking to get involved in this one. He, of course, had the insurance run in the last game of the Los Angeles Regional. Good comeback story for him after the rough way to end the 9th inning for him in Game 2.
Absolutely.
Got that leadoff triple that made it easy for Michigan to bring home that insurance run that really looked like it was going to matter right there with 2 runners in scoring position at the end for UCLA. They did not go down without a fight. That is for sure the #1 overall seed in this field. The reason why Michigan is playing the 8th seeded Texas Tech right now, because they were on UCLA's side of the bracket. As they're taking their time to get back to the second pitch of the at-bat now. Connor Queen about ready to go. Looks back to second base to check Jimmy Kerr, and that one is low for a 1-1 count. And he's got to get back to getting batters out. Can't afford to walk the bases
guys. I think we're starting to see home plate umpire Costello starting to shrink that strike zone. A couple of these pitchers for Queen here have looked pretty darn good, but weren't granted there by home plate umpire Costello. So, you know, Connor Queen staying around the strike zone, and it's been a great job by Bullock here watching pitches.
Yep, getting the 1-1 in this one for a guy who we've seen has a propensity to walk a batter or two. Bullock checks his swing. They're going to say he went for it, so it'll be a 1-2 count there for Bullock.
Yeah, very good call there by third base umpire who definitely went on that swing. We saw Connor Queen deliver that first effective curveball. And it got Bullock swinging there.
Yep, so Bullock now. Queen has almost dropped his ERA 10% already in this game with 4 outs. Down to 110 on the season now. As it's a 1-2 count for Bullock. And he doesn't unsuccessfully checks the swing there, but that pitch is wild. And a little bit of confusion here for the base runners. Are they saying he did, in fact, check his swing? Bullock wants to argue that he swung for it and can advance to first because he struck out.
Nope, so it'd be 1 out, first and second base is occupied. So Bullock would be out because the drop strike is not in effect.
Yep,
but the ball
right.
did roll into the Red Raider dugout. And home plate umpire is going to grant Criswell second and third.
They're walking back to their original bases now. This is going to be a doozy to figure out. I don't know why Kerr and Nelson weren't allowed to advance.
I believe home plate umpire is saying it was a drop dead strike, that the ball may have hit Bullock and he swung. So when a drop dead strike occurs, no runners can advance because it's a drop dead. So it hit him, he swung, so it's a drop dead strike, no runners can advance, and it's still a strike. So Bullock did strike out both. There, Kerr and Nelson could not advance. So a bad break there for the Wolverines, and a good call there by Costello behind the plate.
All right, thanks, Andy, for unpacking all of that for us. That was a doozy right there. So no Wolverines advance. Bullock strikes out. He's 0 for 3 as Blomgren comes up to bat, trying to get a piece of that one, unsuccessfully so. So he's down 0-1 in the count for Michigan's 3-11 seventh batter in the lineup.
Yeah, Blomgren, the guy we were talking about earlier, Falco and I, is a dude that Wolverines love to have. Eric Bakich loves to call his players dudes, and Jack Blomgren is a dude. This guy is a gritty man. He's a great baseball player. He's a great fielder, a very good hitter. He's got a lot of speed, and this is a guy who loves to come up to the plate with runners scoring position, batting 400 with runners scoring position. So Blomgren's a clutch hitter, and he's got another opportunity here to be clutch again.
Yep, that's what it's really all about, how you can perform with runners in scoring position, and that was the difference between Michigan and UCLA in Los Angeles.
Yeah, and that's a great point because we look back on that series, Michigan batted about 280 with runners scoring position. UCLA, I think they were 1 for 27, and it's huge. Being clutch is huge, and Michigan have been clutch so far, and that's what's gotten them here.
Blomgren dribbles that one off the ground and way back into section 210 in the luxury box, is nearly getting to the Michigan Athletic Department box in 211. I believe that's Michigan softball head coach Carol Hutchinson spotting we have. So 0-2 now for Blomgren, who gets behind in this one.
Yeah, it's good you brought that up. It's so awesome to see Coach Hutch, a softball coach, come down. Has been so supportive of Michigan's journey here to Omaha. You know, she had a rough ending to her season, but that does not stop her from supporting Coach Bakich and their journey and Michigan's journey here getting to Omaha. There was rumblings that new head coach of the men's basketball program, Juwan Howard, was trying to get down here. Have not seen him yet. I'm not exactly sure if he's here or not.
Still has at least one more game he can get to.
Yep. And it just says a lot about this Michigan athletic program that a lot of these coaches, they support one another.
So 0-2 count for Blomgren, who knocks that one straight into the home plate, then back up, hits himself in the face before going foul. That was an interesting swing right there. Nonetheless, it'll remain an 0-2 count here as Queen is up now to 38 pitches on the day. But he's got 2 out now with with runners at first and second, but a dangerous hitter with runners on the bases. Blomgren with 1 for 2 today with 1 single and a strike. Really good performance so far from both teams to avoid extra base hits. I think there's just the 1 for each side, both of which were 2 RBI, a 2 RBI triple and a 2 RBI home run.
Yep. And Blomgren, the guy, has been working the count very well, sitting at 0-2 here, fouling off pitches. You know, like I said, he's in the 400 runners in scoring position. He can get another clutch hit here and knock in Kerr at second base, a guy who does have a lot of speed. It's weird to say that your first baseman has a lot of speed, but Jimmy Kerr, without a doubt, does.
Yep, and Blomgren is so good at batting with runners in scoring positions, even threw out his back and still brought in an RBI versus Creighton on Friday in the regionals. That one is low.
And that's another thing. Man, Blomgren is a dude. You saw in Game 3 there at UCLA, he dislocated his pinky, and he goes, Coach Bakich goes, hey, put it back in place. Put it back in place. What a dude. I mean, you don't see many guys. I mean, his finger was the bottom half and top half were pointing in different directions. And he goes, "Coach, just pop it back in place." That's a dude. That was on his glove hand.
Yeah, they sheltered that. They sheltered the ESPN cameras from seeing them pop that back in, because that would have been a bit tough of a scene for the viewers back at home.
Yep.
And it's a 1-2 count now for Blomgren, who, the definition of a dude.
Oh, yeah.
Throws out his back, has to miss, I think, 3 games in a row because of that, and still drives in an RBI minutes after sustaining that injury.
Yeah.
No one on the broadcast thought he could run.
Yeah. And that's one of those guys that these Michigan players just love to be around. He's a leader of this ball club, and, is a guy Backus loves.
Fouls off another one. That was Queen's 40th pitch of the day that he just knocked back there, so that's 1-2 still. I mean, how many fouls has Blomgren had? I think 3 or 4.
I think he's sitting at 3 right now, and that's been kind of the way Michigan's been approaching their 2-strike counts. We saw that at bat where K.O. Thomas, I believe, had 4. He had 4 foul balls, and then I believe Joe Donovan had an at bat where he had 5 or 6 foul balls. This is a situation where these Wolverines are really having great discipline, fouling away 2-strike pitches that are close. They're close. We call the strike. They foul away and stay alive in their at bats.
Yep, definitely putting on a clinic to swing for defense. And
yeah, exactly.
Keep the at bat alive. As this one is solid contact from Blomgren, but it's a bit too deep into right field, right to the right fielder. Didn't have any kind of dip in it. The wind is blowing toward the outfield right now, and that one kind of got under it and drove it right to the right fielder, Tanner Otremba, who started this inning by chasing down Jordan Brewer's shot to the warning track. So Texas Tech avoids the jam. They're the first team to record. No, sorry. They joined Michigan in recording consecutive scoreless innings. Michigan is about to try to do that for the second time today, as they have held Michigan scoreless in the 4th and the 5th. And Tanner Otremba, the man who ended this inning, the man who started this inning with an out, is going to now lead off for the Red Raiders. You really want to retire the first 2 batters here if you're Carl Kaufman. I mean, when do you don't? But if there was ever a time to, it's get the 2 weaker batters out now before you get into the real meat of the Texas Tech lineup.
Yep, absolutely, and that's the one thing we were talking about before the last half inning was, Kaufman did a great job of delivering great strikes in 5. And they've had that 5-pitch inning against the 5, 6, and 7 hitters in Masters, Baker, and Wilson. Yeah, he's got the 8-hitter and 9-hitter, and Otremba and Fulford coming up. Where if you get those 2 outs, you get Noisy up with no runners on, 2 outs, and leadoff hitter. It'd be a huge, huge situation for the Wolverines.
And it feels like that last inning for Kaufman, that 5-pitch inning, was forever ago because, I mean, you can barely remember that inning at all. And then Michigan, despite scoring 0 runs in the past 2 innings, it took forever. We are right now at the 2-hour, 1-minute mark in this game, and we are just halfway through right now, 4.5 innings deep. Yeah, Michigan has really extended those counts versus the Texas Tech pitching staff.
Yeah, and we were talking about Connor Queen. Unfortunately for the Texas Tech Red Raiders, when you bring in that guy in middle relief, you want to see him be effective. You want to see him be efficient and throw a lot of strikes and get out of these innings with a short amount of pitches thrown. And yeah, Connor Queen is sitting at 40 pitches total right now, and that's one thing you obviously don't want if you're the Red Raiders. Like you said, they're gonna have to dig deep into that bullpen, and it's gonna be thin to get through this tough College World Series. We gotta play multiple games in multiple days.
Yep, and Michigan's going to still need a lot from Carl Kaufman. More 5-pitch innings would really go a long way.
Oh, it'd be wonderful. Yeah.
But it's 4 runs is not going to be enough to win this game. I'd be really surprised if. I mean, I don't know how many games Texas Tech has lost or has won, scoring less than 4, lost while only holding their opponent to 4.
Yeah, exactly. Talking about their super regional, all of their games they scored at least 6 runs against a very, very good Oklahoma State team.
First pitch is fouled low and way beyond the third base foul line as it rolls to the far corner of the Texas Tech dugout. Ball boy gets that, and a young fan in the crowd will get to go home with the ball as it's 0-1 right now for Tanner Otremba.
Yeah, we were talking about it last night here at the opening ceremonies. There's a lot of red in the crowd. I don't think all that's Texas Tech. I think there's a lot of Cornhusker fans repping out their state in Omaha.
And Otremba goes down looking on that one. 0-2 count now for Tanner Otremba. And Carl Kaufman is going to throw 3 pitches to the same batter for the first time in about an hour of real time.
Yeah, you're right. And Carl Kaufman's been very efficient. Again, he's not losing much velocity on that fastball. His breaking ball, his slider's been very sharp. This is the Carl Kaufman form we've always been looking at.
And gets Otremba swinging on a impressive curveball there, dipping right before he got to the batter's box.
Yep.
Otremba goes down in 3 pitches, 3 strikes. Another highly efficient at bat there for Carl Kaufman. Hard to call that regression to the mean, even if it took more than half an inning for him.
Yeah, that was you said a great breaking ball. He delivered a fantastic one right there. He had 2 fastballs to start off the at-bat, and he delivered that sharp curveball and got Otremba out. And that's huge for the Wolverines, huge for Carl Kaufman. And again, you can watch that pitch count.
The 9th batter gets a piece of that one. Running to the warning track is Franklin, who cannot get to it. That hits the wall, and it's going to be a double for Braxton Fullard, swinging on the first pitch and making great contact to get a runner in scoring position with 1 out for these Texas Tech Raiders. And barring something crazy, we're going to see the first and second hitters for the Texas Tech Red Raiders in this inning. Dylan Noisy, the leadoff hitter, 307, and then Brian Klein, a 317 batter. But Michigan really wants to get out of that before Josh Young comes up to the plate.
Yep, and Brian Klein, the guy who had that clutch 2 RBI home run. Yeah, it's definitely a guy you don't want to face. And you talked about Young. That's definitely a guy you don't want to face who can do a ton of damage against Kaufman. Yeah, it'd be big here if Kaufman can deliver these next 2 outs.
Brady Klein is 1 for 2 on the day, batting .309 now on the season with that hit earlier in the 3rd inning with a 1-base single. He was the run that scored, and that one, oh, what a move by Akeo Thomas, and that's going to do Carl Kaufman a world of help as he gets to that ball that was going to be a drooper into the outfield. The 5'7" second baseman is able to reach across and get that one for the second out. Keeps the runner, Braxton Fulford, honest, and that's the 5th pitch right there for Carl Kaufman. 3 batters, 2 outs in 5 pitches as he gets consecutive batters to swing. Both of them got okay contact, but
and an absolute great job by Fulford there at second base. He saw him take 2 really hard steps and realized he had a freeze on that line drive. He continues to go. Thomas catches that ball, throws it to Blomgren. That's a double play. And you surrender a runner at second base. Great job by Fulford to freeze and get back to second base, keeping this inning alive for a guy who had that huge 2-run home run.
Yep, the only lefty in the Texas Tech batting order. They do have a switch hitter as well. Checks his swing on the first pitch, and that will be a 1-0 count for Brian Klein, who is 2 for 2 for the day. Most of these Texas Tech batters still held hitless, but Brian Klein, 2 for 2, leading the team with a single and a homer. So this is going to be a big at-bat here for Carl Kaufman, with a runner in scoring position, 2 outs, trying to get out of this inning before the real meat of the Texas Tech lineup comes up to bat. Second one is just outside. They call that a ball, a bit to my surprise, but that's going to be a 2-0 count there for Brian Klein. Definitely don't want to have 2 runners on for Josh Young.
Yeah, absolutely. 'Cause that's a guy that can make you pay, and that's a guy who can turn this game right around and give Texas Tech the lead. So for Kaufman, he's a guy that's been able to work himself out of trouble a lot. He's down 2-0, 3-1 the count. He's been able to groove strikes and hit fastballs in the low outside corner. So again, Carl Kaufman down 2-0, but that's if there's anybody in the country who can make up for it, it's Carl Kaufman.
And gets 1 strike right there, 2-1, as Klein looks at that one. So, yeah, he's already making up for that one.
Did exactly that, man. Down 2-0 on the count and delivered that low and away fastball that painted the corner. That's exactly what you got to do if you're down on the count. Throw strikes, but don't give him too great of strikes. He throws that low and away fastball. That was perfect.
As the sun begins to come out here, it was stuck behind some clouds right now. I wonder if that'll change the batter's vision at all here. So 2-1 here for Carl Kaufman with 2 out, man on second. And Klein tried to get a whiff of that one, ends up swinging and missing. 2-2 count as Brian Klein was eager for his second home run of the day. That one was low, much like the first ball that he sent to the outfield.
Yeah, again, right there, 2-1 count, delivers a beautiful, beautiful off-speed pitch, gets Klein on his front foot, swinging and missing. Great job by Carl Kaufman, down 2-0 in the count to get back into this at-bat. Here, sitting at 2-2.
1 pitch away from getting out of this inning and retiring 6 of 7 consecutive batters. Klein gets a piece of this one, but it's right to Jesse Franklin, who lines him. Young, Cameron Warren, and Cody Masters, all 300 hitters, the first 2 being 342 and 354 respectively, due up to bat in the bottom of the 6th, but we'll see if Michigan can add on some insurance runs before then. Jordan Wogu is due up to bat in this one, as well as Joe Donovan and Akeo Thomas before him.
Yep, great job by Carl Kaufman there. Yep, he gave up that double, but he collected himself. He got those 2 outs, 2 huge outs. He delivered fastballs low and in, breaking balls low and away, switch eye levels, went inside, outside, and did a fantastic job like he's been doing all years, like he's been doing all tournament to get out of a tough situation. Only sitting at 58 pitches, 68 pitches. This is a guy who goes 105, 110 deep. You still got at least 2 or 3 really good innings left in Kaufman.
Yeah, he's behind halfway, and I know we said it 2 innings ago that we didn't think he could go the complete game, but now that's a possibility again.
It is.
With 2 single-digit innings right there in pitches.
Very much so. His first 2 innings were his 2 largest innings in terms of pitching the most, the most pitches, delivering the most pitches in 2 innings. He threw 30 pitches in those first 2 innings. And, he's sitting at 68, so you assume he's going to throw, 30 more pitches in the next 2 innings. He'll be sitting at, 88 or 98, and that puts himself in great position to maybe close out the rest of this game himself.
Absolutely. He's put himself in good position, and now Connor Queen has left the mound for the Red Raiders, only giving up 1 run, but put a lot of men on base through walks and hitting Joe Donovan, who is due up to lead off for the Wolverines. So, looks like that will be Josh McMillan, the right-handed pitcher of who also plays some outfield according to our stat sheets here. He's 3 and 3 on the season, 43 and 2/3 innings pitched with a 3.3 ERA, and not a great strikeout to walk ratio, 61 to 30 on the season.
Yep, John McMillan, a guy who was selected by my Detroit Tigers in the 11th round. This is definitely one of those pieces that puts together the great bullpen here for the Texas Tech Red Raiders throughout the postseason so far. It's been a lot better than 2.35 ERA. He's got 3 appearances. He's 1-0 throughout the postseason. This is a guy who's done a lot of damage out of the bullpen, and this is definitely one of those pieces that can get Texas Tech staying in the same situation, keeping this 4-2 lead, maybe going to the 7th, maybe 8th, maybe even 9th inning, as McMillan is a solid piece in this bullpen. And
we'll see if he gets to pitch against Jimmy Kerr, his new teammate. 33rd round selection of the Detroit Tigers.
Yep. And, it's one of these guys. McMillan is a big, tall righty. He's got a lot of power. He can hit upwards of 95 miles per hour with his fastball. This guy's very, very good. And, maybe a solid pick for the Detroit Tigers, turn himself into a very, very good prospect.
And the Tigers, they sure could use good prospects. They played Thursday night here in Omaha.
Yeah. Dan, the Tigers use a lot. There's a lot. They could use everything.
And that first pitch here from McMillan is a low strike. 0-1 count here for Joe Donovan, who has struck out and was hit by a pitch, actually. Incorrectly reported here on the big screen in Omaha. Joe Donovan getting onto base with a hit pitch. An easy out for Tranter Otremba, who has recorded 3 of the previous 4 Texas Tech outs. So the right fielder putting in his minutes right now. As we have a cool behind home plate ump helmet cam right there, as we saw Joe Donovan get a piece of that one. If he's going to get a hit, it's almost always going to go deep for Joe Donovan.
Yeah, and that's exactly what you ordered up on the bullpen for Texas Tech. John McMillan coming in, throwing 2 pitches, and already delivering an out here for Texas Tech. This guy can go 2 or 3 innings for the Texas Tech Red Raiders. It'd be huge, huge for them both in this game and throughout the rest of this tournament.
Throws his first ball of the day to Akeo Thomas, as that one is inside. 1-0 count for the Michigan senior, who has been on base twice today, 1 for 1 with a single and was walked by Connor Queen. That is a strike, so 1-1 count now for Akeo Thomas.
Again, McMillan delivering that high-velocity fastball, sitting at 95. He painted the corners beautifully on that low inside corner. This is a guy that, like I keep saying, he can go 2 or 3 innings deep and be huge for the Red Raiders.
And that one is just going to paint the low inside corner for a 1-2 count now for Akeo Thomas, getting behind in this one. Has yet to record an out, so we'll see what he can do here.
Yep, right there, McMillan took a little off that fastball, delivered a 2-seam fastball, had some little cut action on it, delivered at 91 miles per hour, and got Thomas looking. 2 fastballs in a row, throw another fastball here, and then 1-2 come over the curveball.
And that one bounces about 2 feet before home plate. No one's going to bite on that one. Nope. 2-2 count now for Akeo Thomas.
Yeah, if there's any time in the count where you can deliver a pitch like that, it's definitely 0-2. Unfortunately, when you're up 0-2 in the count, you like to deliver a setup pitch. And that's not really going to set much up there, breaking the ball that bounced 2 feet in front of the plate.
Nope, not much you can do to build off that one.
Exactly.
McMillan's fifth pitch there is low and contact made by Akeo Thomas, driven into the fans behind home plate. The fan, I couldn't catch what happened. That's right beneath us, but there was some strong reaction from the fans. Maybe a kid caught that one. I don't know.
We've had a couple balls up here that are pretty close to us. I'm really seeing Falco over there again. I want to see him dive over that railing and go get a ball. He's been asking for one. He's got to earn it.
We have little competition up here. As Akeo Thomas gets a piece of that one, and Otremba doing a lot of work, walks back toward the warning track, steps a couple feet forward before getting that one. So Tanner Otremba now has recorded 4 of the last 5 Texas Tech outs. Something about right field.
Yeah.
Right there, just a vacuum sucking up all the balls right there. And a lot of these have gone pretty deep, but none enough to really seriously test the home runs, except for maybe Jordan Brewer's leadoff one from last inning here in TD Ameritrade Park. That one got to the warning track.
Again, the Wolverines doing a very good job of taking the ball the other way. We've seen both Queen and now McMillan throw fastballs low and away, and the Wolverines do a great job of taking it the other way.
Jordan Wogu now 1 for 3 on the day, fouls the first pitch back for an 0-1 count, and he has been just phenomenal for the Wolverines all season long, but not played his best baseball in the month of June, I'd have to say.
And that's what we were talking about. In the Super Regional, really the back end of the Wolverines lineup is the ones who carried them through the regional. If this front of the lineup can kind of step up to the level of the back end of the lineup, this Wolverines team is very dangerous, can do a lot here in the College World Series.
Yep, and so far the front end of the lineup has done the damage today for the Wolverines. Jordan Wogu got the leadoff run, so already has played his part so far today. But
Jimmy Kerr had that big 2-out, 2 RBI double, or RBI triple actually.
Yep, as the second pitch is low, so 1-1 count for Wogu, who barely gets a piece of this one. This should be a routine ground out for the Texas Tech Red Raiders as Wogu is beat to first base, and that will end the 6th inning as Texas Tech now has gone 3 straight scoreless innings thanks to their bullpen. That was one of the talking points before this game. Texas Tech, one of the best bullpens in the country. Their starting pitching is not maybe College World Series headlining material, but their batting is phenomenal. They've been held to only 2 runs so far, but their bullpen holding Michigan to 3 consecutive scoreless
They're
innings.
doing a great job of getting ahead of the count, throwing great pitches, especially McMillan, a guy that we talked about, was an 11th round draft pick for the Detroit Tigers. He's got great stuff. He's got high velocity. He's got a great breaking ball that can get batters out in their front foot and off balance. So when you can do that, you can be efficient with those pitches, you can do a lot of damage. You can keep your pitch count low. That's exactly what McMillan did there. And we were talking about Connor Queen earlier. He lost control a couple times, but ultimately he dug himself out of deep holes and didn't surrender any runs for Texas Tech. So it's been a great job of this great Texas Tech bullpen to keep this lead at 4 runs through the last 3 innings.
And I was about to announce that Ben Kaiser, was heading toward the bullpen. The man who got the save in Game 3 of the Los Angeles Super Regional. Instead, the whole bullpen cleared and just jogged out to the bullpen, touched the College World Series logo, and came back. So maybe some very preliminary action for them warming up, but no action. There is one.
There's someone stretching down there.
Yeah, one guy stretching. That's Tommy Henry, isn't it?
Yeah, it looks like number 47.
Yeah,
Tommy
that is Tommy Henry warming up right there. Now we see Jack Bredesen, who has really not seen much action at all, going there. I'm assuming to catch. So Tommy Henry might be warming up here to prepare for coming.
I mean, throughout the entire bullpen, you always want to keep your guys loose. And we were talking about Tommy Henry. He's not going to have to pitch. If Michigan wins one of these next 2 games, he won't have to pitch until next Wednesday. So that's 5 days off rest. He can go today, and he can wait those 3 days to go on Wednesday. So very much past possibility that Tommy Henry could warm up and maybe come in relief for Carl Kaufman. He maybe 8th or 9th inning. So yeah, he's definitely stretching. It looks like he's sitting back. Nope, he's doing band work. So Tommy Henry, yeah, it looks like he's warming up, stretching. I wouldn't doubt if you see Jeff Quiswell out there. And we were talking about Benjamin Kaiser, who had those 2 clutch innings against UCLA in Game 3. There's a lot of great options for the Wolverines in their bullpen right now. A bullpen that did very, very well, in the last 2 games of that Super Regional against UCLA.
And Carl Kaufman gets Josh Young, the .339 hitter, to swing and a miss for an 0-1 count here. Josh Young held 0 for 2 so far, one of the most dangerous batters in all of baseball.
Yep, Josh Young, like we said today, the co-Big 12 player of the year. He's a number 8 overall selection by the Texas Rangers. Carl Kaufman's done a very good job against him. He's got a fly out to left field, and he's had a ground ball to shortstop, so keeping the stud in check.
And Josh Young nearly decapitates his third base coach right there, swinging one that had to do a bit of a Neo in the Matrix move to move away from that one. 0-2 count now.
It's funny you say that because I did see a third coach kind of like shuddering his pants there a little bit.
I think his life flashed before his eyes for a second.
Especially with a guy like Josh Young coming up who's got all the pop in his bat. Man, I wouldn't want to be a third baseman or a third base coach.
Did not get his best of that one, which is why it flew foul. So that maybe not was as dangerous as a typical Josh Young hit, but he had to dodge that one. 0-2 count now for Young, who wisely does not swing at that one. 1-2 count. Was close, though. Definitely had me waiting for a signal from the ump.
Yep, the Wolverines got a little bit of a shift down here. They're playing that pull shift against Josh Young, who they've been doing all day. Kale Thomas playing 3 steps left off second base from the home plate perspective. And Josh Young has been a pull guy both at bats, left field and shortstop, so it's a good call.
And that one skips, no doubt about that one. That's a ball. As Joe Donovan can't even corral that one. Doesn't really matter, though, with no one on. So 2-2 count.
Josh Young wisely using my favorite bat back in high school, using that Cat 7 Marucci bat, one of the best bats in all of BB Core regulation. They actually, oddly enough, the Cat 8, the newest edition of the Marucci bat, was made illegal. There's not a lot of teams that BB Core can use. So that Cat 7's got a lot of pop in it, and maybe that's why, Young here is such a great hitter.
Great bat analysis there, Andy, but that one is low now, so a full count just like that for Josh Young, as Carl Kaufman is taking way more pitches than he has been lately, at least, with Josh Young, and doing a really good job just fearlessly staring at 3 balls as he ends up getting this count full when he was down 0-2. So we'll see what Kaufman can bring here with a full count. Contact for Young. Blomgren dives, gets that. He's going to have to beat him to first base. Not the best throw, though. It skips, and that will be a hit, or potentially an error. We'll see how that one is ruled.
That one,
I think that's a hit.
Yeah, most definitely that would be called a hit. It was a diving play where Blomgren had to go hand or glove side a couple steps. He dove, corralled himself, and threw it over to first base. Just a little low. Tough pitch, or a tough play for Kerr to pick. Yeah, most definitely will be called a hit, but a great effort there by Blomgren to give himself an opportunity to get Young out at first base. Great play, just unfortunately didn't happen to work there for the Wolverines.
Yep, so Kaufman, who is definitely going to be watching his pitch count, gets up to 0-2 on Young before having to surrender 3 balls in a row and then a base hit, infield single for Josh Young. And now that puts the best batting average for Texas Tech up to the plate. Cameron Warren, who is similarly 0-2 entering this at bat, the senior for the Red Raiders, is 0-2, but he is batting .351 on the season.
Yep. Cameron Warren, again, we talked about earlier, 22nd overall selection or 22nd round selection by the Cincinnati Reds, was also one of the best players in the entire Big 12, again, sitting at a whopping .351 average with more home runs and more RBIs in the 8th overall selection. Josh Young there over at first base. This is a guy who can do a lot of damage.
And he gets up to a 1-0 lead as that one is inside. Goes swinging, though, for this one. Kaufman now evens the count at 1-1, throwing his first strike in 7 pitches. So getting back to business as usual for Kaufman, who just threw his 76th pitch of the day. Only 2 strikeouts so far. He's been getting a lot of soft contact in this one.
And fortunate enough for Kaufman over there, Josh Young, not much of a base stealing threat. He's only had 1 stolen base on the season, so he can really buckle down. He's still got to pay attention to the runner. You can't be too consistent with your looks. But he's a guy you don't have to worry about much.
And that one is low. Easy decision there for Josh Young, Cameron Warren to not chase that one. 2-1 count now for the Red Raiders senior. And if Kaufman can get through this stretch of the lineup, he'll be breathing a lot easier.
Yeah.
But none out right now. Runner on base. 2-1 count. And there is contact there along the third base line. Runners will advance. That was maybe a foul, and that should bring a run home. No, Young is going to hold up, but runners in scoring position with none out. And Carl Kaufman has worked himself into a jam here. Runners on second and third as that one dances along the third base foul line for a double.
Yeah, very, very close. It must have been a couple. Man, looks it definitely was a fair ball. And a tough situation here for Kaufman. Second and third, the 2 best hitters on this Texas Tech lineup. Both deliver second and third, no outs here. Kaufman's got to dig himself out of a big hole here to keep his 4-2 lead.
Yep, heads-up play by Christian Bullock, anticipating the ball to bounce off that the beginning of the stands here and move in toward the infield again. I thought that was going to be a triple with the way that ball took a strange bounce, but Texas Tech looking to at least tie things up here as it's a 2-3 count. We have action in the bullpen.
Yep, it looks like, I believe it's Weisenberger warming up in the bullpen. Another one of those great relievers here for the Wolverines.
Yep, was a 20th round selection.
Yep, and this is a situation for the Wolverines. Kyle Kaufman's been your guy all year. Put himself in a tough scenario here, second or third with less than one out, sitting at 0 outs right now.
Yeah, if anyone can get himself out of it, it's Carl Kaufman, but this is quite the jam he's got himself into. Now, granted, these guys are really great hitters, not so great at base runners, but if one of the next two batters here can drive one to the warning track, that'll score Josh Young for sure. As he is in a bit of trouble right now, we'll see what he can do with 2 on, none out, second and third for Carl Kaufman as Jack Weisenberger warms up. We're not sure when we'll see him. And the first pitch is fouled backward by Cody Masters. So 0-1 count. That's going to be important for Kaufman to stay ahead of these in these counts. Got up 0-2 against Josh Young before throwing 3 consecutive balls.
Yeah, it's going to be critical here for Carl Kaufman to deliver low pitches. You do want to keep the ball in the infield. You don't want to surrender both of these runs. You can throw low pitches, maybe surrender a ground ball. Keep this ball in the infield and not surrender those 2 runs. That'd be huge for Wolverines.
Even surrendering 1 run at this point, I think, would be a victory for
Absolutely.
the Wolverines. With 2 runners in scoring position, that one is inside for a 1-1 count.
Yeah, we were talking about earlier. It's actually not Jack Weisenberger warming up in the bullpen. It is the number 2 on the staff, Jeff Criswell. Criswell is up in that bullpen warming up there, and we're talking about the days off. This is one of the situations. Eric Bakich did it in Game 1 against UCLA, and he may possibly come here in the second, the first game of the College World Series and see Criswell quite again.
And that's going to be a foul ball, so 1-2 now for Cody Masters. And, well, if you lose your first 2 games, you're just out of it. So
yeah, exactly.
No point really preparing, trying to have all 3 pitchers ready in 3 games. If they used all 3 to get out of these first 2 games, that would put them in it. If they win the first 2 games, then they're kind of fine using 3 pitchers and 3 starters in 2 games, because the next game won't be till Friday.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
With 6 days rest, Kaufman should be ready to go again.
And it's one of those situations where, if you lose, you're out. So you got to win. You got to take the trick. You got to win. You got to stay alive. And that's one of those things that Coach Bakich understands. Go with Criswell.
And that one is going to phenomenal play there by Carl Kaufman. That ball dribbled right to him. He stares down Josh Young, dares him to run home, and then ends up getting the man out at first. So great at bat there, pitching wise from Kaufman, and then phenomenal fielding right there from Carl Kaufman. Not always a pitcher's strength. But that one dribbled right to him, and he makes the heads-up, quick-thinking play to stare down Josh Young and then beat Cody Masters to first base for a out now with neither runner advancing.
Very interesting because Josh Young took a couple steps away from his lead, so he was good 6-7 steps off the third base. Kaufman, you could tell, was definitely thinking about firing it over to third base, and I believe they would have had a shot there at third base, but smart move by Kaufman to get the sure out there. It would have been a tough situation to get him out at third. Blake Nelson would have had to lay down a tough tag, and it was a smart move by Kaufman to get the out here.
Drew Baker now up to bat, 324 hitter. That one is in the dirt and covered by Joe Donovan. So a 1-0 count now for Drew Baker, the last really great hitter in this Texas Tech lineup. Then you got a couple of 250-ish hitters that maybe Kaufman can retire to end this inning and potentially get out of this one unharmed. As he's about to throw his 84th pitch here in the bottom of the 6th with 1 out, 2 runners in scoring position. Wolverines lead 4-2. And good contact there, but right to Akeo Thomas, who's going to go for the out. That fielder's choice will bring in 1 and make this a 1-run game with 2 out now. So Michigan can do all right here and escape the scariest part of the Texas Tech lineup with only 1 run surrendered if they can record another out here. But the tying run is at third base. Go-ahead run up to the plate. That's maybe the only time that's been true so far for Texas Tech. I don't think they've had to go-ahead run on base all day except for the very first inning where there were 2 outs and a man on first. I think that was the last time the go-ahead run was up to the plate.
Great at-bat there by Drew Baker. He knew if he made contact away from the corners at third base and first base, he would probably knock in, Josh Young there. So that's a great job there for knocking in that run, making a 1-run game there. Like I said earlier, Texas Tech, they just got to chip away. You chip away, you put yourself in a good position to win this ballgame and come back in this ballgame. Great at-bat there by Drew Baker knocking the run.
And that first pitch is low, but he got the batter to swing, so 0-1 count for Kurt Wilson. Good job by Carl Kaufman, and if he gets through 6 innings, only giving up 3 runs, he's done a phenomenal job against these Red Raiders.
Yeah, it's a good outing against one of the best, probably the second best lineup in all of college baseball, and all of this, especially in this remaining, field here at the College World Series. This is the team that gets a lot of runs, and Carl Kaufman's delivered a good outing.
And Vanderbilt is on the other side of this bracket, so probably the best bats Michigan will face here in Omaha. And if they face Vandy, that's great news for them. They're in the final.
Yep.
Then that one is low, creating a 1-1 count here for Texas Tech. And if Michigan can reach that final, I mean, that's what a performance from them.
Absolutely. And there's a lot of tough teams to go through here. We got Texas Tech, we're talking about. Texas Tech, obviously, team we're playing right now. They're 4-3 lead here in the 6th inning. Well, you got Florida State, and the team last year that should have won the College World Series if an error wasn't committed by whoever Arkansas's first baseman was. They would have won the College World Series, and this is another team in this side of the bracket that, could do a lot of damage, and is probably the favorite to reach a College World Series on the left side of the bracket.
Definitely, as Kurt Wilson fouls his 3rd pitch low, resulting in a 1-2 count now. So a pitcher's count here for Carl Kaufman, as he can maybe escape this really tight jam he got himself into with only surrendering 1 run and maintaining a Wolverine lead. All credit, though, to Texas Tech. They got down 4-0, could have been discouraged, but they kept chipping away.
Yep. And they're putting themselves in great chances here. Even right now, to tie this ball game up, this is going to be a big pitch by Carl Kaufman. Delivered a couple off-speed pitches. I'd like to see him climb the ladder and go high in the fastball.
And that one is low, and it's a called strike. Kurt Wilson goes down looking, and I think that was the right call. It could have gone either way, but...
Fantastic pitcher. Like I said, he's been delivering off-speed pitches. Kaufman comes back and fires a gem right there in the low outside corner, changing speeds, keeping these, Texas Tech Red Raiders off of their balance and their typical schedule. And a great job and a great outing by Carl Kaufman, who that may have been his last outing of the day.
Yep, Andy, we thank you for your time here. As your first game in Omaha is done, there will be at least one more, and in our playbook, if everything goes right, hopefully 5 or 6 more.
Let's hope so.
For you, Andy Laidlaw. But thanks for your time here in Omaha. It's been a great year at WCBN for you. As Austin Falco, Mr. Michigan Baseball, is going to join us right now. Welcome back, Austin. Hope you enjoyed those 3 innings. I mean, didn't necessarily go Michigan's way. Only 1 run put up while you were away.
Yeah, just that 1 run last inning, so not a whole lot of action on. Some long innings, though. It did seem like both pitchers kind of laboring, or both teams have pitchers laboring throughout those couple innings. Ultimately, yeah, not a whole lot of damage done either way.
And great work by Carl Kaufman to escape that jam that he got himself into, but escaped with only 1 out surrendered.
They're honoring the U.S. Navy Air Test and Evaluation Squadron 9 on the field today. So I'm sure we want to see plenty of military appreciation throughout the College World Series. Opening ceremonies yesterday, we had the U.S. Navy paratroopers, or U.S. Air Force paratroopers coming in, dropping in with all the various team flags, the 8 teams that are here at the College World Series in Omaha this week. But back to this ball game, 4-3 Michigan here, headed into the 7th inning of action. Still on the mound for the Texas Tech Red Raiders is John McMillan, who has pitched pretty well since he came in. 1-2-3 inning last inning, facing the 8-9-1 hitters in the Michigan lineup. He gets the heart now with Jesse Franklin, Jordan Brewer, and Jimmy Kerr due up in this top of the 7th inning, looking to maybe get one of those runs back. Michigan hopped out 4-0. Texas Tech has 3 unanswered on the board as of right now.
Yep, Michigan, when they entered this game, I think they knew 4 runs was not going to be enough, but I think 4 runs through 3 innings was definitely the right kind of pace they were looking for. Offense has slowed down to a halt. Only 1 hit, I believe, since that red-hot start. We'll see what they can do here to maybe wake up those bats.
First pitch misses outside to Franklin. The count is 1-0 on the Wolverines center fielder. And yeah, just 1 hit over the last 3 innings for the Wolverines after they put up that 3 spot in the 3rd. That 1 hit belongs to Blake Nelson, who has been swinging a hot bat in this one. Michigan would like to get a couple runners on and get to him here in this 7th inning if they can.
And McMillan has not let anyone on base so far.
Second pitch, that bat misses high and outside for ball 2. It is now 2-0 on Franklin. Yeah, you mentioned 1-2-3 inning, couple of flyouts to right field and a ground out back in the 6th.
And it looks like Tanner Otrera of Texas Tech, he's been getting his work in. A ton of balls flown to him.
That one misses high and away for ball 3 now. Yeah, out there, Otremba has been very busy out there in right field. The Wolverines trying to go the other way a little bit. The wind's not blowing in like we saw a couple times last time in Omaha. It's blowing straight out, but Wolverines yet to put one over the fence, and the only one that did go over the fence for either team barely got into that first row. So the wind not seeming to have much of an effect despite blowing straight out, and Jesse Franklin's going to watch a ball miss high and outside for ball 4, his second walk of the day and 4 trips to the plate. And Michigan has the leadoff runner on in the 7th. A huge leadoff runner here, as every time a leadoff runner has reached base in this ball game for either team, at least one run has come across to score in that inning.
That's the key, really, in this one is leadoff runners. Even when Akeo Thomas got on and was then taken out with a double play, Michigan had a huge 2-out rally. And that's really kind of the way to do it. That's a real gut punch to the other team when you give up a double play but then still force a 2-out rally. That's going to sting a bit for the Texas Tech pitching staff. But Jordan Brewer now up to bat as the best eye in the Big Ten. Jesse Franklin, who led the regular season in walks, gets on base.
Going to second on the play is Jesse Franklin. The pitch missed low and inside. The pickoff throw down to first base gets away from the first baseman Warren over there, but not far enough as it trickled towards second base.
And
count is 1-0.
5 pitches, 5 strikes for McMillan. That's not the way to start an inning following up a 1-2-3 inning.
5 pitches, 5 balls.
5 balls. Oh, yeah. Forgive me. Yeah.
You'd prefer to have 5 pitches, 5 strikes
yes.
here, McMillan. That is not the way he has looked to start here in the 7th inning. And if you're Michigan, on one hand, you take the approach of wait till he throws you a strike. On the other hand, he's probably going to groove one here if he's desperate. And Jordan Brewer swings and fouls one off the glove. Like catcher back there, Fulford, and the count is evened at 1-1. Brewer was thinking about that ladder proposition I was making.
Yes, he's had himself a solid start. Had the sac fly RBI and then a single that ended up resulting in a run. Got a single in the 3rd inning that did result in a run. So
scoring from first on that big Jimmy Kerr 2-run triple.
Yeah, flew out in the 9th. That was to the warning track. So he's done some damage with his bat so far today.
Franklin going on the pitch. Jordan Brewer has a half swing, check swing, win around. That's a foul ball at the plate. The catcher Fulford caught the ball. No, Jordan Brewer is being called out.
So that's going to send Franklin back too.
I'm not sure what the call is here to call Jordan Brewer out at the plate.
Must have been yeah. If he touched that, that definitely was caught by the catcher. If he got a piece of that, that is an out, and Franklin has to return to first.
It was a 1-1 pitch. So there's not the foul tip into the mitt.
I have no clue what's the call. Bakich is talking with the home plate ump.
Yeah, Perry Costello and Eric Bakich having a conversation over here near the plate. The only thing I can think of is they ruled that Jordan Brewer interfered with the catcher Fulford somehow. It's an argument Eric Bakich is trying to figure out what's going on. He's not going to win this argument, though. And Jordan Brewer is called out on a bizarre play. We'll get the official score here in a minute. Michigan fans not happy, booing Perry Costello as Jordan Brewer walks back to the dugout. 1 gone in the inning. Jesse Franklin retreats to first base after he had second base stolen on that play as well.
Really bizarre result there, and a tough pill for Michigan to swallow. Could have had a man on second with none out. Instead, runner still at first, 1 out. Jimmy Kerr up to bat, of course, the hero so far for Michigan in this one with that triple and a run himself. Officially,
batter's interference on Jordan Brewer. Ruled interfered with the catcher, trying to throw down to second base. So Jimmy Kerr up to the plate now. He swings and misses at a ball down and in. The count is 0-1 on the Wolverine first baseman.
And that is really the first time we've heard a partisan crowd here. I mean, teams cheer. The crowd has erupted when teams score, but that's a largely neutral fans just applauding good offense. Michigan being a bit louder, though, than the Texas Tech fans clapping. The boo birds really did ring there. As Michigan, I'm quite confident, does have more fans here than Texas Tech by the sound of it. Hard to tell by the looks because of all the Husker fans wearing red.
A lot of Husker fans, a lot of Arkansas fans in the building today as well. As Franklin fakes going, a pitch misses inside, and Jimmy Kerr almost clips him. And the count's 1-1. We'll see if Franklin takes off in this at-bat. He took off once during that Brewer at-bat. He has 4 stolen bases this year on 4 attempts. Doesn't run a ton, but certainly has speed to swipe a base or two. He's got himself a decent lead here with McMillan on the mound. So McMillan's going to come set. Franklin takes his lead. A pickoff throw over there is not going to be nearly in time as Franklin almost just falls back to the bag. He was still extending his lead a little bit when that throw came over.
after he beat the pitch to second before having to go back on the catcher's interference by Brewer. They're not going to let him really get any kind of lead off here. That was a very quick move back to first. They're not letting Franklin even get 2 steps away from the plate.
There's a left-hander, one way in the Tex-Type open as this one misses way high out of the hand of McMillan. Goes all the way back to the screen, and taking second is Jesse Franklin with ease.
Yep, going for a nice walk in the park there to second. Texas Tech communicated they wanted to make it as difficult as possible for him to get to second, and then they go throw a pitch about a foot over the catcher's head for an easy advance right there by Jesse Franklin.
Yeah, certainly a wild pitch down McMillan. No need to figure out whether wild pitch or pass ball. Now, and zero chance for Fulford to get that. Wolverines are a runner in scoring position, 1 out here in the top of the 7th, looking to add some insurance. They lead Texas Tech by a score of 4-3 in the opening game of this College World Series here in 2019. Taking a bigger lead at second base is Franklin now, as this one is fouled off to the left side by Kerr up into the stands, bouncing off the top deck and then eventually down into the sea of red behind the Texas Tech dugout. And the count's 2-2.
Yep, Michigan now with a runner in scoring position. Haven't had a whole lot of that since the 3rd inning, and maybe that leadoff batter theory is going to come to fruition again here. As Jimmy Kerr, of course, we know the damage that he can do here. 2-2 count, though. Franklin getting a healthy leadoff second.
2-2 pitch misses way high and away, and the count is 3-2. And when McMillan's missing this at bat, it has not been close. There's 3 balls thrown here, and they have been not even attempting to swing there with Jimmy Kerr on any of them. Not even tempting in the slightest.
Not at all.
And you did mention Kerr's got the damage today. He had the big 2-run triple. Also has been on base with a walk in this one.
Has the outfield playing pretty deep for him right now.
3-2 pitch line towards center field, ranging over into the gap as the center fielder, Noisy, he makes the grab, throws back towards second after Jesse Franklin broke initially off the bat to go about 3/4 of the way towards third base, but eventually had to retreat. So that'll go down as a fly out there for Kerr. 2 outs here in the 7th inning for Blake Nelson, who's been squaring the ball the best of any Wolverine hitter today.
Yep, and he can either lay to rest or give new life to that leadoff hitter theory right here with Franklin in scoring position. 2 outs, though. Big at bat here for Michigan, who could use some insurance runs. They've had some sort of multiple run lead since the top of the 3rd inning. That no longer will be the case when Carl Coffin returns to the mound unless Blomgren can do some damage here.
Nelson on the day, 2 for 3. He takes the first pitch high for ball, 1-0. His first at-bat back in the 2nd was a line drive shot to the warning track in left field, and has since had 2 line drive singles in the ballgame, including an RBI single in the 3rd that currently stands as the go-ahead run for Michigan.
Yep, 2 for 3, batting as well as any Wolverine right now in Omaha. And
for that matter, just about anybody on the field in Omaha.
Yep.
Maybe Brian Klein has an argument for that with 2 for 3 with the home run as Nelson swings and misses through fastball there at 95 miles an hour. The count's 1-1.
Yep, McMillan has had a great start for himself today, looking to go. This would be his 2nd scoreless inning, only surrendering the 1. No hits so far. Walk and a wild pitch advancing Franklin to second. Could be a 3rd if not for that catcher interference right now. That would be a tough pill, and they would have tagged home, so that's a tough pill for Michigan fans to swallow. That Brewer was called out for that catcher interference.
I'm still not exactly sure what happened when they called that batter interference on Jordan Brewer. This one's grounded towards short. Backhanding over there is Young. He throws over to first base, and it gets past the first baseman, Lauren. Coming in to score is Nelson, or rather, coming to score is Franklin. Nelson's going to move to second on the play. That'll be a throwing error on Young, and Michigan scratches across a much-needed insurance run. They lead 5-3 here in the 7th inning.
And that's the key, Falco. I think you cracked the code. Get a lead runner on, and you're going to score in this game. As Michigan catches a break, they had a couple of fielding gaffes in Los Angeles. Not so many, really throughout the whole tournament so far. Haven't really been gifted too many runs right there. This time, though, what goes around comes around. Michigan now gets a break for fielding. And they're no errors. That's the first error for either team so far today, I believe.
First error of the College World Series. You can say the first everything something happens in the first game for this one.
Indeed. So first error of the CWS right there, and it's a costly one.
And
Wasn't a routine ground ball, I'd have to say. I mean,
it was not. Young was kind of ranging in and off to his right side. He backhanded the ball, but certainly had more time than he let on. He tried to throw on the run and kind of short-armed it, bounced it in front of the first baseman, Warren, who got a little bit of an in-between hop, almost had to stand back there like a catcher and try to grab it.
Yeah.
And it just went right over his shoulder and back to the Wolverine dugout, bringing in a run.
And Michigan scores with no hits right there, an interesting note. Both teams have 7 as the infield comes in to talk things over with McMillan. I don't think he's in any chance of being brought out. Or no, the bullpen is being...
The call was already made to the bullpen by head coach Tim Tadlock.
So McMillan concedes 0 earned runs, 0 hits, and is leaving after 1 and 2/3 innings. That's an interesting decision right there from Texas Tech. Even if that might be what's best for them in this game, you have to consider this is a long College World Series. If you're going to win, you got to preserve your bullpen.
That's exactly, I think, what the thinking is here. They don't want to use McMillan completely.
Sure, yeah.
And also, you do tend to see at times that pitchers can unravel after a play like that in the field. After they have pitched very well, as you said. He's pitched just about lights out, has McMillan, aside from the walk and wild pitch and then eventually the error that led to the run. Not his fault, though.
Yep, and that'll soothe the pain a bit of the Jordan Brewer batter's interference ruling, because in the end, the run is scored either way, and I don't think things would have changed too horribly much had anything gone differently. But Michigan now, 2 outs still, runners still at second, but that's 1 run added, still no hits in 1 hit, I think, over the past 3 2/3 innings. So
yeah, that is correct. Still sitting on 1 hit since the 3rd, but they did score a much-needed insurance run to stop the Texas Tech run of 3 straight. And Texas Tech's going to look to keep Michigan at that 1 run here in the 7th by bringing in Dave Havman on the season. Appeared in 31 games. 2-1 record, 2.57 ERA. He has 3 saves as well. One of 4 Texas Tech Red Raiders with multiple saves on the season. He's pitched in 42 innings flat, 58 strikeouts for him, just 8 walks. Definitely a stopper out of the bullpen. You expect him to be accurate, has great stuff, does the left-hander. Batters hit 277 against him. And facing the left-handed hitting Christian Bullock, going to be a very, very tough matchup for Bullock.
Yep, the bullpen is the strength of this Texas Tech Red Raiders team defensively. They had to take their starter out after 3 innings, and that's been an okay, only 1 run in the following 3 2/3, so that's been an all-right result for them. Meanwhile, Michigan still working off Carl Kaufman, who I don't think has more than another inning left in him, but we'll see. I mean, he's surprised us a couple times this postseason.
Been surprised before. Certainly did not expect him to go 123 pitches, I believe it was, back in Corvallis against Creighton, and he just kept going out there. Almost finished off the complete game.
Yeah,
there.
he's had 2 1-outs away from his first complete game of his career, so he's flirting with it. Maybe today is the day.
I don't know. That's a bit much, I'd say, as the first pitch drops down sidearm, does Havman, and fires a first pitch strike to Bullock. Count is 0-1.
Although if he can retire another 2 full innings and 13 pitches, I think, is what he did in the 4th and 5th innings, then he's well on his way. But right now, Michigan is hoping to just make it easier for him. They already got that insurance run back. We'll play defense again with a multiple run lead.
0-1 pitch misses low and inside. Thinking about swinging there was Bullock, but he was able to hold up, and the count is 1-1 on him. Bullock roughed it at the plate so far. Grounded out to first base and then is struck out twice. 1 on a very long at-bat, 1 on a pitch that hit off his foot, I believe, and then trickled over near the dugout.
Yeah, and of course he's had a really hot end of May and June, inserting himself into the starting lineup following a Jordan Brewer injury.
1-1 pitch. This one's lined towards the left side. That's going to get fouled out of play, though, into a little pocket of Michigan fans.
Yep.
That seems to be the theme here is pockets of fans. You see a lot of pockets of maize and blue in different parts of the stadium. There's one down the left field line there, one a little bit higher in the upper deck. There's a couple on our side, one near the Michigan bullpen out there, and as well as the little box behind home plate that we've seen some of the people in the athletic department sitting in. Ward Manuel, the athletic director, Carol Hutchins, the softball coach, among notable names in there. 0-2 pitch to Christian, but 1-2 pitch is called. Strike 3 on the outside corner. Bullock does not agree with that call at all, as he has the hat trick and walks back to the dugout with his head down. But Michigan does score 1 run despite not having a hit there in that top of the 7th. We will move to the bottom of the 7th inning. Michigan leads Texas Tech by a score of 5-3. listening to WCBN Sports coverage of Michigan baseball, the official student radio broadcast for Michigan baseball. We are very happy to be here at the College World Series. Austin Falco, Daniel Thompson here. Andy Laidlaw was on the call earlier, and Jeremy Parks helping us out as well today.
Yep, I think 52 weeks of the year people are happy to be in Omaha, but these two are there especially so. As Take Me Out to the Ball Game is being sung as we are, of course, in the 7th inning stretch.
Yeah, everybody on their feet here at TD and Mayor Trade Powers, regardless of affiliation. We mentioned a lot of Arkansas fans, a lot of Nebraska fans here in the crowd, but a decent Michigan contingent, I'd say. And the Texas Tech fans have certainly been loud whenever their team is scoring or pitching well or playing well just in general.
Yep, I know. Yesterday we saw a trailer that listed the distance from Omaha for all 8 teams here. I took a picture of that. I'm going to try to pull up that number again here, but Michigan is the second closest team. Arkansas is the clear favorite at being just a 419-mile drive from Omaha is Fayetteville. Michigan in second place at 692, Louisville in third, 727, Vandy 763, and then a whole lot of miles for everyone else. Florida State topping out at 1,200.
Yeah, it's very much a flight for Florida State there.
Yes.
You don't see them driving up like you might see some Arkansas fans or even Texas Tech and Michigan fans making the trip as well.
Yeah. And Michigan fans, of course, sprinkled all throughout the Midwest.
That helps.
Falco, you're part of a very large contingency of Michigan alumni who are from Chicago originally. That'll cut 3 hours off your drive, so I'm sure there's quite a few Chicago and Michigan fans in the crowd today. So that's certainly helping Michigan's attendance totals. And now it'd be interesting, Falco, you are one of not many people in the Michigan media who remember that this is a rematch. That, of course, occurring during the first weekend of March Madness. So attention for the Michigan faithful was kind of facing elsewhere. And, of course, Texas Tech ended Michigan's March Madness run before losing in overtime to Virginia in the national championship game. So a bit of a grunge match here. Michigan 0-4 in the month of March versus Texas Tech.
First pitch, Tanner Otremba to start things off here in the bottom of the 7th. Missed low for a ball, 1-0. I think the national championship game was technically in April, I believe.
Yes.
Or was the Sweet 16 in April? I know it was later this year.
It was the first day of the Sweet 16. I can't really remember, but
not sure how that played. Either way,
yeah.
The last 4 meetings with Texas Tech and
it was in March.
It was in March.
That
Okay.
was
All right.
that was on March 28th.
All right.
The day before
Perfect.
Brexit was first supposed to happen. That's why I know that.
Well, a 1-0 pitch is fouled off near the Michigan dugout. It's 1-1 now on the left-handed hitting Tremba. Or rather, a pinch hitter in the ballgame. I completely missed that there. Pinch hitting is Easton Merle. Switch hitter batting from the left side. He takes a 1-1 pitch outside. The count is 2-1.
So I'd say it's time to start swinging for the right field if you're Michigan, because Otremba had 5 or 6 outs caught there. Aim for the right field now, maybe.
The 4th pitch of that bat is a called strike on the outside corner. Evens the count up at 2-2.
And this is sort of the doldrums of the Texas Tech lineup. It's the one part where you can maybe hold your breath a little, or not hold your breath for a little bit, and rely on the fact that you might be able to get out of this a bit easier than the other stretches where there's all those like 340 hitters.
You know, Trember was 0-2 with 2 strikeouts, and now Murrow comes in and drops a 2-2 ball into left field for a single to start things off here in the 7th. So we'll see if that holds true again here.
Yep.
Leadoff runner on for Texas Tech in the bottom of the 7th inning.
And right there, I jinxed it, called it the doldrums of the Texas Tech lineup, and then, of course, a little blooper out to left field for a single. And, yeah, I mean, logically speaking, Texas Tech is guaranteed at least a run here. So time for Carl Kaufman to really bring his A game right now.
Pattern holds true. Kyle Kaufman at 93 pitches. How Jeff Criswell was warming up earlier on. Looks like he still is out there warming up, and joined by Tommy Henry as well.
Yep.
Michigan going all out, putting both of their other starters getting ready in the bullpen at the moment.
Looks like Michigan is going all out on winning those first 2 games and not having to play their 3rd game until Friday, where Kaufman will be ready to go again.
Leading off first is Merle. Kaufman checks him over there, and now comes up for the first pitch to Braxton Fulford. It's hit high in the air towards deep right center field. Going back is Franklin and Brewer. Brewer calls off Franklin in front of the track and makes the grab. Off the bat, that one definitely looked like some trouble, but Brewer able to chase it down.
Yep, wind is blowing pretty strong toward the outfield right now, so a ball can move a little bit as it goes through the air. Nice one pitch at bat there for Carl Kaufman, though, trying to go in deep as deep in this ball game as he can. He's gotten some pretty high pitch counts so far this year, but I think Michigan will be ready to pull the plug on him pretty quickly, knowing that they're going to go with one of their regular weekend starters for in relief once Kaufman's day is done. But good job of Michigan to reduce the threat here of a run and kind of hold on to that 2-run lead, hopefully as long as they can, before maybe building on it on offense.
Dylan Noisy, though, the leadoff hitter for Texas Tech, steps up and lines one towards right field. Jordan Brewer doesn't move at first and then takes a couple steps back.
Yeah, he was a statue there for a second, but back-to-back one-pitch at-bats, that's exactly what the doctor ordered for Carl Kaufman, who is getting really close to triple digits right now. Can maybe get out of this one still in the 90s and work his way into the 8th inning, but exactly what Jordan Brewer was hoping for there, and we don't want to say it too quickly, but we might see the end of the leadoff hitter trend right now.
Brian Klein steps up to the plate. Klein's hit the ball well today. 2 for 3, single, 2-run home run, the only ball to leave the ballpark for either team today, and a fly out to right field to center field to end the 5th inning, the routine fly ball in that one. First pitch to him now misses outside, I believe, and the count is 1-0.
So Brian Klein, of course, has been probably the MVP for the Red Raiders so far. Was 2 for 2 coming into a very big 5th inning, but unable to add any damage there. We'll see if Kaufman can retire his biggest issue so far today.
For second pitch, the at-bat catches the outside corner and evens things up at 1-1. I mentioned you really want to get Klein here and now have to face Young and Warren, the 2 catalysts for that run back just last inning in the 6th.
Yep,
that'd be the 4th time that they get a look at Kaufman.
And that is what leads me to believe that Kaufman is facing his last batter here if he can retire him, because you're going to want a fresh arm to face that the real deadly part of that Texas Tech lineup.
1-1 breaking ball misses down and in, and now it's 2-1. Yeah, Criswell looks like he's ready. Tommy Henry has also stopped doing. Henry threw a little bit less than Criswell did. Criswell's been up there for a couple innings now.
Yeah, I think he'll be ready to go next inning, or maybe even in this one if we see if Klein gets a piece of this one.
It might honestly depend on who leads off next inning, I might say. If Kaufman cannot retire Klein here and faces Young, you might wait and get the lefty for Henry next inning, and a swing and a miss here at a good changeup it looked like from Kaufman. Brings the count to 2-2.
And that's a good point there. You might want to play the handedness game. Only one lefty in this Texas Tech lineup. I wonder if that might affect Tommy Henry's, if Tommy Henry will be playing.
We'll see here. So you hear some cheering for the Wolverine crowd, ready for a 2-2 pitch here from Kaufman. Big pitch, to say the least. 2-2. Tapped foul near the Michigan side. Count's going to remain 2-2.
Looks like Ben Kaiser. Did he get that one? No.
Riley Bertram, I think, gave it a try. Blake Beers also over there. Willie Weiss. I think Kaiser might have made his way down the boat. No, Kaiser is over there. Yeah, no one else in the bullpen besides the 2 starters right now, Criswell and Henry. Pretty clear what Eric Bakich's game plan is in this one. Kaufman and one of the other 2 starters to try to get through this one. Another 2-2 pitch coming. Here it comes. This is popped up on the infield. Now going back into the outfield a little bit is Blomgren. He's calling off the outfielders as he keeps backpedaling and makes the grab in shallow center field for out number 3. So the leadoff runner trope is finally snapped here in the bottom of the 7th. Texas Tech does not score despite the leadoff single. They strand that runner on first, and we head to the 8th inning. The score remains Michigan 5, Texas Tech 3. You're listening to the official student radio broadcast of Michigan baseball here on WCBN Sports.
And going back to that series these 2 teams played back in Texas way back in March, while most fans are probably distracted by the NCAA tournament in basketball, that game, the first 2 games were not really close, but they were really decided by fielding. Michigan had leads late in those before the fielding really just unraveled. There was one crazy stat you mentioned to me last night about earned runs. I think
it was...
Someone got a loss despite giving up.
It was Tommy Henry. It was the very first game of that series. So he went, I believe it was 5 2/3 innings. In that 6th inning, things unraveled. He got up 6 runs, none of them earned because of Michigan fielding. That was probably the worst showing of Michigan fielding all season long, was in that 3-game series. And there was the big inning in the first game. I believe it was 11-2 was the final, 11-3 The other game was 10. It was 11-2 and then 10-3 the first 2 games of that series. Both of them, Michigan had leads or were very much in the game, tied in the game, going into the later innings, and just could not field the ball. The bullpen was certainly not what it is now. We listed off the names that pitched in that first game after Tommy Henry. The 4 guys on the bullpen, of them, none of them have pitched in about the last 3 weeks of baseball. None of them in the NCAA tournament, none of them in the Big Ten tournament, and none of them over the last couple weekend series of the regular season. So Michigan certainly set in with a different bullpen that gives you a little bit more hope on beating this team, in addition to, A, you're just playing better baseball right now for Michigan, and B, you're up on the scoreboard going into the 8th inning.
Absolutely, and as you mentioned, that the way Tommy Henry just really had his teammates behind him kind of fail him in that first start of that weekend series. That'd be interesting if the difference in this one ends up being fielding, where Texas Tech gave up that crucial error, giving Michigan 1 run in the 7th inning, where Michigan had recorded 0 hits.
Michigan will look to perhaps tack on a little more insurance. That 2-run lead could very quickly evaporate against this Texas Tech lineup, especially with the wind blowing out. First pitch to Jack Blomgren here in the top of the 8th is fouled to the Texas Tech side. A couple of hops fielded by a Texas Tech dugout man.
Yep.
The count is 0-1.
Jordan Wogu is going to be the 4th batter in this inning if it gets to him, so that'd be a very big win, I'd have to say, for the Michigan Wolverines. They can get a runner in scoring position for the scariest leadoff hitter in the Big Ten, and maybe even here in Omaha.
And they call him the scariest leadoff hitter in college baseball, Jordan Wogu, but currently not slated to caught this inning as Jack Blomgren hits one high and deep towards right center field, ranging over center fielder and the right fielder, making the grab as the center fielder Noisy on the track in right center. He had to go a long way for that one, and then a nice grab on the run.
See, that's why you had to hit it to right field. Though Tremba's not out there, that was a very tricky ball to track down in the sun as the clouds have all disappeared in Omaha. There was some talk of maybe rain getting in this one. Yeah, but the clouds cleared up and maybe hit that to right field. Well, one, it's just shallower there to begin with, but might catch the pinch hitter off guard. Although I don't think that 19 was the pinch hitter. I don't think that's him out there in right field.
Out there right now is Baker.
Okay.
They put Drew Baker out there, who was previously at third base. Over at third base is Merle.
So that makes sense. One of the strongest arms on the team at third. Just put him out to the outfield now. As we've got Joe Donovan, who's had a rough outing so far.
And Donovan, strikeout, hit by pitch, fly out. He pops one on the infield now. Rather going out towards left field. That ball went a lot farther than I thought off the bat. Wilson is camping under it, fighting the sun a little bit, but makes the grab easily for out number 2. So fly out to center, fly out to left. They haven't tried the right fielder, like you're saying, Daniel.
Yeah.
You got to try to hit it over that way.
Yeah, you got a guy who doesn't usually play that position in there. Maybe that's where you can get maybe that's getting a little bit greedy if Michigan wants to take advantage of another fielding mistake. But
I mean, you got to take the wins the way you can get them. Take your runs, take your wins, however they come to you. Michaela Thomas going to step up here, 2 outs, nobody on. Thomas 1 for 2 today, single and a walk in this one. He flew out to right field in his last at bat, so maybe a chance here. He squares around a bump, but pulls back and watches the first pitch fastball for a strike. It's 0-1.
Yep, that would definitely be big if he can just get on base here, maybe strategic bunt and get on for Jordan Wogu, who can bring in really any runner on first. He can probably hit it deep enough to bring in a run home. He brought a KO. No, that was Kristen Bullock who came in for the go-ahead run in the Illinois game here in Omaha.
Thomas fouls one off to the right side now, down in front of us, and the count is 0-2 now on the second baseman for the Wolverines. The official attendance in the ball game today, we just got it delivered to us here, 24,148. Slightly over what is listed as the seating capacity.
I was going to say, that's a bit high, so good attendance, really great attendance here on a beautiful day in Omaha.
0-2 pitch misses high, it's 1-2. That's over 2,500 more people in the ballpark for Game 1 than there was last year, which is Oregon State and North Carolina kicking things off.
And, well, those are 2 coastal teams, so I think that might have a bit to do with it. It'll be really interesting to see during the weekday how those attendance numbers hold up.
Thomas fouls off this one over to the right side again, right behind the plate area, and the count is going to remain 1-2 on him.
There's a lot of the Husker fans here and Iowa fans too, Creighton fans in Omaha will probably be at work for most of the not want to stay out super late, don't want to stay until 11 p.m. for a baseball game during the work week. So it'll be interesting to see how those numbers hold up in the week. But that's a great start-off number for the College World Series.
Certainly fantastic. As Thomas hits one in the air towards right center field, ranging over again as the center fielder Noisy, who makes the grab in front of Baker, crossing behind him. For out number 3 out there. Michigan flies out 3 times in the inning. They go down 1, 2, 3, and we'll head to the bottom of the 8th. Michigan still holds a 5-3 lead over Texas Tech. On the official student radio broadcast of Michigan baseball here on WCBN Sports, and we do have a new pitcher coming into the ballgame. Kyle Kaufman's day is done on the mound. He goes 7 innings in what is his shortest outing so far in the NCAA tournament, but certainly a very good outing for Kyle Kaufman. The final numbers for him: 7 innings pitched, 8 hits, 3 runs. They were all earned. Didn't walk a batter, struck out 3, and did uncork 1 wild pitch. He's currently in line for the win with Michigan ahead 5-3 as he turns the ball over to, I believe that is Jeff Criswell, coming out of the bullpen and onto the mound. Jeff Criswell appearing in relief for the 2nd time this season. First time was back in the first game of the UCLA series, in which he came in and reported 1 out. He started 17 games on the year. He is 7-1 with a 2.74 ERA. He does have that 1 save he got last weekend. In 95 and a third innings pitched, he struck out 99 batters, has walked 45. That leads the starting staff. And hitters hit 234 against the big right-hander with some electric stuff. And Eric Backett to the Wolverines, just looking for him to get through a couple innings here. Shut down a tough Texas Tech lineup, starting off with the heart of the order. 3, 4, 5 coming up: Young, Warren, and Masters.
Yep, and that's kind of pretty impressive right there from Kaufman, that 7 innings is his worst, not worst, but shortest outing.
You could say it's his worst.
Well, yeah.
Technically, he's given up 3 runs. I mean,
but adjusting for who he's playing,
fair. Adjusting for a high-powered Big 12 offense, which normally we associate with that with football.
Yeah,
certainly true in baseball as well. Those guys really hit the ball a ton down there.
The basketball team was an exception, though, defensive-minded.
Yes.
Knocking Michigan out of the NCAA basketball tournament, 46 to 69. I mean, that's a score right there. Not really. That's very much breaking the trend for what Texas Tech athletics are. But the Patrick Mahomes air raid offense, putting up 900 yards and still losing games. That's sort of Texas Tech's mentality, but they play defense pretty good too, and their offense can put up those monster numbers and still win games. So that's really been impressive here. Only surrendering 3 right now as Jeff Criswell comes in, and I really like this strategy from Eric Backett. Just all the chips right to the center of the table, trying to get ahead of this right now. He's here to win, not just to win a couple games, but to win this College World Series, make it to Friday having undefeated, and you try to be 2-0 going into that winner's bracket in the top half of the bracket here in Omaha, and get to that championship series.
Tommy Henry still warming up for Michigan, also in that bullpen. It might be a case of Criswell throws an inning, Henry throws an inning, and then both can be available for Monday's game. A swing and a miss here from Young on the first pitch. Fastball from Criswell clocks in at 94 miles an hour. Count is 0-1. Criswell's got some electric stuff. The hardest thrower of the 3 Wolverine starters: Kaufman, Henry, and Criswell. Big right-hander out of Portage, Michigan, waits for Young to step back in. Now gets his sign, takes a breath on the mound. Lined up the 0-1. They'll go breaking ball there on 0-1 and misses low and away, and the count is 1-1 on Young. Michigan has kept Young in check for the most part today. Fly out, ground out, but he did lead off with an infield single in which Jack Blomgren almost made a spectacular play in the 6th. He did come around to score that run in the 6th inning, did Young. He's leading off here in the 8th. Second time in 3 innings he's done that. And the 1-1 pitch. Fastball called. Strike 2 on the outside corner. That one at 91 from Criswell, and the count is 1-2. He's certainly throwing a lot harder. Not a lot harder, but a few ticks harder than Kyle Kaufman. Should be something that Texas Tech has to adjust for at the very least.
And it looks like it's too soon to really say anything for sure, but I really love the strategy by Backett. You got the 2 best batters, really 2 of the best batters in all of Omaha right now, and you're just going to go all out on them, bringing out Criswell.
The 1-2 pitch bounces in the dirt, stopped by Donovan back there, and the count moves to 2-2.
But I mean, if you get out this inning unharmed and you don't really put too many batters on base, you might not have to face Young or Warren again. If you can end this game without having to face them another time, that's just phenomenal for Michigan, and that's why it's worth it to risk your day 2 starter in Jeff Criswell right now.
2-2 pitch, fastball fouled back behind the screen, out of play. count's going to remain 2-2. Yeah, I have to agree with you here. I really like the strategy. You have to get these two guys specifically and get through this heart of the order. And then you get to the bottom. If you can only send Texas Tech through the order 4 times in a ballgame, that's a win against an offense like theirs. Michigan's coming up for the 5th time, starting in the 9th inning. They'll start at the top of their order. Anytime an offense is going to see their 5th looks at the plate, tends not to go well for opposing pitchers. There's a swing and a miss on a good fastball from Criswell. 92 miles an hour, blew right past the 8th overall pitch. Josh Young.
And I mean, hats off to Eric Bakich, who is the College Baseball Writers Association Coach of the Year for getting a Big Ten team to Omaha for only the 2nd time this decade and the 3rd time since 1984, back in the Barry Larkin days.
Well, yeah, if you're counting that 84 team as the 3rd time, if you're not counting that, it's only the 2nd time since that Michigan trip in 84.
Absolutely, and I mean, Nebraska made it 3 times.
This is Nebraska not
that was a Big 12 team at the time. You know, recruiting is much different than when you're in a different conference, but pays off for the first one. If you can just get one of those two guys down, that's almost a win right there. But if he can retire Warren right here, hats off to the Coach of the Year.
First pitch breaking ball to Warren, just misses off the plate. Maybe missed a bit high. Count is 1-0. Warren 1 for 3 in the ball game. He fouled out to 3rd, grounded out to short, and then hit a double in the 6th, right down the 3rd base line, past the diving Blake Nelson, who just wasn't able to come up with it. Criswell winds up and fires a swing and a miss. Another breaking ball here, 79 miles an hour compared to that heater that's reaching the low to mid 90s, and the count is 1-1.
Yep, and I didn't catch the number of how many strikeouts Coffin left the game with, but it was not too high. Only 3. That's what I believe. It was right about that. Criswell, much more of a strikeout pitcher, already retiring 1 and gets Warren swinging right there.
1-1 pitch. Fastball just misses high. It's 2-1 now.
And stayed ahead of Young in the count, did Criswell. Now behind 2-1 with Warren, who is a .353 hitter on the season. Oh my, but
yeah, certainly a segment you don't want to fall behind in Warren.
No, not at all. Hasn't allowed any contact yet, though.
2-1 pitch to him. Tries the breaking ball. It misses low in the dirt, and it's 3-1 now. Warren also spectacular eye. I mentioned it earlier on in the broadcast. More walks than strikeouts on the year. 37 walks, just 28 Ks. A tough guy to get to chase pitches like the ones Criswell are just missing outside the zone with.
And when you can walk rather than strike out like that, that already makes you a pretty dangerous batter. But when you're batting .353 on top of that.
With 17 home runs, a 3-1 pitch catches the outside corner at the knees for a strike. And tossing his bat away was Warren. He already tossed the bat away and started going on to first base. He has to retreat now. Teammate Cody Masters goes and gets that bat for him, saves him from the walk of shame to go chase that bat after he thought he was taking a trip to first base. Mentioned he has a good eye. Thought that one just missed. But he did clip the corner, said Perry Costello. And now we get a full count pitch here from Criswell to Warren. Certainly a premier matchup. 3-2. That one misses well low and away.
And he flips that bat with a bit more confidence. Maybe goes twice as far as the previous one did. I think he might have been trying to sell that one on the last pitch too.
Maybe. Can definitely see that.
But Warren got a double the last time he was up to base. That's a result you can live with if you're the Wolverines. Only putting Warren on to first.
I think Joe Donovan might have had an armband or something snap off him. Perry Costello had to grab it and gave it to, looked like Nick Schnabel jogging out of the dugout to grab it. I don't know what exactly that was in his hand, but either way, runner on first, 1 out here in the 8th for Cody Masters, the switch hitter. Still batting from the left side as Criswell is a right-hander, just like the starter Kaufman. Criswell checks the runner. Not a huge threat to steal over there is Cameron Warren. So check him again. And the first pitch to the at-bat would have been a strike, but time was called.
And the Boo Birds return here for Michigan. That's really just the second, decision right there from the umps. It was a decision called whether or not they're going to do that, but time is called nonetheless. For
Masters, I think they call it time. That's the right thing to do if you're Masters, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
When Criswell's standing on the mound that long, call time, help your runner out. First pitch, the at-bat hit in the air towards center field. Jesse Franklin started back, now has to run in and makes the grab, jogging in.
Yeah, that was a bit scary to see there, as there was clearly some confusion between Brewer and Franklin. Both of them looked like they were moving back before deciding to come up for that one, but Criswell
kind of just died.
Yeah, the wind it can get strong at times, but it's kind of gusty right now. It picks up at times and dies at others. Looked like the wind just kind of faded away there for a second. and made Franklin misestimate that. But ultimately, he gets the out, and Criswell retires 2 right now, only surrendering 1 walk on a full count to a guy who walks more than he strikes out. So if Criswell can retire Drew Baker right here, and that's no easy task, a very successful inning for him.
Yeah, you can say no easy task here. Just about any Texas A&M hitter. First pitch called, strike on the outside corner. It's 0-1. Baker's 1 for 3 on the day. Has a single back in the second, but has since popped out and grounded out. All 3 of those against Kaufman, as this is Criswell's first inning of work in relief.
Potentially give Michigan the opportunity to not even fade this game in the bottom of the 9th.
Criswell comes set, taking his time out there, waiting to see if there's not going to be any break from Warren, and now time called again at the plate at the last second by Baker. Again, these are good baseball plays. You're getting some boost from the crowd, but certainly very, very late time calls from Texas Tech. Just about the split second before Criswell picks up his foot to throw.
Almost like icing the kicker in football.
Exactly. Criswell comes set. 0-1. This one's tapped foul off to the left side. That'll be 0-2 now.
So a very favorable count here for Jeff Criswell, who might be putting Michigan into phenomenal position. I mean, you could even, afford to give up a run and not have to face Klein. That Klein, Young, Warren part of the lineup. If you only have to see them 4 times in a game, you're very happy if you're a manager facing Texas Tech.
Criswell staring in for the sign now. Big 0-2 pitch upcoming here. Not even holding on the runner is Jimmy Kerr at first base. The 0-2. Fastball just misses off the plate away. The left side of the Michigan field is almost on the grass, jogging back to the dugout.
Yeah, I think Blomgren took 5 or 6 steps toward the dugout after that one.
That seems to be a Jack Blomgren thing a lot.
Yeah.
He really tries to sell it to the umpires,
Yes.
as if the home plate umpire is going to be swayed by the shortstop out there.
Much like Warren right there, flipped his bat on what was ruled a strike. You got to do everything you can, maybe just subconsciously impact that ump's mind.
Criswell set now, ready for a 1-2. Takes a breath. Here it comes. Swing and a miss. Strike 3 on a breaking ball. Criswell comes in, records 2 strikeouts, does walk a man, but he is stranded by the Red Raiders. And we head to the 9th inning here in Game 1 of the College World Series. Michigan leads Texas Tech by a score of 5-3. You're listening to the official student radio broadcast for Michigan baseball here on WCBN Sports. We thank you for tuning in. We'll have every Michigan game here in this College World Series for as long as the Wolverines are sticking in it. I wish we could have made the trip out to Corvallis or LA, but
yeah, I sure wish I could have gone to Oregon and Los Angeles. It's a nice West Coast trip there for 2 weeks, but but there is such a thing as a budget.
Yes, you have to work with that. Yeah.
And we didn't really know what was going to be in store for this team. Anything can happen in the NCAA baseball tournament. Really, the first 2 rounds are a lot more predictable than the College World Series. Anything can happen here. A 4 seed. We've only been under this current format for 20. This is the 21st season of it, so 20 years of data now. And we've seen a 4 seed already win. Fresno State back in 07 or 08 won as a 4 seed. And Virginia and Oregon State have won as 3 seeds in the past dozen years or so here. So Michigan, right now they're going up beating the number 8 team in the country going to the final innings, and they put themselves in really good position to not have to face the heart of that Texas Tech lineup. If they do get to the point where they're facing them, we're gonna really be sweating then, because if they get to that point, there might always be one more run added onto the board by the time Klein comes up to bat. So Michigan hoping to make things easy, but one way to fix that would be to score 5 runs here, and then no one's really panicking. But Michigan right now is a 3 seed. They've made some noise. I think we both thought they got disrespected by the committee a little bit as being a Final 4 seed, but I think at this point we want to thank the committee for
putting that chip on the shoulder.
Putting the chip on the shoulder, and things worked out perfectly. Got us another trip to Omaha. I think we're pretty happy with the way everything ended up turning out.
Yeah, if Michigan wants to tack on some insurance here in the 9th, they're going to have a tough task in front of them. Taylor Floyd coming into the game, the side-arming right-hander for the Texas Tech Red Raiders. He has appeared in 28 games this season, 5-3 with a 2.81 ERA. He also has 3 saves on the year. In 51 of the 3rd inning, struck out 79 batters, walked just 23. Opponents hit 235 against the right-hander, and he'll face the top of the Michigan order. Texas Tech not messing around, going to some of their big arms here out of the bullpen in Game 1.
And I believe the last time Jordan Wogu led off, he had a single and then ultimately scored the first run of this College World Series.
Yeah, all the way back in the first inning. So he's going to lead off here against the side armor, who fires one low, maybe a bit away as well, and the count is 1-0.
Yep, and starting a side armor in the 9th inning, I'm sure that'll affect the batters a little bit who are not really used to seeing this style at all today. Heck, it's weird for me to get used to this, really.
1-0 pitches in there for a strike, 1-1. Yeah, I mean, we saw a little bit of the sidearm action out of the last pitcher, Dave Hanman, the lefty, but certainly not quite as didn't drop down quite as far as Floyd does. As this one is looped over towards first base and getting past the glove of Warren and into right field is that little looping liner. We'll see if it's a hit or an error on Warren. I might call that one an error.
Only one error so far in this game. That's really the first super questionable one that could go either way. I think that's a hit.
That's a tough play.
Yeah.
It ticked off his glove.
It's certainly a tough play, but that's a fine line between what's a tough play and what is truly an error. But that's going to go down as a hit. Michigan's first hit in forever. I mean, they've only had 2 hits, I believe, since that 3-run 3rd inning.
Michigan's first hit since all the way back in the 5th inning of this one. They get it here to lead off the 9th in the form of Jordan Wogu. Now to bring up Jesse Franklin. Franklin's been on base twice in 4 trips to the plate. Both of them were walks, and both times he came around to score. Jordan Wogu chased back with a pickoff throw.
His bat has kind of cooled down here toward the end of the season, but maybe a lot of people wondering why a .252 hitter is batting second, but his eye is worth it. He's getting walked left and right this whole NCAA tournament.
He takes the first pitch outside, and the count is 1-0 on him, so he starts out ahead here, and certainly still capable of squaring up a ball. Haven't seen him go deep in a while. I don't think he's gone deep since one of the last couple series of the year, all the way back in May.
But definitely not a batter you want to get behind to in the count if you're a pitcher.
Exactly. He can still do damage with the bat and has a great eye. He's not going to help you out. Off-speed here on 1-0 is a strike. It's now 1-1. That's a weird little off-speed pitch. It almost looks like a changeup from above, but has a little bit of that slider movement just because of the sidearm action of Floyd.
Yeah, because Michigan, they still are perfect when putting a leading batter on base. Got created when Jesse Franklin was that leadoff batter in the 7th inning with no hits, but still got that run.
We'll see. Set. Expecting a bunt, perhaps. The third baseman, Merle, is playing up. This one hit hard towards first base. Fielding over there is the first baseman, Warren. He steps on the bag and throws to second. The tag slapped down by Young for the double play.
And that's going to be a tough pill to swallow right there. I mean, Jordan Wogu leading off the inning has resulted in so many runs for the Wolverines this year. This inning started perfectly to plan, and then that's going to be a bit of a hitch. But the only other time Michigan got into double play this game, they ended up building that off to a 3-run inning to the tune of a Jordan Brewer single after a Jesse Franklin walk. So we'll see. It's still a very dangerous part of the lineup. Brewer, Kerr, Nelson, we'll see if they can do anything here and add extra insurance for the Wolverines.
First pitch to Jordan Brewer is a breaking ball in there for a strike. It's 0-1. Brewer, interesting day at the plate so far. Sacrifice fly in the first to drive in the very first run of the ball game. Then singled and came around to score in the third. He hits one high in the air towards deep left center field right now. Ranging back near the track is Wilson. He's at the wall, and he makes the grab a foot in front of the wall for out number 3. Brewer gave it a ride, but came up just a bit short there as a Big Ten Player of the Year. Couldn't quite muscle it out to give Michigan insurance in the top of the 9th. They do have a 2-run lead headed into the final frame of the day. The score, Michigan 5, Texas Tech 3. On WCBN Sports coverage of Michigan baseball here at the College World Series, the official student radio broadcast for Michigan baseball all season long.
And that right there, Brewer, was his second ball today that went to the warning track. Would have been a home run in most college baseball ballparks. So that'll be tough for Brewer to swallow. Could be a 7-3 game with slightly different, with a slightly shorter wall. I don't think Texas Tech has really hit too many to the warning track. They just had that one that was narrowly a homer, but I mean that's baseball. You're gonna have to play to the park you're in. Brewer twice there. That's at least encouraging for later this week. He might be able to drive one through. You would hope as a Michigan fan, if for the Michigan faithful listening, that Brewer's day is done. Not gonna have to bat anymore, but
in a good way.
Yeah, Michigan did get that insurance run. They're up 5-3. And that should feel pretty comfortable. But Michigan right now, in the spot of the lineup they're at, they're going to want a one. If the inning gets to 1 run, they're going to be sweating bullets because they're going to be facing the meat of that Texas Tech lineup. They can get out of here without having to face the top of the lineup, and that would be a huge win for Jeff Criswell. Especially that could also preserve his arm. I'm not sure if maybe Tommy Henry will be the starter on Monday. No matter what happens, they're playing a game on Monday. But
I believe Michigan does like to have their pitchers through a bullpen session 2 days before their starts. It's kind of the schedule they're on. So instead of just doing a bullpen session, Eric Bakich could figure maybe this is just Chris Well's bullpen session on the mound this time, on the big field, so to say. It will be the bottom of the Texas Tech lineup here. Wilson, Murrow, and Fulford due up against Criswell.
The thing is also, the plan might just be, use Criswell for maybe 5-6 innings on Monday, and then have Henry come in if Michigan wins this. Because what do you do if you don't use Tommy Henry through the first 2 games? You do win both games, and now you're playing on Friday, and Kaufman's ready to go. That's a tough situation right there for any head coach.
It's a good situation to be in, tough one, but definitely certainly a good one if you get there.
Yes, absolutely. It's a nice problem to have.
Criswell's going to step up and take the mound here to face the right-handed hitting Kurt Wilson to start things off here in the bottom of the 9th. Michigan looking to win the first game of the College World Series. And a swing and a miss from Wilson. Had a good fastball. First strike 1.
Yep, he's pitching right now, trying to match Carl Kaufman's strikeout total on the day. Already up to 2 himself. Going for number 3 in this inning. Heck, he could get to 5.
The flip side of it is he already beat Carl Kaufman's walk total on the day. Kaufman didn't walk anybody. Criswell did issue a walk last inning as the 0-1 pitch is fouled off. Just a bit off to our left here and out of play.
Kind of crazy that you don't notice that when a guy goes 7 innings without walking a single batter.
Yeah, it just kind of, you don't really notice it. Texas Tech was swinging a lot early. Did get a couple deep counts, but for the most part it was Kaufman getting in those 2-ball counts every once in a while. Never really seemed in danger of walking a lot of guys. And if he did, he came back and was able to get some Red Raider batters. There's a time called again at the last second. Criswell is perplexed at the plate. Joe Donovan is not happy back there as well. This
might be a psychological warfare tactic against Criswell.
It seems to be working. He's a little bit flustered. Walks behind the mound now. Stepping back up before the 0-2 offering.
It feels like a conscious effort from Texas Tech at this point that they've had 3 different batters call for time.
At the last second specifically.
Yeah.
0-2 pitch. Fastball, call, strike 3 at the belt. Not happy right there. It was Wilson, but it's strikeout number 3 on the day for Criswell. The first one he gets looking. The second time Wilson's gone down looking as well. And there's 1 out here in the bottom of the 9th.
And now Michigan is 2 outs away from a date with the winner of Arkansas and Florida State. They're going to play one of those 2 teams either way, but
you prefer to be playing the winner of that. That means you secured the W in your first game.
Yep, and they'll if they can hold on and get 2 more outs here, they will be playing until Wednesday.
It looks like the stadium has cleared out a little bit as this game's gone on. Perhaps some of those Arkansas and Florida State fans gearing up, getting some lunch in before later on. As a first pitch called, strike to Easton. Time to get him.
And that was scary right there. You had 4 different Michigan infielders all converging on that ball. That was kind of hit perfectly to avoid really make it difficult for anyone to get there. Criswell, the tall pitcher, just comes in and gets that ball at the apex in the air. Really nice athletic play there for a guy who is likely going to be pretty high in the MLB draft come next year.
And Criswell is 6'4". He showed it there, backing up, going to the back of the mound, jumping up and making the grab in front of his fielders, and throwing the first in time for the out. And now Texas Tech down to their final hope in the form of their catcher, Braxton Fulford. Fulford 1 for 3 on the day. Line out, double, fly out. In order, all 3 against Kyle Kaufman. His first time against Jack Criswell today is about to begin.
Yep, 1 out away from a winner's bracket appointment. That will be at 6 p.m. on Monday, or 1 o'clock on Monday if they do end up in the loser's bracket here.
First pitch from Criswell, fastball, called strike 1.
And if I'm you obviously want to win this game no matter what. But if I'm Arkansas and Florida State, I am terrified of a date with Criswell right now. He is just pitching fire right now. 3 strikeouts already in 5 batters faced.
That first pitch was 93. Second pitch on the way. Tries the breaking ball, misses low and away, and the count is 1-1. And that had a lot of break on it for just a drop of 5 miles an hour in velocity. Joe Donovan having to reach out and almost twirl a little bit as he grabbed that ball low and away.
And he definitely does not want to walk Fulford here and get back to the top of that Texas Tech lineup.
Winding up, 1-1 pitch. Fastball foul back to the screen. It's now 1-2, and that went up to 94 from Criswell. The Michigan fans making some noise, rising to their feet here at TD Ameritrade Park. Michigan 1 out away from their first College World Series win since 1983.
Okay, so they went 0-2 in '84.
They did.
So they'll snap the 35-year drought on Sunday night. Here are 6 days later, looking and thousands of miles closer to home, looking to end a 36-year drought now with 36 batters faced, maybe.
1-2 pitch just misses low and away. The Wolverines starting to converge in the center of the mound to celebrate.
And I don't know if you saw Christian Bullock way out in left field, but I mean, he just reiterating how much bounce he has in his step. He maybe skipped 3 times and moved a total of 20 feet. He was ready to celebrate, but
either way, the count is now 2-2. Criswell against Fulford. 2 outs here in the bottom of the ninth. Michigan leads 5-3. The windup, the 2-2 pitch. Line drive into right field for a base hit.
And that'll silence the Let's Go Blue chants that we're starting to erupt here from the crowd. And also going to ruin my potential nice little stat there, a 36-year winning drought snapped with 36 batters. But
you had it ready.
Up comes Dylan Noisy, number 30, the 37th batter. He had a really nice top of the 8th inning to maybe prevent another insurance run from coming on the board. And this is the big at bat because Brady Klein, who's already hit a homer, if he gets up to the bat, that means it's going to be he'll represent the winning run. And if he gets a second homer of the day, it will be a walk-off. So stakes just raised quite a bit here.
Noisy 1 for 4 on the day, single back in the third. Also had a line out in which Akeo Thomas made a great play. It was ticketed for center field. First pitch Noisy here. First pitch is outside, ball 1.
Yep, if Noisy can just get on base as a walk, that's going to be A-okay with him. Klein is going to be pretty scary. I know Criswell didn't surrender that home run, but it's going to be a scary thought for the Michigan faithful knowing that the winning run will be at the plate. Right now, the tying run at the plate.
And Noisy has a little more pop than Klein does also. You don't want to leave one in the zone here. 8 home runs on the year for the leadoff hitter. 1-0 pitch. Swing and a miss at a high fastball.
Yep, and he was trying to tie this game up right there on that swing.
Seems like Texas Tech, this whole inning, every batter since Criswell's come in has seemed to be really swinging for the fences. Huge swings on these fastballs offered by Criswell, and they've come up empty more often than not.
Yep, one run isn't going to do you any good, so might as well aim for those extra base hits.
Criswell checks the runner.
Texas Tech in desperate need of a 2-out rally here.
1-1 pitch. This one misses low, ball 2.
Staying behind in this count, it would really be devastating here for Criswell to walk Noisy. And, if it comes to that, after Klein comes Young, the co-Big 12 player of the year. This is going to be, buckle up, folks. This will be an exciting race to the finish here. We might be 1 pitch away, might be 50, who knows.
Criswell comes set. 2-1 pitch. Swing and a foul tip into the glove of Donovan for strike 2.
And now we really could be 1 pitch away. One swing and a miss. One staring at a ball that he should have swung at. Ground out, pop out, home run. Who knows? You can feel the tension right now.
That's baseball. You never know what's going to happen.
Nope, it's never over. Let's Go Blue chants starting to wake up again after that single from Fullard.
Michigan fans on their feet. Criswell comes set. 2-2. Misses low, ball 3.
Oh, full count now with 2 out. And the go-ahead run in the batter's box. This is in the practice circle. This is
it's intense. You could say.
I can feel it in my stomach. Don't envy Dylan Noisy or Jeff Criswell right now, that is for sure.
It is the biggest stage in college baseball here, the College World Series. Runner will be on the move from first with 3-2, 2 outs. Criswell comes set. And a payoff pitch to Noisy. Fastball misses high, ball 4.
And here we go now, the walk-off run, who has already hit a home run today. By about a foot, he got that one over the fence.
And it's going to bring Chris Fetter out of the mound to go talk with the young sophomore right-hander.
And yep, and now, this is really scary now for the Wolverines. Brian Klein due up to bat, a 317 hitter, followed by Josh Young, 326. And then, of course, the 353 hitter in Cameron Warren. Michigan not making this easy, and that's really the way they've done it all the way. In the regionals, they were just 3 outs away from advancing to Los Angeles, ended up surrendering 7 runs in the top of the 9th. Against UCLA, Ben Kaiser put runners on second and third before retiring for the final third out of that one. And Michigan now putting runners on first and second for the deadliest part of the Texas Tech lineup. Just 1 out away from a Monday night game, which you really want instead of a Monday afternoon one.
Brian Klein, as you said, already hit a home run today. Not a ton of power, just his second home run of the entire season was that 2-run homer back in the third. He does have another hit on the day and a single, and has since flown and popped out on the day. 2 for 4. His first look at Criswell, the pitch. Just misses low, it's ball 1. Try to start him with the fastball there and missed. The count is 1-0, and you certainly don't want to get too young. This has to be the batter. You got to get this batter out if you're Criswell here.
Yep. I mean, the odds of Young leading into an RBI in one way or another are about 50-50. This has got to be where Criswell puts a stop to it. He's already up to 34 pitches, too. He's going to want to end this game on his terms right now.
1-0 pitch. Breaking ball called, strike 1. He had Klein out on his front foot there, expecting fastball. Gave him a slider that caught the outside corner and evened it up at 1-1.
Yep, Klein has been contained a bit. Flew out in his last 2 at-bats, so I mean he's still making good contact. Now is the 38th batter for the Texas Tech Red Raiders.
Criswell
steps up to the plate.
Coming set. 1-1 pitch, swinging and a miss. Another slider there. Actually, that was the fastball. He dialed up to 94, and it's now 1-2.
Getting ahead in this count after he walked the last one. Going to force Klein to maybe chase one here. You know, either way, if you get out, the game is over, but you really don't want to go down looking.
I mean, I almost expect here to see Criswell try that slider down and in against that lefty. It's a hard pitch to hit for a left-handed hitter. And up in the count 1-2, he's got to protect, even if it doesn't quite look like a strike. Klein another guy with more walks than strikeouts on the year, though. Criswell comes set. 1-2 pitch. Call, swing and a miss, strike 3. Criswell gets strikeout number 4 on the day. He comes in for the 2-inning save, and Michigan wins. They beat Texas Tech in Game 1 of the College World Series 5-3 here in 2019. Again, snapping that 36-year drought of a win in the College World Series. Michigan is moving on to Monday night to face the winner of Florida State and Arkansas.
And what's the fun of an easy win? Michigan is this whole postseason run. They were probably not going to make the tournament had they lost to Illinois. For sure, now that we know what the committee thought of them after a 3-game winning streak following that Illinois game. Jordan Wogu here in Omaha 3 weeks ago gets that double to walk off, win that game, keep Michigan alive. They surrender 9 runs in the last 2 innings with a 4-run lead against Creighton. Have to go play on Monday in an elimination game to get to Los Angeles. We're winning in the 9th inning, or tied in the 9th inning against UCLA, end up losing in 12 innings. And then they finally beat UCLA with a 2-run lead and the winning run at the plate in Game 3 of the Los Angeles Regional. Now the go-ahead run at the plate again here. These Wolverines, they love to keep fans entertained the whole way around. As the Big Ten now just knocked off the lone Big 12 team here in the tournament. Michigan representing the whole Big Ten with pride here in Big Ten country. Not often does the Big Ten have home court in college baseball. Only really the second time while Omaha has been Big Ten territory.
Yeah, technically, yeah. This is Big Ten territory here in Nebraska, and Michigan sure represented today. Kyle Kaufman gets the win. He moved to 11-6. Another great outing for him in this NCAA tournament. I believe he's 3-0 now in his 3 outings each of the last 3 weekends. And Micah Dallas takes his first loss of the season, drops to 7-1. And Criswell picks up his second save of the season, second in as many weekends.
And Micah Dallas gave up 4 runs in 3 innings, so he didn't have a great game. But this Texas Tech pitching staff, if they can hold their opponents to 5 runs, 4 earned runs, they should be winning games with the way their offense is. I mean, what a run here by Carl Kaufman. And you know, if the MLB, it's kind of weird how the MLB draft goes on during the most important part of the college baseball season. I mean, Kaufman could have made a couple more Yeah,
Yep,
he'd be a bit
100%.
wealthier if the draft was a few weeks later. I mean, he's been on such a tear. That's now 17. It's 24 and 2/3 innings pitched in the postseason, and 24 and 2/3. I mean, maybe 24 nearly perfect innings right now. What a phenomenal postseason run he's been on. It's been the stuff of legends, really. Michigan baseball legend, the Bloomfield Hills native, yeah, from Michigan.
At a loss for words here.
Yeah.
That performance out of Carl Kaufman out of the Michigan Wolverines
I
today.
mean, as a Nebraska native, I can't believe this run that the Michigan Wolverines have gone on.
Didn't expect them to come back to you here in
No,
Nebraska. But they did, and they've already won a game here in Omaha. Safe to say everything else is pretty much gravy, I think, coming here to Omaha. And now they've got one win. Certainly everything from here on out is just that much sweeter.
Even for the Red Raiders, if they're in the losers bracket now. Every game they will play is an elimination game unless they get to the championship round. They no shame in getting to Omaha. It's the 4th time in program history.
It's 4th time in the last 6 years. Also, they're on a nice little run here.
Yep, a quote I heard from a former college baseball player who never quite did make it to Omaha earlier this week. He quoted some coach who'd been here recently and said, the quote goes, "I never shed a tear for a player whose career ended in Omaha." And Cameron Warren, phenomenal career for the Red Raiders, 22nd round draft pick. If that's how his college baseball career ends here in Omaha in two games, 2 losses, congratulations to him on the 2 appearances he's made in Omaha, going back to back. And for Michigan, it's all icing on the cake, but any team can win once they're here, and they're in the winner's bracket now. Michigan is clearly. Eric Bakich is rolling the dice here. I expect Chris Well to start tomorrow, but not go super deep. He threw, I think, 37 pitches. It's going to be a joint effort between him and Tommy Henry on Monday night. He's going all out to get in this winner's bracket. And folks, you're going to want to be ready to keep listening to these WCBN broadcasts, because I think we're going to be here for at least 2 more games for sure. And by Eric Bakich's plans, we're here for another week.
So yeah, Michigan will go play 6 p.m. on Monday night at Central Time. It'll be 7 p.m. Eastern Time for those of you listening back at home again or across the world. I know we had a couple listeners, Iceland and Holland gets a shout out in there as well. We appreciate you listening to the broadcast today. Again, Michigan wins by a score of 5-3. That's pretty much going to do it for us here in Omaha for today. I'm Austin Falco alongside Daniel Thompson, Andy Laidlaw, and Jimmy Parks here as well. Michigan's moving on to Monday night. We hope you tune in then. We'll see you then. And for now, we leave you with a good night and go blue.